Hey-o! Live from not Kansas City and truly live. It's Around the NFL 2023 NFL Draft first round live stream. We're going through all 31 picks. Dan Hanzus here, Gregg Rosenthal, Marc Sessler. What's up, guys?
Well, we've never done this before. This is a test run of the highest order.
You can feel it in the room.
This is amazing. I'm loving all the people in the chat right now. We got 2,600 plus strong.
Hey-o!
You know, they tried to bury us as like the fourth ranked live streaming show on NFL media right now, but we're going to crush them.
The dancing and moving
I
is
move. That's what I do.
a sign of potential abuse of certain things. But are you okay? How you feel?
I'm good. And to answer some of the people in the chat that are concerned, I didn't stay home to watch Hawks Celtics. I'm not even going to put it up on another
Don't worry
board.
about it.
This is about the NFL draft.
This is the center of the universe, Marc Sessler, and I know this is a big day for you, especially because it is the mock draft.
Yeah, I mean, it's, the mock draft used to be an isolated event where whether I succeeded or failed, there were almost no stakes attached to it. But now I'm taking on Gravedigger, and so there's a heightened sense of needing to drop a hammer on our producer.
Not only are you taking on Gravedigger, you've got his lovely girlfriend here keeping score of the draft competition as we go. And some thoughts, in the air tonight that if you beat Justin, that just will change the way she looks at him.
I think it should be stated to everyone out there. And again, by the way, once again, setting the table here, we're going to be here for all 31 picks, starting with pick 1, the Carolina Panthers. Everyone believes it will be Bryce Young. We don't know. I think it was interesting. Jessica's going to be joining us a little bit later. It was Marc really pushing this to have Jessica involved. Is there something there, Gregg, with, like you're saying, what you're hinting at, that Marc was looking on some way to take Justin's dignity and maybe his girl?
I've appreciated the confidence on both fronts, not just in terms of stealing his manhood,
right,
but crushing him in this competition. Marc has walked around this building with a quiet confidence this week that I love.
I mean, technically, she's providing a very invaluable service because we are landlocked by our headsets, and one of us was going to have to get up to the dry erase board
right,
and tally votes and tally changes and all of that, and she's willing to come do it instead. So it actually just makes us, we don't have to move as much.
Yes,
you guys
Justin?
hear that? Did you hear that?
I did hear that.
Hey, I just
Hey.
wanted to squash this whole weird thing about Jessica and Marc. It's just like
Okay.
making me uncomfortable over here.
Oh,
Okay,
don't worry,
okay.
Justin. We love
We're
you.
5 minutes in, NFL Network's at commercial. There's nothing else to talk about. Now, what else is happening in football
You know what the bigger
today?
problem is? Jessica doesn't seem uncomfortable at all about it.
Totally comfortable with it.
So another subplot to track. So much going on. Yeah, we have, of course, first picks coming up in just a little bit. Lamar Jackson, that deal gets done. And Gregg, congratulations to the entire Lamarmy. You guys are marching through the streets.
Sorry to the Lasmarmy, all the people who just like to, pick on us.
Well, it was a bit of a sloppy road to get here, but in the end, they did.
No, it's a shocking development that a quarterback contract, took a little bit to get done, and that
who's Lasmarmy now?
He briefly had the franchise tag on it. Oh wait, that's exactly how every quarterback contract has gone, essentially for the last handful of years. It's almost disappointing what a traditional ending it is for me. He got Jalen Hurts' contract. You were absolutely right to say, does this Jalen Hurts deal impact Lamar? I did not think that it necessarily did.
Oh, you and Claybon were all up in arms about that.
No, I just said...
heavens, the Betsy.
I just said, I don't know. And then he basically got Jalen Hurts' contract plus 10%. So who needs an agent for that?
Marc.
I mean, I would, Gregg, that's one way to sum it all up. It was a little bit sloppy. I don't know if it's the roadmap for every quarterback to go.
It all
ended
ended well, and if I'm a Ravens fan, I'm feeling great about it. Wait, did Rog come out? What's going on right now?
Rog is on the
That's the
stage.
girl from Saturday Night Live. She's a big Chiefs fan.
We've got Eric Stone.
Stone Street's always there.
This is like his full-time job now, the Chiefs fan guy.
And if you're watching, it was the what's the show? Modern Family.
Yeah, Modern Family.
And now he's just full-time. He goes on. I think he's on Rich Eisen's show 4 times a week now.
It appears to be the case.
It's a lot of Stone Street, but I have to say he's legit. I went to the NFL store at the Super Bowl on a busy early week day last year, and I just saw Stone Street, tired as hell, with his family, with bags over his shoulders, sitting out in the hallway, just like, it's real, even when the cameras aren't there.
And, this is a great ROG move, and I hope everybody's watching along with NFL Network, the coverage here. ROG, who famously gets booed when he comes out for the NFL draft, has started bringing out celebrities, and it's one thing to bring out an SNL starlet, but bring out Stone Street and you're covered. I mean, the crowd's going to go mad. Are we allowed to use salty language on this live stream?
No.
Oh, Greg, I didn't ask you. Justin, our producer, can we use big-time salty language?
We're not supposed to do that, but we're live. If something gets
I have
through,
to say this,
I don't know. What do we do about it?
Sponsored by no one. We weren't sent to the draft. There's another major digital property going on right now in the building, right?
You know what I found out? There's actually two.
Two?
Right.
No one's watching this connected to the company. I am certain of it.
It's like a broadcasting rebellion. We can just essentially do whatever we want.
I don't know about certain, but, if you want to try.
Yeah, probably.
I do like, though, it is bringing me back to how we started at this company, sneaking around from our bosses to head upstairs as we now see Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey hit the stage. I just like
one way to look at it.
I'm feeling comfortable.
I think that's a healthy way to look at it, Greg, but still surprising. Here's Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelsey coming out with the trophy. This is getting the crowd amped. We're just minutes away here on the stream from the first pick in the 2023
from even them going
NFL
on the clock.
draft.
They're going to do the thing where the Panthers go on the clock and then they, waste 10 more minutes. That's what they do. I guess for the people that are just watching us, probably we shouldn't just have long seconds.
Yeah,
of
there is an element of people
disarming.
just watching us watch television.
Well, that's what they signed up for.
There
are going to be elements when the old Zeuser, as an example, is going to check out the telecast.
Yeah, and then maybe one of us picks it up.
We could
take a little nap.
Do you want to show the people our bingo card?
Sure.
Sure.
We got some. Yeah, let's start with the bingo card. This is the NFL draft trope bingo card, draft cliche bingo card we have here. And we're all going to work together on this. All the people in the live stream right now, whenever you hear any of these phrases, there's some examples I'll throw out there. Undersized, behemoth, or as Marc says, behemoth, generational, high motor, lunch pail. Whenever you hear that brought up by anyone on the telecast, do we want to do the NFL Network telecast or any telecast?
Well, I think the NFL Network telecast.
Yeah, NFL Network
ideally
is our official telecast.
All
it
right.
would be a little rude and weird to watch another one. Plus, the NFL Network is much better than ESPN, I would say, at the NFL draft. I'm not being a company man.
Yeah,
here.
yes, you are, Greg, but that's a fine opinion, but yes, you are.
But it's a rare time
7-foot man in the shadows with the suit on, pats Greg on the head, $20.
It's a rare time I
pocket.
feel like I'm just speaking my truth to be a company man. This is one day we crush everyone, including us. I mean, you going to watch some other live streams?
I fought hard to get young man onto the bingo card because I have been hearing that literally left and right about all these people that are like the same age as the players. This young man is going to come in and transform the culture of this team. Well, it didn't make the bingo.
That feels a little too part of any sentence. Like there was some like that, like value was one of them initially. If we could take a look at it again, where it's like, yeah, well, of course they'll say value. That's not fair. That's not fair.
How many people are in the chat right now, by the way, Gravedigger?
We're over 4,000. Sorry.
Yeah, about a little over 4.
Okay.
4,091. And I will say to the people out there, take a screenshot of this maybe so you can refer to it, because otherwise unless they just remember all 25 of these, they're not going to be able to help us much.
Well, I think this is we've got a pretty big stacked room here. I mean,
it's also on our Instagram story. If you check out our Instagram story,
we've got
Jessica
there. Jessica can keep track of these. I'm sure she'll be locked
Greg
in.
has shifted very comfortably into I'm going to sit on the couch and order people around for the next 4 hours.
He's got to fill the air.
He's fired up. He's fired up right now. Do we want to say hello to Jessica?
I think we should.
Since we brought her up multiple times now, can you go right where we go where the scoreboard is? And the scoreboard, of course, is for the big competition, the mock draft-off between the Quiet Storm and the Gravedigger. And say hello. There's the shot. There's the money shot, folks. There she is, Jessica, the great, mysterious starlet of Justin Graver's
you got to
life.
get don't cover up the tattoo with the graphic, though. I mean, I know I'm bossing around. There we go.
A female
beautiful
assassin. And why is Jessica here? Seriously, why is Jessica here?
So, I mean, Jessica is going to not only track our bingo card, but you can see right behind her we've got the Marc versus Gravedigger mock draft contest, and she's going to do an excellent job, a mathematically sound job keeping score.
All right, can we
This
talk?
production is going to be unbelievable, folks.
Can we talk a little about maybe how this mock draft is shaping up early? Because we have had some developments, Dan, at least in the betting markets. And we're not going to spoil any picks here tonight. We're not going to tip any picks. Hopefully we won't know anything. But I think this is fair to point out. This was out over the last hour. The betting markets have C.J. Stroud as a monster favorite suddenly to be the number 2 overall pick. Would that hurt both of you?
It would hurt both of us.
Either one of you had it. But
I think
DJ
it would get me a sandwich, wouldn't it?
I think so, but it depends on if the Texans are the team that picks them at 2 or if they trade out of that pick.
It's a fair
Obviously,
point.
if the
We don't know
Texans
that.
pick
Because I
him-
did match C.J. Stroud with the Texans at a different point in the mock draft. So
Oh, wait. Yeah, that would give you some points.
It'd be a
Right.
slight coup d'etat.
First of all, I just realized,
That'd be a
is there
total
any way
coup d'etat. You
our,
got a full point.
our lovely Jessica, can we get her a stick mic or anything? Is there any way to interface with
There's
Jessica?
a 4th headset over here if she
the
wanted to put it on. It's the
headsets
one for
everywhere.
our surprise guests.
Okay.
Okay. We do have at least one surprise guest.
I was
an
told-
NFL Network employee who has joined this show before.
I was told expect just one of the 2 guests.
Yeah, there was we had a potential second guest who I would say has the vibe of a bit of a wild card and may not be
That is
appearing.
the one that won't be joining
That's the wild card will not be appearing.
All right. Well, that's unfortunate, but it's still going to be a great show. All right. By the way, since the Panthers are now on the clock, why don't we bring up for the big mock draft, which we're going to be tracking throughout this stream, which, by the way, as a reminder, will where am I looking? Is this the camera I'm looking at?
Yes.
All right. Where's my camera? We will be here for the entirety of the first round, unless this sucks.
Right.
In which case, we'll probably still be here. But again, there's nobody in this building that knows this is going on other than the people in this room, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
So we could really do whatever we want.
I mean, it's not unlike CNN under the tables in the first Iraq War, where it's
ref.
hard to track us, and we're just simply somewhere in the building reporting.
Can we bring up salty language is coming by hour 2? That's all I'm saying. Can we bring up the rules and regulations of the mock draft off between Sessler and Gravedigger?
There's no way Marc can read this. Marc let us know earlier he's not wearing his glasses here, that he can barely see the screen. And this
I can't see anyone else in the room. So.
I could read it if that helps.
Go ahead. Go through a Gravedigger.
All right.
Is there a Gravedigger cam, by the way?
There is. Can we spin this bad boy
You think
around?
he's
We don't need it now. We don't need it now.
Do you
but I just
honestly
wanna
think
know.
Let's read the
Gravedigger would
rules.
not have created a cam about himself in the middle of the show?
Okay, here are the rules. So the first rule, no changes to your mocks under any circumstances.
Okay.
Which we
Don't
weren't-
even think about it.
I mean,
Who's
if this had
changing
been
our mock draft at
if
this
this had
point?
been another year, my mock draft this morning would have been way different from the one we did on the pod. But
Wait,
you know
why
what?
are these rules totally different than the rules I sent you?
These are the ones you sent.
No.
These are exactly what you sent. I copied and pasted out of our messaging client.
This
Sorry,
is
Greg.
ridiculous.
Go ahead.
All right, the next
He's
rule:
lying.
3 points for a match of players to the team and the pick spot.
Okay.
Makes sense.
2 points for matching the player and the team, but in a different spot.
Fair.
3-point bonus.
Ooh, this is big. This is where a
Yeah.
title could be won here.
A 3-point bonus for matching a player to the team to the pick spot with a trade.
Okay.
And if we're tied after the first round, the first mocker to correctly hit on a second-round pick will win.
I mean, where, first of all, it was identity of just specifically the number 32 overall pick. And then tiebreaker 2 was a jumping jacks competition.
So you sent conflicting messages then because
These are the rules that Dan presented in our
In the group chat.
earlier
these were
today.
Dan's
Oh,
rules.
Greg's,
I see.
yours were usurped.
Yeah, Dan asked me to send the
I
rules,
did.
so I did.
I did. I like the jumping jack challenge.
Yeah.
What was the other one?
That was it, because they had already done the number 32 overall pick. So if
All right.
one of them was right, it would raise some tension on Friday, and if not, jumping jacks competition.
I also have my sports locks in there. So.
Oh, you have your sports locks, of
Yeah.
course.
One of them has already been nullified because I said that no human eye would ever see Lamar Jackson ever again on our planet, and he's 10 hours later he's signed a contract.
He was, very much a big figure today. All right, the pick is in for the Carolina Panthers. First overall pick. There's no way this isn't who we think it is, right? Like, there's no scenario like the Will Levis thing from Reddit, like that.
There was like a 15-minute period today where some random agent said that Anthony Richardson's going to go higher than you think. And then Jeremy Fowler from ESPN was like, Anthony Richardson, you know what? He actually was considered by the Panthers. And for like that 10 minutes, there was some tension. And then it was quickly destroyed by every insider saying it's going to be Bryce Young. And so we expect it to be Bryce Young. And if you are only watching us, and I'm seeing in the chat some people that are like, how do we actually watch the draft? We will tell you what happens, but you should probably have both screens on.
Yeah, you could
got to
figure it out.
Just put them on mute and then listen to us.
Yeah, NFL Network on your TV, and then get a phone, a laptop, a tablet, any other device to watch YouTube with, and put us up on that. Easy.
It's just essentially modern technology.
That doesn't seem like something that needs to be explained. What about the cord cutters? Are they in a bad spot?
The cord cutters will...
Are they the banged in the biggest of all spots?
I would say they can pull out their phones, go to the NFL app, and watch the broadcast there.
Just watch YouTube, watch. Oh, yeah, it'll be on NFL Fast channels, the cord cutters. It's everywhere.
All right, here we go.
We got Raj is up. Looking good, getting booed.
All right, Bryce Young.
There you go.
Is indeed. And you know what? Look at this. In a beautiful, beautiful suit. No tie. Like the move. He's casual but serious about his career. Interesting. Here we are. Finally, for the Carolina Panthers. And shout out to any Panthers fans in the stream right now. Because, geez, this was a long road. This was a long road. Oh, by the way, we need to, one other element here. We're going to 1 to 10 grade the draft pick. This one's pretty easy to me. Is that what we're doing? 1 to 10?
Yeah.
I'm going 10. I feel great about this.
I'm going to go 10 right off the bat. This is the kind of content you can't just get on the podcast. It's visual cues. 8.
All right, 10, 10, 8. Why 8? Why not a perfect move for the Panthers right now?
It's not that it's not illogical or not a perfect move. I want to see where you are a couple years from now. I think Anthony Richardson
has
has
that
the
with
chance.
every pick.
Yeah, but so then I'll give every pick a 10 then, Greg. I'm trying to add a little bit of nuance here. And like, do you mind if I
Greg
continue?
is very excited about
Greg
the stream
took like
right
3
now.
tabs of LSD 45 minutes ago, and we're all dealing with the fallout. I just think it's like his size, I think, is an issue. I want to see how they plan an offense around him. But for the Panthers, who've been in a wilderness quarterback-wise for years, if it works, there's no looking back. I don't hate it. I'm just giving it an 8.
Yeah, I think there are reasons. It's not. I think what you're saying.
It's not Andrew Luck.
If it's Trevor Lawrence, if it's
Right.
Andrew Luck, if it's Peyton Manning, Joe Burrow, but there is some concern here about the prospect. However, man, what a great day this is for the Panthers and their fans who, ever since Cam Newton got old and beat up in a hurry, have been in the wilderness. This is the team that a few years ago pivoted to Sam Darnold. And then if that wasn't enough, they said, let's get some Baker Mayfield in our life too. That didn't work. They even had Cam Newton back in the most completely forgotten stretch of games in the history of the NFL. Cam Newton's return a couple of years ago to Carolina. And now finally they try to get Matthew Stafford. That didn't work out. We heard that they were in the mix for Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
Correct? That obviously didn't work out. And now finally, after trading up, they get the guy that they wanted. So good for them.
Apparently it was him all along, and the reporting was they knew that it was him when they traded up. They wanted to confirm it, and they confirmed it. I really think back to that Davis Mills game because he would have been a Texan. And I think we're going to look at who the Texans take next, and we'll see if it's going to be C.J. Stroud, and we'll think about those two guys, and maybe Stroud will be better. But I give him a 10 mark more because of the process. It was a totally fair trade. They made it happen, and they outfoxed the Texans. More reporting came out just today from Jay Glazer that the Texans really thought they were getting that first pick, and they kind of hemmed and hawed, and they weren't willing to go quite over the goal line at the very end. The Panthers traded all the way up to 1. At one point, the Bears actually believed that they were going to trade down to 2 with the Texans and then trade down to 9 because the Panthers were desperate to get up to either 1 or 2. They really wanted Bryce Young, and at some point they ended up being the one that closed the deal. I love that. And we are going to hear from one Panthers fan. We actually have an official statement from David Ely, the most famous Panthers fan.
I love that. We have it now?
At NFL Media, we do. We can see it, hopefully, on our board.
Lonely no more, David Ely.
I mean, famously bought a champagne bottle for the Cam Newton Super Bowl, never drank it.
Oh, he drank it alone in a hot tub after his girlfriend broke up with him. We love our short king QB. Keep pounding. Simple but effective. Ely, not the tallest man, but neither is Bryce Young as he gets interviewed by Melissa Stark.
Who's
there
sneaky
in Kansas
tall?
City.
He's not that short. If he's eye to eye with Stark, in
Greg,
heels,
that is, I mean, you're acting like she's Dikembe Mutombo or something.
Well,
she's Melissa Stark.
I would say she's 5'10", and so is he.
I love how, like, in his, when they quizzed him all week about this, he really just backed up and said, look, I'm not about to get any taller. I am what I am. And, like, he's been this player his whole life. And he has found incredible ways to work with his own physical limitations on that front.
Has anyone ever tried to use, like, risers in their cleats? Give yourself a little bit extra sole in the shoe.
It happens.
And
I'm not sure going for it.
Does that make you a faster runner, though?
Go like 2 inches and just like put the cleats underneath it.
Breeze.
I'm just throwing it out there. Like, he's a short king, and I don't think we need to change him, but maybe it's worth trying. I'm just throwing it out there.
He enters a nice
That's what this
situation.
stream is for.
It's a fair idea.
Like, this is not a typical this is not a typical number 1 overall pick type of team. Nice offensive line, nice head coach in Frank Reich, who can really, I think, develop a quarterback, and a nice-looking defense. Like, there's a reason they had the 9th pick. They're not one of the worst teams in the league. It's a good spot for a young quarterback to land in compared to Houston. If I was Bryce Young, I'd be much happier getting in Carolina.
Well, it was a couple weeks ago that we asked, like, pick a team that could quickly transform from previous fortunes to this year's, and I think the Panthers are that team. They had good players under Matt Rule. I just think that you hope that Frank Reich can come in and completely reorganize the offense.
All right, now Jessica's getting up. Jessica, who is officially in charge of the scoreboard on the mock draft off. That's a 3-point score for both men, and congratulations to both guys, who picked the player, picked the team, picked the spot. So that's 3 points, 3-3 early on in the mock draft.
I'm more interested, and the pick is in for the Texans, which is the most talked about pick.
Oh, I got sandwiches here. If this is C.J. Stroud, sandwiches, baby. Here we go.
What is your prop again?
They stay at number 2 and take C.J. Stroud. Woo! They did it! Oh, give me those sandwiches!
Wow.
So after all the talk by the Houston Texans, and there was a lot of talk in the ramp-up to this draft that they didn't want the pick, that they weren't high on C.J. Stroud, that they were going to trade out of the pick, that they might not even pick a quarterback. They take the quarterback, C.J. Stroud, and good for them. Based on the Glazer reporting, I'll take it down a notch, and I'm going to give them a 9 here. I'm going to bang out a 9 on this one.
One of the people in the chat said that the Jessica segment is a 10 out of 10. I'm going to give it a 9 for similar reasons. You didn't get the guy that you want, but you made the right choice taking a quarterback here. And I loved the top 3 quarterbacks in this draft, Anthony Richardson, Stroud, and Bryce Young. I think it was a great quarterback draft. I don't know what people were talking about, and they get it.
And can I just add with the way it worked out with Bryce Young, all that hokum, all that garbage about the Panthers getting fleeced because DJ Moore was in that trade. No, they were aggressive. They wanted their guy, and they got him. And Texans did not get that guy. But, Mark, and I see you have a perfect 10 score here.
Yeah.
They end up getting C.J. Stroud, who some people believe is the superior quarterback to Bryce Young and a better prospect. So
he might be. I thought watching his tape, his ability, his throwing ability was one of the more enjoyable things to watch of any player in this draft. And I know the S2 testing raised concerns. We'll see how that plays out. I thought that he answered questions about that pretty well this week too. And I give it a 10 because if you're the Texans and you went defense here, that's fine. You can get a Myles Garrett type. But Myles Garrett minus a quarterback, and another year of Davis Mills leaves you in the deep forest if you're the Texans. I mean, you had to go quarterback here. I'm kind of surprised they did because it seemed like all the reporting up to now was that they were going to go against that concept. But you've given yourself a chance in a league where if you have Davis Mills, you're going to win 5 or 6 games all over again. We already know what Davis Mills is. You had to do this. I think you got the second best quarterback in the draft.
Well, can we back up to the reporting for a second? The reporting was terrible. The reporting is always terrible in the draft when it comes to reporters that are saying league observers from other teams believe this. I give the Texans credit that no one knew what they were doing the whole time. They didn't have any leaks, and yet there's just like a vacuum of information, and people were doing a lot of backslapping. Hey, like, hey, I had the news that they wouldn't take a quarterback early, and it's just like it was just everyone chasing their own tail. No one knew at any point. It's bad reporting, and everyone just kind of like forgets about that and when they're wrong.
You know who they should have listened to was the old Zeuser, because Tugboat laid it out on the
DJ
podcast
too.
this
Jeremiah
week.
had
Who
it on
cares
his mock.
about Jeremiah?
I think you're right, Dan.
Who cares?
They should have had their ears turned to what you have been saying for a long time.
Well, all I was saying was after last year passing on a QB, sitting at number 2 to pass again, it just, to me, didn't pass the smell test, and that's why I felt good about this. And I'm looking at Go Get My Lunch. It's Nick Fortier, by the way.
Yes.
Or Fortier.
Nick, yeah.
Fortier.
We got the
Our
Nick
numbers
part
are
of it.
going up, by the way, up to 4,800. Let's
Beautiful.
call your friends. Let's break 5,000.
Call your mom.
Can you imagine calling up a friend and being like, log on to this YouTube event right now?
There's a very small man just lying back. Like, lying back really makes me look smaller. I'm looking at the thing right now. It looks bad.
Don't worry. I think you look
Looks good.
This is
a
look at
short
that.
king.
Look at the emotions of C.J. Stroud. Very cool. No, but I do. That was kind of why I didn't put as much into all that smoke around it, because it makes so much sense now for the Texans to have the quarterback, to make another move here and look like a big to look like a big winner in night 1.
Dang, you didn't even say Stroud. You just said quarterback.
I said stay and draft a QB.
Wow,
I guess.
and
yeah.
we took you up on that.
both
That
took
was a
me
great
on it.
job by you.
So
Good.
I got 2 sandwiches right off the bat. All right.
So Jessica does not write a big fat 0 when you get it wrong, right? We'll just update it when it's right. Okay, because that's
what did you
now
guys
you're-
have?
Well, let's remember, in the mock draft, I also have Stroud going to the Texans. It was not in the spot, but
so you did get some points.
absolutely. With your big 0, you can
You get
tell you
2
where
points
you can
there,
take your
actually.
big 0.
That's 2 points. According
Yeah.
to our scoring system, when you have the player,
All right, let's update the scoreboard here.
Justin was hoping nobody was going to bring it up. When you have the player
I mean, I'm locked in on the results.
and the team, but
Now-
not the draft spot, you get
Yeah.
2
Now,
points.
Justin, you got 2 different scoring systems sent to you, one from me, one from Dan. Was there even a conversation of like, I'm going to go with Dan's, or you just assumed like that's how it goes, I don't want to upset Dan, I'm just going to do it without even bringing
I think
it
you've
up?
laid it out correctly.
I think there's one way to look at it, not upset Dan, or he could have just been like, "Oh, Dan's is way better," so I'll just disregard.
They were
Greg's.
they were pretty similar. They were similar.
What was your
Mine
scoring
was you got a
system?
half
You
a
got time.
point. For the
Half
for
a
the,
point?
for the trade spot basically.
I got to say, the handwriting, Jessica's numeric handwriting is an A+.
Can we get a close
That's
up
an
on the
interesting
actual
looking 5
score?
right there.
Could people see the score here? Can
Can I suggest something else, Jessica? Can we really let's explore the space on that board? Do you want to make that? Why don't we get a little? Fill out that 5. Bang out a big old 3. Let's get crazy. Next update. You don't have to do it now.
By the way, the Texans are going to be watchable again. I think this is a nice thing for America. They're going to be watchable again. I think C.J. Stroud fits Bobby Slowick's scheme. That's like the very similar scheme, and we're seeing a lot of excitement from the Texans draft room. I mean, they knew Stroud would be there the whole time. So, but it is nice to get your franchise quarterback. It's interesting though because Stroud
We've got a trade here.
Stroud had that S2 score. Ooh, the Texans are back on the clock at 3, which means Gravedigger lost sandwiches. That's it. That's why they're going crazy.
They have traded.
Into
They have
the
traded
third
into
spot.
the 3rd spot, the Cardinals spot, which
Houston's back in the top 3.
now we both. If this
love
is
it.
Will Anderson,
It's probably Will
we
Anderson.
would once again get points, both of us. Yeah.
Oh, I love the Texans getting super. I wonder what the terms are. Getting super aggressive here and picking. When does that happen? Having
Well, they
2 of
had
the first
that.
3 picks
They
in
had
the
that
draft.
12th pick, so maybe that's what's been chopped in reverse. But
Right. I'm sure they gave their 12th
And something
then
next year, if
a
not more.
future
Yeah.
pick. But I love that. I got to think it's Will Anderson just because of the Alabama connection
Yeah.
because of everything everyone says about Will Anderson. Nick Saban said it on Thursday, that if you asked everyone on the team who they would most want to be like Will Anderson is their pick. Like he's like incredibly productive. There was a lot of Tyree Wilson talk, and I have sandwiches that I'm going to lose if it is Will Anderson, but I think Will Anderson makes sense as the pick.
How exciting for the Texans. It has been a rough ride in Houston for a few years now, and now they're going to come out of this night. I don't even care who they pick. It's obviously going to be one of these top prospects unless they do something truly shocking, and people are going to say, this team is ready to kind of get back into contention. And remember, the AFC South, no offense, Gravedigger, no great shakes. I mean, that is
Wide
a
open.
division. The Jaguars, who just lost their left tackle to a PED ban for some length of time, like this is a division that you can get competitive very quickly.
Now, the old Texans would take Will Levis here and completely confuse the whole process. I'm assuming that's not what they do.
Here
comes Rog.
Here comes Goodell.
Rog's bod is still very good. It's clear
he's
working
looking great.
out on a
I
reg
think,
basis.
well, yeah, I think he can afford a personal trainer that
he's built like
salary.
a inverted triangle.
Sneaky big dude.
He's like 60 years old.
He's not that old, is he?
He's got to be close.
Pick 3.
There it is.
Will Anderson.
Will Anderson, edge out of Alabama. So there you go. You have the Houston Texans going back-to-back 2-3, getting their quarterback, and then getting this super talented edge rusher. I love what they're doing here. I love their draft here. That's a 10 for me.
That's an easy 10.
Yeah, the key to getting high draft grades in general, like on
Are we
on
tabulating these
NFL.com.
scores? Oh, I love it.
First perfect 10s. And I
Who's
think
the tabulator? Eric?
that's the trades there that's coming in. The key to having a good grade on these post-draft grades is you just have multiple first-round picks. If you have 2 first-round picks, you usually get an A. If you have 1, less likely.
How are we doing on the scoreboard of the mock draft? You guys get
We both had Will Anderson to the Texans, so
not in this spot though.
no.
So 2
no.
points each.
Yeah.
All right, now really explore that space on the whiteboard, Jess.
Here she is. Deleting.
Unbelievable.
Oh, big hug. Oh, he lifts Raj up.
Gotta do that.
Rog.
Look at that 7. That was a nice job there.
See, listen. It's her board. I am not gonna get on Jessica if she doesn't want to really go big with the numbers. That's her move. That's her.
I mean, she's working within
Yeah.
the framing of the
right.
camera structure there. I think she
Well,
did a nice job.
but she has plenty of work within the frame. Of
Okay. I see what you mean.
But again, that's her.
It's yeah.
Jessica, you got it.
She's meant to be at her actual job right now, so it's anything we
I mean,
can
the
get out
chat
of her
room
is
wants
great, so.
more. I think they want her to just become a co-host. That's something we will consider for future shows.
We will.
I kind of love this because I think that one reason I thought they might go defense at number 2 was that you give DeMeco Ryans his guy to build his defense around. 10 minutes later, they've gone and done that. It's like they're not going to go through this rotating coach situation anymore. I think this is the guy who's going to be here for years, and Will Anderson's someone you can just build the entire operation around.
I love it. There was this whole idea of Tyree Wilson has a higher upside than Will Anderson because he's longer and he looks a little more like the 275 crazy workout numbers guy that teams love. Will Anderson has been incredibly productive every single year he's been at Alabama. He's had sacks year after year after year. He's been one of the best defensive players at one of the best schools, and so it seemed like people were overthinking it. He's also 21 years old. Tyree Wilson's 23, so he can get a lot better. Maybe a Khalil Mack type. He's not the tallest dude in the world, but he's strong as hell.
This is very exciting. Very exciting. I'm looking. By the way, this is a flashpoint moment in the draft coming up as Will Anderson is interviewed by Melissa Stark. This is the Colts pick, and I think, Mark, I'd be stunned if it's not a quarterback.
Well, I think it has to be because Chris Ballard, although he's swung and whiffed and missed on 7 quarterbacks at this point, there's no other way they can go. It just comes down to there's so much.
But they haven't done this yet.
They
Since Andrew Luck,
they haven't had this kind of this
Right.
high of a pick since Andrew Luck. They've tried to go in other directions with veterans. It's not worked. There's been a lot of buzz around Will Levis. There's something about the Anthony Richardson with Shane Steichen that I really love the idea of, but we're 4 minutes away from finding out.
I would be shocked if the Colts do not take a quarterback here. I don't think this worked out perfectly, and we're seeing that the pick is in. I think they were hoping all this Stroud smoke was real, and if you want to put any thought to why this would have been out there, I don't know, because the Texans, if they knew they were going to stay at 2 and take Stroud, they have nothing to gain by putting anything fake out there. But certainly the Colts could have hoped for Stroud, I think, to get to them. I think he would have been a natural fit. I really hope they take Anthony Richardson. I think he would be a lot of fun. And there was reporting that Richardson has information he's going to go a little higher than people think. That could be the Colts. That could be the Seahawks. That could be the Lions. We'll see.
Look at the showy draft board that the Colts war room has. They used to call it a war room. I hate this stuff. It used to be the war room, and then it was deemed, I guess it was insensitive to call it a war room because there's war. Okay. It's a draft room. The entire wall from the floor to the ceiling.
Because there's war.
There's always a war.
It's a fair point. There's been a lot of war.
From floor to ceiling, the whiteboard. And at a certain point, it's like that doesn't seem like it's helpful in terms of what you're trying to do. Like, how do you even get to the top of the board at a certain
It feels showy.
It is. That's what I'm saying.
It's not less functional, more for show.
I'm dinging them a point right off the bat for their overly showy draft room. And you could say that's unfair. I don't care.
Well, I think you have that power here on this.
I feel power
here in this venue.
Can we use drops on the live stream? Is that something that we can do? That's fun.
I feel power.
There we go. There's something weird about hearing
Can we
drops.
I feel power.
On like a video show.
We have some time here. It looks like a minute maybe. So I'm just going to quickly cycle through some of these sandwich props.
Well, I already lost one. I had Tyree Wilson, so that's a big L. Justin already lost one with no trades in the top 10.
Here we go. Marc, Mac Jones isn't a Patriot by the end of the draft. Packers draft at least 4 wide receivers, tight ends. A non-human, non-animal makes a draft pick.
That's probably a day 3 scenario.
Yeah, that's got to be.
Gregg has Tyree Wilson as the first defensive player taken in the draft. That's out. All 4 of the top QBs, Young, Stroud, Levis, and Richardson, are drafted within the top 10. In play, Greggy. In fact, you might have 3 out of 4 to start. So
I think you're going to get that.
Well, not okay.
DeAndre Hopkins is traded to the Bills by the end of the draft. Here is the Colts selection.
I feel like this is the first true
Flashpoint.
Flashpoint.
Oh,
yeah!
There it is.
That's what I'm talking about.
Anthony Richardson. This is a big swing for Jim Irsay and the Colts and Shane Steichen.
Can I note one thing? That Gravedigger over there has been very quiet because he's watching the AFC South transform before his eyes over the last 15 minutes, and he's not liking what he sees.
This is a surprise to a lot of people, but not to Marc, who mocked it. 3 points for Marc.
Whoa!
This is
What do you know?
as someone in the chat said, put Justin's mock in the grave. It's over. I'm giving this an 11. Is that allowed?
I think we max it at 10, but that's showing how much you love the pick. I would have given it a 9, but I docked them for their
you can't
wall.
see the one.
I think it's bold. I mean, I know he's, there's something about college quarterbacks with the limited starts. That's an issue maybe, but Richardson just has this incredible potential, and I think he's with the right coach.
Hey, it's a big swing, and we talked about it on the most recent podcast. There are concerns about
that was an
like,
11 when I held up the 1, people.
Sure.
Dang.
Bit turns against you in the biggest spot. That their short game accuracy is not great, but he is quite simply, in many respects, the most athletic quarterback the league has ever seen entering. When you look at what he did in the combine, his college game. So if he does develop, Greggy, if he develops, and Josh Allen is kind of an outlier, but people keep on bringing up Josh Allen because of the size and the speed and the skill set and the ability to get better in terms of his passing game, especially that short game. He'll be able to throw bombs, Gregg. If he can learn how to be a QB in other realms, watch out.
I love this pick because he can play right away, too. There was this whole idea of, Anthony Richardson should sit a little while and, he's a project. He hasn't played a lot of football. I don't think you want to put a guy like that, like a Trey Lance, on ice for more games. He was a redshirt sophomore, so he's a young guy. There's a reason why he didn't play. He was behind another player at first, and he didn't get a lot of starts. But he did a lot of next-level stuff. I really trust my guy Nate Tice over The Athletic. And the way he went through his progressions and can do some pre-snap adjustment of his offensive line. They asked him to do a lot at Florida in terms of what real quarterbacks can do. And then more than anything, I think he moves really well in the pocket. He does not really look to scramble. I think he's very different than his reputation. He tries to make a play, and he can make people miss in the pocket, kind of like Patrick Mahomes, to throw the ball. And I think Steichen and the Colts are a perfect match for him.
Athletic freak, the future of the quarterback position. And I love that they didn't go. I think Levis is probably viewed as a maybe safer, lower ceiling guy.
But was he even?
Well, I don't even. I think the Colts. Just basically ignored all that and went with the higher props.
I think everyone has a lower ceiling in this draft than Richardson.
Well, what I mean, not even the lower ceiling, but like the safer, because that's part of the reason I think I like the move. Is like Levis was no slam dunk. He was a guy that didn't play well.
You only gave it an 8. What gives?
I gave it a 9, but they had the draft board.
You docked to the ceiling. The aesthetics. It was the aesthetics.
A little braggy.
Yeah.
A little braggy. You know, what are they going to have one of those at the old libraries where they have the big ladder that you can move on the wheels? It's like, what are you trying to tell us? That you're better?
I blame libraries for that second part, but you're right. I don't know why they're trying to mimic that.
I also like that the Seahawks aren't taking Richardson now, because I would have thought they would have taken him, and I think that would have been a good spot for him too. But there's no way the Seahawks are taking Will Levis, right? I don't think so. If they do, I renounce my Seahawks fandom.
This feels like a Jalen Carter potential landing spot.
Wait a second. You're not gonna like the Seahawks anymore if they take Will Levis? What did Will Levis do to you?
Because he would. It's one thing if you take Richardson to pair with Geno.
They can't.
Just stick with Geno if it's gonna be Will Levis. Get Jalen Carter. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Let's check out the scoreboard, by the way. In the mock draft, because listen, Justin, it's getting late early.
Starting to see a crooked numbers up there on the scoreboard.
It's getting late early because you might say, oh, there's plenty of picks left, but you got to be in good shape coming out of the top 10 because
it becomes chaotic after pick 12 or 13 here.
Well, and I think Marc's got to have one of the better mocks out there in the game right now. The fact he had Anderson to the Texans and
but I don't know if
Richardson, you might be the Josh Norris of 2023 if the draft ends right now.
I think there's some question in the wider draft grading if you'd give me Stroud if it wasn't where it happened.
Yeah.
People do it. The huddle report, who is the official graders who gave Josh his best score ever, is you get a point for every team. No, sorry, you get 2 points for every team player match and 1 point for every player you directly put in the first round.
So you would get it.
Interesting.
You would get it. You got Stroud. Even if it's at the wrong spot, it doesn't matter.
Is he imported in that database?
I don't think they took my mock overly seriously. It was also filed rather late. But
I saw something that you have to be there for 5 years. I don't even.
Hey,
Marc,
how about you start
like 25 years?
Start taking me seriously now? How about that?
I think, Marc, if you hit on Jalen Carter, you are flying here.
I'm going to drive home. If it's Jalen Carter, I'm just going to leave and go to the garage and drive home.
I am already ready to totally jump off the Jaguars bandwagon and just think one of these other AFC South teams. I'm not assuming the Jaguars are just running this division now that you throw in another couple good quarterbacks with Stroud and Richardson. There's another team in the AFC South, right? Who is that? What is that?
Let's see.
That's the team that's going for Caleb Williams.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's Graver on the cam now because I think I see some beads of sweat because the mock draft is something he's been thinking about for a long time.
Our numbers are going up, by the way. We're over 5,000. Thank you for calling your mom.
Yeah. Let's get on the Graver cam. Let's watch him sweat. Oh, look at that. See the moisture wicking.
It's hot in here. This is just a result of being a human being.
Well, it was a year ago that you had to confront the loss of A.J. Brown right in the middle of the draft, and a year later you got a lot of...
Some would say that was the seed that blossomed into this live stream because I was Instagram living my A.J. Brown reaction.
Wow. Some might say that.
Give it to him.
Wow.
To him. Yeah.
Someone's feeling themselves.
Jessica, can you grab a headset a second? Let's just talk to you for a second. I want to say hi to you.
The Seahawks pick is in, and I think NFL Network's doing a great job.
Jesus Christ.
But I just would like to say we're on air right now. We're not a commercial. We're giving you content.
Are we taking a break at some point?
We're not getting any money.
We can take a break whenever you guys feel like it.
Let's get Jess. Does that reach over that cord?
Close to you guys, maybe on the couch.
Here, pass it over.
We're going to pass it over. This is the type of experience.
Jess, is it
you
easier
only
for you to
get.
just stand? Is that okay? Or do you want to sit? It'd probably be easier if the cord works.
This is
Come into the shot.
We are a Renegade podcast. What is this?
That's
Is
important.
that bad?
Yes.
That's probably not a good
Oh,
thing.
shit.
Something
I
is
mean, I
unplugged.
can't.
Oh, wait,
can't-
here we go.
Can't use salty language. Does that reach?
Not really.
this
Oh,
is
my mother.
this is
There we go.
She could come sit over.
How about she goes over there where
Yeah.
the actual thing is?
Yeah, that would make more
That
sense.
would make a lot more
So
sense.
you would think this is bad streaming, but this is real.
This is the best
You
part
want
of
to
the
talk
show
about
so
salt
far.
to the earth?
Like, this is what would get cut out of the pod, but the
Right.
people get to see it today.
I'm gonna give this segment a 10 right
Oh
now.
yeah. Also, we had a pre-production meeting. It was like, let's make sure we don't have cords and microphones.
Right.
And it was like, and then we were told the day before this, oh, we shipped all those microphones to the draft. You know, the real content for NFL Network.
Also, the comment section, which I am keeping an eye on, does not want us to take a break at all. The whole,
good for them.
show. So I appreciate you. We'll stay on. Maybe one of us can, we can like take turns taking breaks if we need to.
Greg
run away.
continues just to formulate rules out of thin air
What else
without
are we
any
gonna
consensus
do?
from anyone else
What
in the
else
room.
are we gonna do?
Jessica, how are you?
I'm
dear?
good. Thank you.
You know, it reminds me, the energy in the air right now is like when we were in London and we finished the live show, and it was just, as it ended, it was just you and I on the stage in an embrace. Do you remember that? The crowd going mad for Jessica, and you became a star that night in London.
Yeah. It was great. Yeah. And I'm back now.
Jessica.
We're not embracing.
Pick your mic up just a little. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, here the
Here we
Seahawks
go
are
with
out.
the Seahawks pick.
You got Seahawks.
What?
Wow. Devin Witherspoon to the Seahawks. Well, I know our friend Mina Kimes will be happy. Her very favorite player in the draft going to her favorite team. And it kind of makes sense. I know they don't normally take cornerbacks that high, but he is as physical and like a dog as like any cornerback that's come out other than Sauce Gardner. I think people are afraid to compare him to Sauce Gardner, but a smaller version of him, and the Seahawks love that sort of player, but a pick or two before people expected him to go, especially with Jalen Carter on the board.
How about them? The mock draft. Any matches there?
No.
I don't think there was many around the country that had Devin Witherspoon.
No, we
to
both
the
had him going to the
Seahawks.
Raiders.
Yeah, this is a surprise. I mean, although when I think about where a cornerback can go in the NFL, trust Pete Carroll and the Seahawks to make it a great landing
You know
spot.
how
I'm
good you have to
surprised.
be to be a cornerback that's like 5'10" at Illinois and go in the top 5 of the draft? Like, for real, to get that much attention as a cornerback at Illinois that doesn't have like overwhelming size, your tape has to be like outrageously good. And it is for Mr. Witherspoon. They're going to try to be a good defense with Gino. Let's go.
What do you think? What's your grade on this one?
Oh, I forgot about the grades.
I'm going 9 just because like the Seahawks do things a little bit differently. I do wonder what it means for Jalen Carter, who could go very soon, but there's been a ton of buzz over the last 24
I'll give
hours
it an
about
8.
the Eagles even trading up for Jalen Carter. We'll see.
It's a solid pick. I think Greggy. Well, maybe we'll find out. Maybe we won't. It feels like Pete Carroll would have gotten into the Anthony Richardson business if he got a chance. We'll never know.
I will always think that. I will never know, but I was texting with a few different people today that know more than me, and the thought was he's not getting past 5. The thought was he was not getting past 5. So they might be disappointed, but Witherspoon, I'm just surprised. I'd give it an 8, not like a 9 or a 10, because I wanted Jalen Carter there. It just felt like they need a difference maker up front. But they certainly could use a cornerback, too.
Getting
Jessica,
comp
your
to-
thoughts?
Yeah, how do you feel about this?
I approve. It's great.
Well, that's important.
That moment on the stage, you and Dan, I have a picture commemorating that moment.
That was a moment of victory, I thought. And then at our most recent live endeavor, there was the Jessica slow dance with the Gravedigger to, what was the song?
Lady in
Careless
Red, I
Whisper?
believe?
No, it was
Oh.
Careless Whisper, yeah.
Of course.
Very romantic.
One of the most
What a
awkward
What was
live-
awkward about it? Why
live,
was it awkward?
experience. Well, not for
Greg
you guys,
is just
but
jealous.
for the crowd.
Fine.
I'm really quoting our friend Drew Christensen on that one.
Oh, right.
I thought
I
it was a wonderful moment.
it was a lovely moment between a caring couple. So I don't know where Greg's coming from with that one.
The only a moment between a couple that when loneliness sets in, there's always a 5-hour FaceTime.
That's true.
What is the longest FaceTime you guys have engaged in?
Probably the 5 hours one.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. But we were watching a movie. We were not just talking the whole time.
What are you talking about? Like an hour, like 4 hours and 28 minutes into that call, what are you still discussing and debating over?
He was telling me about his day. I was telling him about my day. We were
Every
talking
minute
about
in detail.
Marc. Yeah.
We talked about Marc.
Yeah.
It
We
was like
always talk
literally
about
longer
Marc.
than this event.
Fair.
So no scoring change in the mock draft. It's still 10-5.
I would call that a major lost opportunity for my progress in this mock draft.
That's going to mess up a lot of mocks, though, because I can't think of a single mock that I saw in the entire season that had Devin Witherspoon going that high. And the thing is, he was going 7 and sometimes 6 in just about every mock draft. People just copy each other, and yet no one had him to 5. And we've got another trade. How about that?
Hey-o.
While
Jeremiah, by the way, had Witherspoon 6 to the Lions, who were on the clock, but they're on the clock no longer. Wait a second. The Cardinals are now on the clock.
So the Cardinals traded back to 12. Did we ever get
Could a certain veteran wide receiver be involved with this trade?
Ooh, we did hear some DeAndre Hopkins reports going into
spicy.
That would be interesting if he was headed to Detroit.
So that's the Lions that traded out of that spot, and that was another Jalen Carter potential landing spot right there.
Wait, where are the Lions now? Where is Arizona?
Well, so the Cardinals moved down.
I never saw the final results of the trade. I'm trying to avoid Twitter because I don't want to see picks tipped. But
We don't tip picks here, everybody.
All right, we're looking at the trade. We'll find out. Dan, you sing and dance. Detroit is going to get pick number 12. That's why I'm waiting for that to update.
Yes.
Pick number 12 and pick number 34. So the Lions stack another high-quality pick, getting the third pick, the fourth pick of the second round, and they only got to move back 6 spots. They're going to get a nice pick.
I like it. And I wonder if they wanted, because Jeremiah, for example, had Witherspoon going to Detroit. I wonder if they were like drats when Seattle took him and they pivoted now.
Everyone really thought Jalen Carter would go to the Lions here. He was on the board for them.
It's 2 spots in a row.
And so the whole off-field questions for Jalen Carter certainly were a factor, but it wouldn't surprise me if the Cardinals took Jalen Carter right now either. In fact, if I had to guess, that would be my guess.
If I'm Jalen Carter, once Seattle passes on me and all the talk we said and all that was logical, that they would grab him because of the way they scout and the way they handle players, I'm a little nervous. There's usually one guy that ends up falling well beyond what anyone expected, and Carter has to be concerned that he's that guy right now.
This could be an offensive lineman,
So
too.
Tyree Wilson is still on the board, and if it's Tyree Wilson, I will steal 2 points back from Marc for the pick I missed having the Cardinals
Drama!
taking him at
By the way,
3.
the Lions also sent a third rounder back in this trade that the Cardinals get for I think a 5th. I'm just looking at the numbers. So, yeah, I think the Cardinals did pretty well here.
If
They
it's
didn't give up
Christian
that much.
Gonzalez, then Marc will get 2 more points.
Well, I think this
It's in
has
play.
to be something to help Jonathan Gannon here.
Uh-oh, look, Jonathan, pew, pew, pew. He's pumped up right now in the draft room in Tempe, Arizona. Jessica, how much mock draft talk has Graver been firing off in the apartment?
A lot.
So this is kind of an important pick right now.
What's the tone of what he's saying? Do you
Well-
sense concern, tension?
No, he seemed worried.
Little edgy?
Like, does he give you more detailed information on what's going on than you are interested in?
He definitely does.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
That's 50% of my relationship with my wife.
Right. I definitely learned
She doesn't
it
care
took me
about
a while.
half the things I say.
Mock
It's
draft, probably not high on the list.
But it's good. He needs to get it out, you know? So it's good.
That's a great partner.
Yeah.
Here it is.
Let's see here.
I mean, Rog, look at him. He's cut
Not a
out
lot of booze
stone.
this year.
Well, Kansas City, those people are
See if he takes.
good people.
Wow.
There we go, offensive lineman.
They take Paris.
And it's not
Johnson Jr.
Skoronski, who a lot of people thought would be the first tackle off the board. Interesting. So the Cards, who have a lot of needs, one of them is up front, and So let's see.
And I think part of this move is getting up there in front of the Bears, who are going to go offensive line.
You know what? I like teams that are aggressive. They wanted to have the first lineman pick. They went and got it, and I thought it was a logical trade. I'm going to give them a 9.
You know, I think tackles tend to get overdrafted. This was not a great class for tackles. I like that they moved back. We got the results of that trade. Maybe people watching know it, but they did get a first-round pick from the Texans next year to trade out of that pick, and a third next year. So that's nice. I think they gave up too much to move back up for Paris Johnson. I'm giving it a 7. Seems like a boom or bust type of pick.
I'll give it a 9 if it works. They absolutely needed this. They need everything all over the map on both sides of the ball. You've got a new GM who showed that he can wheel and deal, and you're not giving up. I feel like this was a team in free fall.
And remember, the face of the franchise, the quarterback, Kyler Murray, is currently rehabbing a torn ACL, and you better get that offensive line figured out. If he could return later in the season, and this is going to give Paris Johnson, you assume, if he's not, it's a bad sign, that he's a day one starter and he can get his feet wet, and then by the time Kyler Murray's ready to return, Johnson is has a little seasoning, and away we go. So
well, it's funny that's like the one position on the team I'm not sure he's going to be a day one start. You would think he is. He's a 6th pick in the draft. But they have 2 veteran tackles. They have DJ Humphries. Maybe he's gone. I don't know. That's certainly possible. And then they have Kelvin Beachum, which they brought back. I just never like it.
Remember what Parcells said?
What?
You got to get those progress stoppers off the roster.
Yeah.
Let the kids play.
I just never like it when there was very little consensus at tackle. We see tackles get pushed up. He was not a guy who DJ, who I trust a lot, had in his top 15 overall players. And year after year, you see it's very tough at tackle to adjust to the NFL. Like last year, there were 2 great tackle prospects at the top of the draft. Both of them struggled, and they were much better prospects than a lot of people think Paris Johnson.
Well, they comped him to Andrew Thomas, who struggled out of the gate in his own career. But now, he's turned it around. I don't know. I mean, you're kind of guessing on these tackles. I mean, it's hard to find these guys. If this works, you've got them for the next 12 years.
You can't get them in free agency. And I think it's a nice night for the Cardinals fans. So enjoy it, Cardinals fans. You don't have Steve Keim drafting for you anymore. Who put him on the air is crazy to me. He's doing the Fox draft. Like, come on.
Fox did.
I mean, Fox did, yeah. But he's got friends in the business. And you've also picked up a 1st and a 3rd next year. So it's nice. They're definitely a rebuilding team. They got a 1st and a 3rd next year. That's pretty big.
People are pointing out on the stream that there's a couch issue now with symmetry. I have my own love seat. It's because everything was fine, but once we added Jessica, now it looks like I'm kind of man-spreading.
Yeah.
Anyone's welcome to come over.
I mean,
ideally, Gregg would shift down.
But
Marc could
my
shift
table's
down.
here.
I mean, this beer
I didn't know this was permanent.
We did this years ago where there was a scenario where
Jessica,
there was
do you want
Gregg
to be
and
sitting
Marc
there?
stuck on a couch.
What do you want?
I was here waiting for something to happen. I don't know what I have to
do. It sort of got interrupted by the 5th pick.
If
you're
you're
going to keep
comfortable
waiting.
just sitting there, Jessica, and chiming in
here.
whenever you wish.
Marc is winning, so I'm supposed to be sitting here, right?
Yeah, you're supposed to be upset too. Ooh. Oh, look at Gravedigger. His whole world's crashing in.
Suddenly,
that was off the top
suddenly he's sucking a lemon over there.
And the thing is, Marc and I already both missed pick 7, so no points to be gained there because Witherspoon's off the board.
Clock's
so
ticking, Gravedigger.
We'll see what happens.
This is turning into a potentially costly night.
I do want to see it. This could be Will Levis. It could be something completely different. Christian Gonzalez for the Raiders. And then
Peter Skoronski's my prediction.
You think so?
Well, you don't get any points for that.
I agree.
But I think that's a good guess.
Justin.
He feels like a Patriot.
The
feels
Justin
like an
Cam
Eagle.
is by far the most interesting thing, I think, on this stream.
The what?
The Justin Cam. Whenever you get a look at Gravedigger, there's a sense of panic on his face. What jersey are you wearing, bud?
This is Harold Landry.
There you go.
I played it safe. Didn't want to wear like a Tannehill or Henry or some player that could be not a Titan by the end of the night. So I thought Harold Landry, safely will remain a Titan.
So we got some comments about Jessica's last comment in the comments. We haven't had any questions, by the way. We were going to do that a little bit.
I
Maybe
could
as we
read
go.
a bunch of stuff if
But
you
yeah,
want.
a lot of people just saying that was savage. Gravedigger banged in a big spot by Jessica. Got a lot of people really liked your
Something
zingers.
tells me you're going to be hearing about that, Jessica.
That would
today.
never happen.
Gravedigger's whole world is crumbling right now. I'm sorry. We're using your pain for entertainment.
It's all good. Content is content, baby.
Content is king. The pick is in for the Las Vegas Raiders, by the way. Their draft room in Henderson, Nevada.
Who is that next to Will Levis?
I don't know, but he's very pleased with himself.
Looks like it could be his brother or something.
No, it's a former NFL player. I'm trying to think who that is. Probably his quarterback coach, and maybe it's his brother, and it just looks like Gregg. Looked very familiar.
Looks sort of Brandon Whedon-ish.
I don't know Whedon. Where is Whedon? Is he
He's
in a
47 years
baseball?
old. He's like 47 or 48 years
He's
old.
still
at this
under
point.
that American flag. Like no one's found him.
Did we did we give our scores on that one? I think we did, right?
That was Paris Johnson?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did. Okay, good.
Yeah, we got 979 for an average score of 8.33, which is tied with Devin Witherspoon for our lowest score so far.
Okay. And for teams that pick
Wait, did you
multiple
give
times,
Richardson 11 or 10?
I gave him 10.
Okay.
I
For
mean,
the-
I could put 11 in here.
for the
if you want me
teams that
I want it.
have,
Okay.
if you give Greg 11, I'm going to lower my score to 7.
Okay, I did give
I mean,
him
you
11.
already got the scoring system.
So 7 it
3
is?
and 2 and 1. Mine was closer to the huddle.
I mean, if we're going to be going over 10, I mean, it's just chaos.
Well, it's just like a one-time thing. You get 111.
Everyone gets 111?
I don't know. Give Greg this. I don't know what's going on.
You could totally offset it by lowering your score to 7.
No, I'm going to give it to him.
Thank you.
I'm going to give it to him.
All right.
He's very excited. But are we, for the teams that have multiple picks, are we averaging both picks?
Oh, we could do that.
Yeah, that way we could find out who won the night.
Yeah, and which pick.
I don't think you
put
add
that
them
on
up. That
social.
feels
That would be
untoward.
unfair, I would say.
Which player won the night? Which pick won the night? This Raiders one is the most maybe unpredictable in the top 10. It feels like it could be defense or offensive line. Maybe it's not a skill position, but I don't know.
The
Could be
Raiders
Will
are
Levis.
always a wild card.
Could be Will Levis.
Remember, Jimmy Garoppolo is their starter. Brian Hoyer is currently their backup quarterback. They
Right,
do
that's
not
not
really
stopping you
have
from doing
their
anything.
depth chart is certainly not. Hoyer is very clearly probably third or should be third. Right now he's not. So whether it's this weekend or further along, I think there's someone else entering the fray here. Maybe it is Tom Brady.
Could
but
It could be Mac Jones.
right now it could be
Could be
somebody.
Christian Gonzalez. I think your Mac Jones trade is going down. I mean, not happening, Mark. But
We'll see.
Get to that in a second. Got some
Here's
reporting.
Rock.
Raj. It's our boss. Ooh.
Okay.
Tyree Wilson off the board. I guess it makes sense.
Interesting.
Tyree Wilson.
Look at his suit.
Love the suit. Love the chain. I feel like he's winning. The sunglasses.
Ooh, he's got the logo. That's my favorite thing.
They're in the train
Logos.
station.
That's cool. Yeah, I wonder, I've always been curious about the athletes that get the logos made. Like Austin Eckler has a logo. So many guys have logos. Like, at what point do you make the logo? Is it like a sophomore in college? Like, when do you,
No.
who helps
right
you
now,
design the
well, they're
logo?
making different money with
Yeah,
the
they're making
NIL
millions
now.
of dollars now.
Yeah,
so.
now you can start earlier. Before, you'd be more worried. Before, I would look at that chain, and I'd think, it's a good thing you got taken in the top 10, because that's a top 10 chain.
Right.
That's like, you do not want to slip to 25, and you already paid for that chain. I feel better at number 7. Some people thought, including myself, he might be the first defensive player off the board, might go as high as 2.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way you could hate this pick for the Raiders. Who there's another bear hug for Roger. How many of those are going to get handed out? Anyway, by the way, our bingo board. Any movement over on the bingo board?
Well, we're not really listening to anything that's going on.
We got work ethic at some point.
Okay.
All right. So what?
The problem is no one's listening. We're not.
We got best available player also.
Okay, we really need help with everybody on the stream right now.
Eric, you're listening the whole time, but you're listening to us, aren't you? We do have someone helping. Eric is in one of the best-looking Bills polos I've ever seen.
Very nice.
We'll have him on later
Very
maybe
sharp.
to show it off during the Bills pick.
Tyree will. By the way, Daniel Jeremiah in his last mock said that he thought he could go as early as 2 to Houston. So if you're the Raiders, you're feeling good. I'm feeling good. They need to, they get very scary now on that with Crosby also on that line. They have a chance to really do some things. I love that move. You know what I love? When you have a stud edge rusher and then you go add someone else in the draft, you can get excited about having a dominant pass rush, which changes your entire defense. Here we go. I got 9 on this one.
I give this a 10. I think, this is a guy who could have been long gone at this point. The Raiders have been searching and seeking for guys on defense for years. They've swung and missed a ton when Mayock was there. And I thought they might have gone Christian Gonzalez here. I think you got to love that Tyree Wilson fell to you, and you didn't reach for a quarterback that you don't believe in.
So I'm only giving it. I'm changing mine. I'm giving it a 7.
All right. Why?
I just
Why, Greg? Why?
Prospects like Tyree Wilson who have one good year after, and he looks beautiful on the board. He's good looking coming off the bus, but he really didn't do a lot until that last year. And I feel like you just draft off of 1 year. He's a 23-year-old prospect. He just felt like every year we see these defensive linemen get drafted so early. It's a premium position, and it's a high bust rate. It feels like it's a boomer bust pick. That's all.
How about this live stream so far? Does it feel like we're a little over an hour in? Feels about 9 hours in? Maybe 10?
Roughly.
I'm surprised to hear we're an hour in. Feels like it's flown by.
Feels like double digits in
By
terms
the way,
of the hours.
Falcons pick is in. I want to see if this is Bijan Robinson.
Okay, let's have some questions, actually. Let's
I
do
got
it.
we've been
Justin.
pulling them. I got a handful ready to go.
Yo, we got someone from Germany. It's 3 a.m. there. Shout out to Sam Bacon.
What is keeping you up, my friend?
Stuart Reese, 2 a.m.
Hello.
UK time. Love it.
I'm gonna read some comments and some questions that we've pulled.
And before
We're
you
getting
do,
a lot of hashtag free Jessica, by the way.
It's
Before
true.
you
If
do.
you wanna return, you are free to do whatever you want.
All
Greg
right.
has granted you permission to leave, Jessica.
Greg is on an incredible power trip during
Just-
this production.
You had a sandwich prop, no trades within the top 7 picks.
Yeah, that's
That's gone. So Gravedigger, the curse of the sandwich props with the producers live on, Marc Sessler.
I thought, that had legs, and it crumbled real fast once
How many
the
trades?
draft
There were 2?
happened
yep.
right away.
Oh,
2
I
trades.
need.
Texans up.
By the way, I'm
Cardinals
going to
back,
lose
Cardinals
all
back up.
mine if Will Levis does not get drafted. He's not going to get drafted by the Falcons, we don't think, unless someone trades up to the Eagles at 10 and Levis gets taken there. I'm probably taking another big L, maybe going over in this sandwich props.
You have Hopkins here traded to the Bills by the end of the
Right, but
draft
that's
as
like
well.
a 1 in
I-
20 chance.
I got my Texans stay tuned, draft QB. Titans trade either Tannehill or Henry by Saturday. Jets select Broderick Jones in the first round. That's in play. All right, let's check in with the streamers.
Devin White said, and who knows if Devin White coincidence or is the Bucs star linebacker watching our stream? I don't know. But Devin White said, Mark's shirt is so fire, and I love the facial hair. Bro is aging well.
Nice.
All
Also
right.
got a compliment from our friend Alex Frigola downstairs, the voice of many of our sound drops.
Frags
who
is back?
Said Mark's shirt was very fetching.
All right, what else do we have, Justin?
We have a locker room here, and I have about 12 shirts in there. I might change into another one.
Question, which previous draft was the guy's favorite?
Oh,
Previous
man.
draft?
Yeah.
I would say like the draft moment was Mark and Johnny Manziel, but Wes and I actually were back in L.A. for that draft, and you guys were in New York without us.
What happened with that draft was disastrous, but I'll never forget that night. And that was a trip where, in the old Radio City Music Hall, Dan and I were squished into those seats, and I believe, Dan, you left Manhattan with a major back issue.
A neck issue that lasted for some time.
Radio City Music Hall really didn't adapt to the times. They played hardball with the NFL, and you know what? They lost. What's happening right now at Radio City?
Well,
Nothing as cool as the NFL draft.
They famously
the Rockettes, essentially.
It's never going back there. They famously said we're going to take a year off because we have an Easter production, And the NFL was like, all right. And they went and did it wherever they did
now
it.
look,
and it was a huge hit.
If you're watching NFL Network, that is a lot of people.
And now it's like 6 years later, like 1 million people are going to this event. So they kind of undershot what the draft was. I mean, sometimes our podcast, we kind of push back a little bit on the NFL, always trying to go more, bigger, bigger, bigger. But the draft is, to me, a celebration of being a fan and the excitement and optimism. So make it big. I thought they did a great job of this. Anyway, do you have something else from the
Yes, but the Falcons are about to read their pick here. Want to see that?
Good job there, Justin. Good job. Although we have a little announcement beforehand.
Right, that was the host, Zeuser, saw that.
Or not, actually. Let's see.
All right, we have a little more time here, I think.
I don't win a sandwich yet because these are both humans.
Well, so this is the first possible.
How do you know?
As far as I can tell.
I mean, they have to be clear non-humans, I think, for you to win it. So you have Bijan Robinson?
I do have Bijan Robinson here in this spot.
So this is the first time I think we could see a running back, or obviously it'd be Bijan or a wide receiver would be here at the Falcons.
We both have Bijan, but I have it at 11, so I would only get 2 points.
Got it.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Christian Gonzalez.
I agree.
Cornerback. Yep. We'll see. Let's go Falcons. Let's get something fun.
Oh, he's nervous. That's cute.
Remember when you used to get nervous, Dan?
Uh-huh.
You had feelings?
Yep. Barely.
Hook 'em, baby!
Bijan!
Love
Let's do it!
Love it.
Like that.
Now, my guy Tyler Algier is probably not loving this, but that's okay. It's a two-headed backfield.
I mean, he's the best backup in the league right now, Tyler Algier. Maybe. One of them.
You use them both?
Tyler Algier. He is officially your guy.
I want them to trade for Ryan Tannehill before this draft is over, and suddenly this is an actual NFL team.
Well, your Titans 2.0.
I've been pushing back in this Falcons uprising that you guys have been feeding for a couple of years now. But if they do that, Ritter, if they really love Ritter, then, who knows? Maybe he's a player too. But Tannehill makes so much sense. Jessica, I believe we need to make some alterations to the scoreboard. Robinson, so much talk in the last couple of months about what he brings to an offense and how special he can be, a true three-down back, Greggy, who can be a superstar, can be a Hall of Fame type guy if fate is on his side.
Watching him, he reminds me so much of LaDainian Tomlinson. He is just so smooth. Another, Texas back. I know not.
I think that's
not
3
the
points
same
for Marc
Texas.
and 2 points for Justin.
That's
is that correct? Okay.
He, his ability on passing downs to me was undersold. He is one of, if not the best passing down backs in the draft too. To be that size and to have hands like that, to be able to block, I just love groupthink getting smashed down. And it's stupid that a generational back wouldn't get taken very high when you're taking these other guys who are total risks, Paris Johnson, Tyree Wilson. Maybe they'll be great, but you can't tell me that a ground rule double, which Bijan Robinson is going to be, I think, at worst, isn't a better pick. And he could be a home run if he is LaDainian Tomlinson.
And he's getting comped there to Edgar and James as well. We already saw the Falcons absolutely brutalize people a year ago on the ground without Bijan Robinson. So I think Arthur Smith, this has got to be loving this.
I partly rank it on just what it's going to do for my life, and this seems fun. So I'm giving it a 10.
I'm giving this a 10 too.
Yeah, I don't love it as much. Obviously, I love the upside of if he is LaDainian Tomlinson, but most likely he won't be LaDainian Tomlinson. And also, they have a really good young running back. And I just wonder, I agree with Jeremiah, what he says, be a team that's just looking for that final piece. You're already a playoff Super Bowl contender. Go get a guy like Robinson as your running back and then make it the final piece. I'm not sure the Falcons are ready to contend in a meaningful way right now, and I don't think it was a position of need. So love the player, don't love the fit.
What if they pair it with as we've predicted, a Tannehill trade? Suddenly you've got an incredible backfield.
Can I adjust my pick if they make that trade? My score?
I think you could. I mean, if it's 1A to 1B, and that's.
But
There's
right,
no
just
real
Look at this
rules
guy.
here.
If you're watching on NFL Look, there's just something about him that's like, that's going to be a superstar
Right.
that we're talking about for the next 7 years. And, oh, by the way, he's going to join a team that already could run the ball great. I mean, he might be the number 1 overall fantasy pick this year. I don't even think that's going to be a hot take. I think there's a strong chance September 7th or whatever it is, you look at the ADP, Bijan Robinson is the number 1 overall fantasy pick. So that's a little fun, too.
Who else could they have gone with?
Well, I think
Someone asked if you don't pick Bijan Falcons, who should they pick? Jalen Carter still there.
Gonzalez. They could have
Gonzalez.
taken
Van
Smith
Ness.
Jigba.
They could have gone Will Levis. These are options that they had. The Eagles. Oh, they're going to get Jalen Carter.
Yep.
They just flipped with the Bears to take Jalen Carter. The Bears
Well,
are at 10 now. That's
Well,
so
we
weird.
don't know. We don't know for sure it's Jalen Carter. You're not reporting that, are you?
Sorry, no. They
Okay.
flipped with the Bears, though, which is just a 1-pick jump. It's kind of weird. It's cool.
It's almost certainly for Jalen Carter, though.
there was a
I
lot of
think.
talk about the Eagles trading up for Jalen Carter.
I mean, we don't need to jump ahead.
Look at
too
Arthur
quick,
Blank.
But, I love that for the Eagles. And
Oh.
we're not looking. We're not tipping any picks. So we'll
By the
find
way,
out.
I also mocked Will Levis to the Titans, so we will see what happens with that.
so
That would also flip Tannehill out of town.
It's
if
getting
this
late early.
if this does wind up being Philly taking Carter, they got to be pumped because they sat there and they didn't have to trade up much. You know, that he kept falling. Maybe they just got shut down by some teams. Maybe they weren't willing to give up the price that it was going to cost. Everyone said Atlanta was trying to trade down. I don't think anyone wanted to go up to them, and so they end up taking Robinson there. But I love that you only had to move up one pick.
Is there any way it's not Jalen Carter?
Sure.
I don't know. There was just such heavy whispering about it, but sure.
But
It's
sure,
just-
They have the luxury to kind of pick what they want because they're strong all over the place.
if it's Christian Gonzalez, I'll be pretty happy because that's who I mocked.
Ooh,
You have
need this
Christian
one.
Gonzalez to the Eagles, you're
Need
saying?
this one, kid.
So that was another guy that looked at DJ's 4 guys he
Right.
said could go to the Eagles.
Not
Although
one
he
of
wouldn't
them.
have expected Jalen Carter to be on the board. That was not one of them.
No, it was not
They're
one
also
of them.
very deep at cornerback, so I'm questioning the thought process there.
Ouch.
Wow.
Just saying. They're spending more money at cornerback than maybe any team in the league between Slay,
Is Slay on
Bradbury, and
how many years is Slay? Is he on a 1-year deal?
They re-signed him this year.
To a 1
Yeah,
year?
1 or 2.
Yeah, so
I had
pick
the
for the
Eagles
future.
taking,
Yeah, stick to your guns.
Thank you.
Graver.
I had the Eagles taking Lucas Van Ness, but you don't trade up for Lucas Van Ness, I don't think.
No, I think he would be there. In fact, I think he might go to the Bears.
mm.
Here
It's
comes
not going to
Rob.
be an offensive lineman, is it? If this is like Peter Skoronski, I'm going to be very annoyed, even though he's probably good.
No tie for Rob, by the way.
I like that move.
It's got to be hot there in
Cash.
We're
Kansas
post
City.
ties.
Super cash. Here's the pick. There it is.
Jalen Carter.
Jalen Carter is now a member of the Eagles.
Wow. Howie Roseman refuses to fail.
That's awesome. I mean, if you're Jalen Carter, you're joining a defensive line with Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham, and you got Milton Williams there.
His
you got
teammate,
Josh Sweat there.
Jordan Davis, is
Jordan
Georgia
Davis
teammate.
was there.
Jordan
How about
Davis.
Nakobe Dean, his other teammate? I mean, they basically now have 3 Georgia Bulldogs starters because Dean's going to start now. That is just outrageous to add maybe the most talented player in the draft, the number 1 player on DJ's board before the arrest happened and everything with Jalen Carter. It was the number 1 overall player on DJ's board.
And that was, the arrest and then the combine performance that
The warrant, I should say, because in the end, he nothing, no charges.
involved with a drag racing situation that led to the death of some people connected to the college program. And, I think this is a great pick. I mean, I got to say, like, the Eagles, who, by the way, had 70 sacks last year, just too short of tying the Chicago Bears of 1984 for the most sacks ever in a season. Now you add Jalen Carter. So,
If I had an 11 left, I'd give it. Oh, my gosh. What's it going to take?
What do you mean? There are some questions about
Yeah.
Carter off the field. That's probably played a reason why he's going down the board. So they're inheriting that risk. But the talent is so good that it's worth the gamble, especially for a team like the Eagles.
I also think it really mattered what team he went to, and the Eagles make a lot of sense. Like their coaching staff has the Q rating on that coaching staff has gone through the roof. You do have a new defensive coordinator. That is, it's a lot of similarities in the scheme though, and I think that they'll find a way to use them. I think there have been a few questions about even on the field, like his effort at times, but a good coaching staff will shore that up. He, along with Quinnen Williams, essentially got the highest PFF grade that they've ever given to a defensive tackle. So, I mean, what's not to like?
It was outrageous. Just watching his tape, like the rest of this defensive class, and I know this class in general got a lot of grief. It wasn't like an amazing draft class. You want to see someone who pops. And Jalen Carter was the one guy in this class, outside of the quarterbacks and Bijan Robinson to me, that you can be a dummy like me and you can look at and you're like, oh, of course. Like, you put this guy in any single draft, to me, he was as good or better than a prospect of Leonard Williams, who goes top 5. Probably as good or better of Quinnen Williams, that type of guy that would normally go top 2 or 3 and is just a total menace to society. And he's now joining a team he doesn't even have to play 700 snaps. They'll rotate him in and out, and he'll be a beast.
Yeah, love it. It's a type of move that if it doesn't work out, I think the Eagles will still be okay. If it hits, they just took a strength and turned it into a total nightmare fuel for opposing offensives across the league. So, I think the Eagles have the benefit of the doubt personnel-wise at this point with what they've been building with Roseman over the years, and this is another big hit.
I always wonder in these trades if, the Bears and Eagles communicated about, we're not going to take your guy. Because,
oh, no, they don't. Well, that's normally what they say, because otherwise, why would you do it?
Well, I think the Bears needed to know that if they're going to go like Skoronski or something, that the Eagles weren't going to hopscotch them and then take the guy they were actually targeting.
But that's what you're paying for. I think generally,
I would do that.
Yeah.
What? Lie?
That's a great move, yeah.
Generally, I think that's what you're paying for. Otherwise, why give up the pick,
So,
basically?
Now you got Jalen Carter. The Bears want Jalen Carter. You say, hey, we won't take him.
Well, I mean,
we're going to move him out front of you. And then after that, hey, you can't do that.
Well, we just did.
I just did it. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
I just don't think they could have anticipated things going this way. Do we have the trade terms, by the way, Graver, on this?
Do we have the trade terms, Justin?
Just moving up one pick.
Got to think the Bears are going offensive line here.
I also like that the Eagles have a thing, and their thing is just drafting linemen, period. Offensive linemen, defensive linemen. Have 7 or 8 of each. Always just draft them. They've missed a couple times, but for the most part, they hit, and they're just bigger and stronger.
So much Skoronski
trade terms
connection on this.
Thank you.
Bears.
Bears have traded pick 9 to the Eagles for pick 10 and a 4th-round pick in 2024.
So the Bears were just desperate to get anything. Yeah.
And if the Bears take Skoronski, Marc gets 2 points.
And it's kind of over, I think, if this happens.
Who do you have the Bears selecting?
Paris Johnson, who's gone.
Oh.
Well, I could. That doesn't work.
This is a inflection point on the mock draft off here.
Life is not going well, and by life I mean the mock draft, which is my life now.
I mean, oh no, sorry, Justin.
That was sad.
Long way to go.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm not worried about
I
it.
sent you a little something, Graver.
Yeah, we're working on
Text
it.
message, thank you. I want to just send this out to all the Chiefs fans who are upset that Brett Veach was ranked below Howie Roseman on my GM rankings. I mean, it's moves like this that's why. Just because one team got one more possession in the Super Bowl, you don't have to base it on that. I mean, Roseman is just on a heater right now.
Yeah.
It's come a long way from essentially being locked in that shed in the back of the facility when Chip Kelly was there.
So
It was ostracized.
it's really one of the more amazing comebacks in recent NFL history. Good job by Jeffrey Lurie, the owner, to not totally kick him to the curb. Got that.
Bad job to hire Chip Kelly, but
Actually, Roseman was in this room for quite a while. This is where they sent him.
here comes the Bears pick. Whoa.
Darnell Wright.
That is interesting. So Skoronski, on many mocks, was the first lineman off the board, but now we have another tackle coming off, Darnell Wright out of Tennessee. interesting. So Skoronski's fallen just a little bit here, and I still have I got my sandwich props still in play with Broderick Jones to the Jets. So this is interesting. Tennessee comp here we're hearing is Penei Sewell. So that would work.
Well, I think this is all about looking at their roster and really believing in Braxton Jones, their 5th-round pick from a year ago. You would not have expected a 5th-round draft pick to step in and become a quality left tackle. And on tape, Braxton Jones, a 5th-round pick a year ago, was as good or better than the 2 guys that went in the top 10 who had some struggles. And I think this pick makes sense just because of what I've heard DJ say about him. He said this guy, he's the most obvious starter right away as a right tackle, doesn't really have flexibility. He's going to be a right tackle. And just the more draftniks like DJ and Bucky were talking about, and they're like, why isn't this guy going higher? And they kind of loved him, and he was one of those like risers during the process.
And Fields, they're going to do things to try to protect Fields, but also he's always going to be a running quarterback, and they're the Bears. They're going to run the football. You get a right tackle that you love, that will work. That will absolutely play. So, very interesting. And I like the move. I think this is meat and potatoes.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if he's so you're thinking, and by the way, if they nailed a 5th-round pick that they think is a long-term answer at left tackle, I trust their eyes on this.
That's a good point.
I'll give this a 9.
All right, we're gonna go 8. Darno, right?
I don't know. Why would I give him an 8? I'm gonna give him a 9. For all the reasons I just said. Good job, Bears. I like the Bears. I like the Bears, what they're doing, what they're building. I think they are a team to watch. Like the Jaguars last year, being the team that kind of jumped out to me as a team that could make a quick acceleration to contention. I like Chicago as one of those teams.
Well, yeah, because, despite the record last year, and, their defense was an absolute disaster, but they were super competitive in terms of putting up points when they shifted what they did on offense and made it all about Fields. And I think the key is just keeping him healthy because, at the end of the year he was banged up. And it's like I have no problem with them building along the line. It's just funny that, it felt like 80% of mocks had Skoronski to the Bears, and then in the end it's just completely someone else.
Same position. I do find it telling they went to commercial break during the Titans pick. Typical Titans disrespect. I have a question for you, Graver. How you feeling right now with the Titans on the board? And I want to hear who you want them to take. And then B, and this is more important, anything we can do about the temperature in here. Anything we can do
warm
about
in this
the
room.
temperature.
We could open the door.
Let's pop that door
Yeah.
before literally one of us pass out, and we become a meme for the rest of the time.
I think Will Levis absolutely in play. I don't know.
Now, do you want that just because you mocked it, or you actually want it?
Seems that people couldn't hear me just now while I was saying that. So what I was saying was, let's pop the door. Let's see about potentially Will Levis being in play. I did not mock that. I mocked C.J. Stroud.
Okay.
So if anything, I don't want them to draft Will Levis because that's more points for Mark. I think Peter Skoronski's in play for sure. Jackson Smith and Jigba. Zay Flowers. People have been talking about Zay Flowers.
What do you want?
I want C.J. Stroud.
Oh, come on.
Well,
But you can't.
Yeah.
Can't have him. So what do you want?
Give me...
Okay, this is telling that you
We
don't
have a guest on the way, by the way.
You don't have
We do have a guest on the way. I don't have a heart. I guess
Got to take somebody, buddy.
Skoronski. He's
All right.
such a good player overall.
Someone in the chat is noticing, Mark, you haven't touched your water, so I don't know. If you
what
want-
Somebody
whistle
else-
there, Marky?
I feel like a hostage victim over here.
Somebody
so
else
just,
asked for an over-under on how many minutes before Mark would spill his water, but that was an hour ago, so I think we're way over the
Did we set the over and under?
We never did. What do you think
I'll
would
set
be?
it right now. I think, especially if a guest coming, he's going to be in that zone.
I think
I'm gonna
guest
set
sits
it
here.
in
Wait, where is the guest
6.5
sitting?
Guess will
minutes.
sit between us.
Maybe let because
6.5 minutes.
why
is
don't
the
we
over-under.
take out this table now?
Take this out of here, and he can sit
Yeah, we got to
right here.
get this out of here. Can we have someone take? Because otherwise,
This would be kind of the time we would go to break to set this up.
you want to take.
Yeah,
a
why
very
don't we
quick-
go to break? We'll take 2.5 minutes, and when we come back, maybe we'll have a guest, or maybe
Maybe
we'll
we
still be
won't, but
setting
we'll
it
talk,
up.
We'll talk.
or maybe we won't come back at all.
although the pick is-
Stay here just in case we
The
do.
pick is in for the Titans. I think we need to get the live pick reaction.
Okay,
from
let's
Gregg.
do
We'll
it.
break
I
after
mean,
this.
especially
They
after
don't
what we
seem
did.
overly excited. It seems we see the draft
Yeah.
room in Nashville. It's more like they're trying
They're
to
like,
convince us.
Hey,
So-
have you seen those mock-ups of our new stadium yet? They look great.
What was a year ago that Vrabel freaked out in the draft room? with
You
the
know,
A.J.
our-
Brown trade.
Honestly, our guest is incoming.
Yes,
so I think
he is
we might
incoming.
need to get this set up. Let's take a quick break. We have plenty of time to talk about everything.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. All right.
Wait.
Hey, we're back. Oh, look at this. We just got better looking because sitting next to Marc Sessler is former #1 overall fine high-level analyst for NFL Network, the great David Carr. How are you, buddy?
I'm great. You guys get to just chill on the couch, and this is different than my set. I get to actually have my phone in my hand. They don't yell at me. This is great.
Yeah, you can
Love
do
this.
whatever you want. It's wide open.
Pals, watch
I don't even think you have audio right now.
Can we hear? Can you guys hear on the stream Dave Carr? Nobody calls him Dave.
Shouting into the
It's David.
Uh, we could
Can we?
give you another mic. I mean, this is part of the
What's happening?
charm of this.
Jessica, what did you do to the mic? We have David Carr here.
Want to talk ball?
Yeah, if you just scream as loud as possible, David, like the
lean in.
whole time, then you're good. We actually have been using that mic too throughout.
All right.
Yeah, it's
We're
with
getting
Jessica.
levels on it.
How we now?
We'll figure. No, just.
It's coming in.
All right, let's
I
just
feel like,
go.
I feel
Well,
like
while you
Will
guys-
Levis right now.
By the way, Peter Skoronski does go to the Tennessee Titans, so good job for Gravedigger there. A lot of people thought this is the best lineman in the draft. Some said he had the short arms. That's what they said.
I don't like them showing Levis. I mean, I know they got to show Levis.
Well, this is
but,
all part of it.
This is part of it. This is what you sign up for.
Okay,
Oh,
there
I can
you
hear
are.
myself now.
You
There
didn't
he
have
is.
to deal with
I'm
that.
back.
Ladies and gentlemen, the man that
No.
didn't have to wait for anything in 2002,
That's
David
true.
Carr. Yeah, so
Wait for audio.
I
That's all
thought
I
they
had to wait
changed
for.
that with Gino. Like Gino was the time where they were like, we're gonna stop showing
that was rough.
people be miserable at the end of the draft.
That
I
was a
guess
bad beat.
here and there.
But
Yeah, it's hard.
David, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for. I mean, I feel like I need to go through the intro again. I feel like
Yeah.
I need to kind of
We-
re-say what I came in to say. This is a very relaxed environment. I love it. I can have my phone out. I can feel like Ian. You know,
Yeah,
just kind of
exactly.
scrolling.
You don't want to be Ian, though.
Well, we have really
No one
high
wants to be.
production value. In
What's the
this set.
score right now? What's happening?
This is I created a mock draft as our producer Gravedigger did, and we're kind of going through tallying wins and losses. And
all right, Gravedigger.
There is the second running back off the board at 12. Jameer Gibbs out of Alabama goes to the Lions.
Wow.
I actually love that.
Tell us why you love it, David Cook.
Well, I wanted him to go to the Saints for personal reasons, but he's incredible. So he literally reminds me of Alvin Kamara. Like when you watch him play, he does he likes to compare himself to Jamal Charles, which I get, right? He can do anything. He's great in space. He can catch the ball in the backfield, but man, he's dynamic. I mean, they're probably echoing the same things on the draft coverage right now, but he's explosive. He's just fun, man. His tape's a lot of fun to watch.
We try not to mention that other draft coverage.
Yeah, good.
Look at them as people are watching the draft and they're watching us. You said you were hoping the Saints.
I want them to get every good player.
Now
obviously,
that it's happening, did you have any inside info the Saints might have been interested in them?
Well, they definitely liked him. Yeah, so this is a good pick by the Lions. They already had a really good offense, so this is going to be even better. I expected the Lions to go defense. So
I trust the Lions to use him well too.
Right, but they have DeAndre Swift. Maybe not.
Right.
I don't know if he's in their long-term plans, though.
I don't think so.
Right, yeah.
David Montgomery got
too.
a lot of money, so they now have 3 pretty high-profile backs. I wonder if Swift gets traded.
I think they felt like
possibly.
a year ago they could use more than one running back effectively. I think Gibbs it's gone higher than a lot of people think, but this is an electrifying runner. I
mean, just keep scoring. I mean, last ranked scoring defense, but it's like just if we score more points than them, that doesn't matter, right?
Mm-hmm. And let's not sleep on this after all the talk for years now about running back and their value. We have 2 running backs
in
the top 12 coming off the board. That's pretty impressive right there.
I think that's why I even had hope that he might fall to the Saints, because everyone just told me that running backs aren't valued anymore. But here you go with 2 guys that are jumping in before the top 15.
Where does your brother watch this?
Where he's in New Orleans right now, so he's at his house by himself because his family just flew back actually to Las Vegas to put their kids back in school, because that's the appropriate thing to do. Is you can't be on vacation your whole life. So his kids are back in school. He's watching it, and we're texting back and forth. But
so he's probably pissed right now, right?
I'm sure he is. Yeah. He liked Jameer also, but I think that probably surprised a lot of people though. Honestly, like the Lions,
they're not picking for a while.
What do you think about how the quarterback side of this draft has played out so far?
I love where Anthony went. I know that he's rough, but when I watched his film, you could obviously see what all the people see is his electrifying talent. The guy's incredibly gifted. He is 13 starts, I think. One OC in the league told me, he's like, there's no way we can take a kid that has 13 starts. I'm like, yeah, but you watch the film. Like, you watch this guy. You just got to give him some time, or do what Indy's going to do and play just like they played with Jalen. Inside out, run the football downhill. He's obviously very physical. You can create one-on-ones on the outside for these guys where they don't have to necessarily read the prototypical offensive system that I had to kind of sit through. These guys are much more talented. He's an incredible athlete. I think you just use that and create. It's just a new era, man.
Well, plus, people point out it's like, well, but the throws are more simple because he's such a good runner. And it's like, that's the point.
Exactly.
That is the point.
That's a great point. It's like, well, he can't do some of the things that CJ. I'm like, no, he doesn't have to. Like, it's one guy out there guarding his receivers, because you have to now take that. When I was playing, it was always, how do we get that extra guy out of the box? Because as soon as I hand the ball off, I'm a viewer. I have a seat just like everybody else. But now with the way they use the quarterback in the run game, you don't have that luxury anymore as a defense. You have to put that other guy down there, and now you like you said, Greg, you create your own one-on-ones outside, and you can just play catch with your guys.
Where do you come down on like the Bryce Young, the size, and what that would do at the pro level for him?
Well, I think maybe like 15 or 20 years ago that might have been an issue. I don't think it's a problem anymore. Well, first of all, he's
very
he's going to be able. It's
generous of you, as like someone as a large man who's sitting next to myself, who's much smaller than Bryce.
I'll say this: like if he was 6'3", we wouldn't even have had a conversation about who the first pick was. Like, because if you just watch him play. So I talked to Josh McCown about this when I was out at was it Will's pro day, and it was actually at CJ's pro day, and I was just kind of talking to him about all the quarterbacks. I wanted to get a feel for what he thought. And he's like, Dave, he plays big. Like, he doesn't play, 5'10". He throws guys off of him. He plays physical. Like, he doesn't play like he's a smaller guy. His release is even higher. So I think when you factor all that stuff in, there's no real difference between him and maybe a guy at 6'2". Like, it doesn't appear like, not even Drew. Like, even Drew Brees, you can see him looking out of the bottom of his face mask sometimes and trying to create space. But Bryce is like almost Kyler Murray-esque, where he kind of takes a deeper drop and he can create space, because we're never really throwing over guys. Like, that's kind of a common misconception. People think you're throwing over these 6'8" tackles. Like that, I can't even do that, right?
Right.
You're throwing between guys. Like Sean Payton, I've talked to him about this too, and I think I actually saw him talk about this on a podcast the other day. But you're throwing like in between guys and in between these trees, and you're trying to find windows. And Bryce's feet are excellent, so he's always able to find that space to where it won't be a problem.
What about Will Levis, who there were a lot of mocks out there that had him going as high as 4 to the Colts, still out there. Is he going to make a team very lucky here, or do you have concerns about him as well?
Well, I think I have the same concerns that a lot of people probably have about him. You know, when I watch Will's film, it's a little bit inconsistent, which is okay if you can have maybe an Anthony Richardson type upside where you're just physically more talented than everybody than you're playing. Will is a talented guy. He's a strong physical kid, but I think people will see him and they see him. They kind of it's tough to read because is he Anthony Richardson or is he a guy that is like CJ or Bryce that's just not polished? And he gets kind of stuck in this gray area where I don't know. Can he be a drop back quarterback? Can he play in my West Coast offense? Does he have to be more in a run downhill? And he's not as physical as Anthony. So you're like, it's hard to see him in the first round because of that, and so he might be sitting there for a little bit.
What have you thought? Any like suit game thoughts tonight? Dave Damashek would often almost uncomfortably talk about how you were a handsome man and that he would feel inferior. And you do wear nice suits. I've noticed.
Hold that thought. I want to hear it, but we also want to hear the Packers selection.
Yeah, let's do it.
I think the suit stuff's more important.
I agree.
Ooh, Lucas Van Ness.
I love it.
I like that kid.
That's your guy, Mark.
Yes. No, I thought that might have been an Eagles target.
I like his shirt.
But I think he's great for the Packers.
Oh, whoa. Gravedigger's celebrating. Do we have a hit in the mock draft?
We got a 3-pointer, baby.
Wow.
Okay. Is that a direct hit?
That's a direct hit.
Wow,
Packers at 13, Lucas Van Ness.
It's a 3-point score if you get the pick slot, the team, and the player. Jessica, you got to get that is Gravedigger's beautiful girlfriend.
Vanna White.
Yes.
And she is all over this.
Yeah,
that's
here
3
we go.
points for
Let's
your
go.
future husband.
I mean,
is that a real thing? Are you guys engaged? That's great.
No.
Congratulations.
I don't want to be presumptuous, but I love the couple and I love the upside.
If it fits, that's
we're not
great.
engaged. We're pre-engaged.
Wow. Whoa, is that breaking news?
Is that real?
Does she know?
Oh, she said yes.
All right, good. That's good.
What does that mean? It doesn't matter.
It means we've talked about it and we've agreed on it. I just haven't done the whole the part.
Is this during your 5-hour FaceTime chat?
Maybe. It might have come up. I don't know.
That might be something that was set. Mark's in the room and you wanted to get that out there. That's pre-engaged.
That's good.
And look at this.
Kind of takes the drama away from it, though, Just a surprise.
Hey, you know what Michael Scott said? BFD, engaged ain't married. Look at this, 13-10. It's close. It's tight.
That's a big moment.
David
That
Carr.
cut the lead in half. Wow, that was huge.
Mark, how you feeling right now as the mock draft?
Apathy reigns. I'm not concerned at all.
He's got the chain. He's got a cool shirt.
Well, okay,
let's get back to this.
Get little brother out. That's best
that guy
friend.
off.
Best friend's getting yanked out by his
That
dude.
had to have been his brother, right?
Yeah,
he wanted
for sure.
some airtime.
Yeah,
That was sweet, though. They should have left the brother on him.
Yeah.
Dad
wasn't having it, though.
We haven't had any viral moment yet.
No CD Lamb.
Yeah,
wait for those.
Take the phone away from the girlfriend scenario.
Yeah, those are my favorite.
Yeah.
Were you you were in person in 02, right?
I was in person. Yeah. I mean, my suit game was we could probably get you can Google that.
Yeah.
It was bad. It was
we
really
were in
big.
Oakley's, like
was,
remember that?
Yeah,
You didn't have that
It was
NIL
almost like-
money,
Right. Thank
Yep.
you. I had to go like
I'm gonna
I had
look
to
this up.
beg for that suit.
Carr,
Like, don't do it.
2002.
It's really
Yeah,
bad.
well,
But
it's
you
too
knew
late now.
you knew ages ahead of time that you were.
Well, I flew from Houston to the draft.
That's okay.
So, but there was still a time where I'm sitting in the green room and I'm like, wow, I guess they could trade me. That'd be really weird.
You were wearing Oakley's.
Did you just go ahead and Google that at home if you want.
It's the shot famously with Derek as a
that's
young
right.
boy.
I've seen that before.
Right next to him.
Matrix
Well, it
Glass
was a
that
weird
shot.
time for men's fashion
was,
in
yeah.
general.
It's a tough
Everyone
one.
kind of looked like the Talking Heads
Right.
singer.
Yeah.
you
That
know?
wasn't by myself. Like Peppers, all these guys had like huge suits on. So
Wasn't
I
bad.
just
No, it's fine.
okay. It's not. You don't have to make me feel better.
Um,
I feel
interesting.
terrible.
By the way, over on the sandwich props game, it could be coming down to this now. I have Broderick Jones in the first round. The
Okay.
Patriots, they're in the mix for a tackle here.
They could definitely take a tackle, but they have apparently traded out while we weren't paying attention because the Steelers are on the clock.
They're going to take that pick, aren't they?
Oh, I'm glad you guys chose that picture of me because there are other ones that are way worse. So
No, that's
thank
a good
you.
one.
I appreciate that.
Okay, the Steelers trade up. That is not something they normally do. Joey
Got a new GM now?
Joey Porter's son is still on
Joey
the clock.
Porter's son
That
is
would be
still sitting in the green room, I think. Is he not there? He might not be there.
I mean, how different was it, David, like 2002? I know the event's been blown up to a level that's even hard to comprehend, but it was probably back in 2002, it felt small compared to this.
Well, yeah, now that you look at this and what
Yeah.
goes
there
into
was
this.
no like
No.
on red carpet.
We
thing,
literally
was
were
there?
ushered in like through the kitchen. They put us in the green room. There was just like less than what you guys have here. I mean, it was just like folding chairs for the families. Mike Williams didn't even fit. Remember the tackle that got drafted to Buffalo? Great story. Mike, he's sitting there and he's sweating because he doesn't know where he's going to. No one knows where they're going to go
Sure.
except me. And so I'm kind of like just talking to Mike, and he's like, he's from Texas, and he's like, if I go to Buffalo, I'm not playing football.
What?
And where does he get drafted? Buffalo. And I'm like, Mike, it's going to be all right, man. Nope. I think he was 2 years maybe. I don't even. You can
I was
Google
gonna
that
say,
too, but
I'm trying to
Wow.
remember, but I don't think it went
he
that
was
well.
not feeling Buffalo.
Oh,
Yeah, it was
That's
pretty
rough.
bad. So, but I mean, it was not the setup that it is now. No, it's a totally different.
You'd like to think they would have
Environment.
found a way to get that answer out of him early
Like
on
maybe,
in the
hey,
pre-draft
what
process.
if we drafted you,
Yeah.
Mike?
Oh, I'll be there for a year and a half maybe. I can't do the winter in Buffalo.
I'm gonna move back to Austin.
Yeah.
I like it better there, and that's what he did.
Yeah, so the Steelers, we're going to have to get the terms on this.
I mean, it makes too much sense to
yeah,
have
this-
this be Joey Porter.
We
but
talked about, we talked
could
about
be a tackle though.
Joey,
Yeah,
I know
that
Joey.
line helped.
Joey's from Bakersfield. He could have strong-armed that whole front office into, Joey's got he's got a way with words.
And by the way, a little ATN history. David famously, along with our friend Lindsay Rhodes, brokered a peace between our show and Derek Carr, your brother, who
That's
had
right.
blocked us unceremoniously.
Dan and I,
and
not Mark. He
unfairly.
did
not.
Weirdly.
I'd never
Or
had
maybe
any,
you hadn't said anything.
I had no negative
I think I know what happened.
Good vibes
because
between us.
He's such a good teammate. I think I know what happened. He was at home watching the Texans
Okay.
Raiders playoff game, and I was talking trash about Matt McGloin and like this is terrible.
Oh,
and they're
yeah.
joking. And I
He's
think he
gonna come after
blocked me for
McGloin.
that. So it was just
Oh,
it
that's
was even
good.
like he was offended.
That's
how
just
much
a
I was
theory, though.
dragging
We
him.
don't
Yeah,
know
we don't
for
know that.
sure.
I could ask him.
But
It's
you
a
got
good
us
theory.
unblocked, David.
I'm
We'll
sure he
always
remembers
appreciate
it
that.
well.
Here comes Rog.
See this.
When have the Patriots not
Major
traded
sandwich ramifications here. Don't take Broderick Jones.
Oh, it's
Whoa.
Broderick Jones.
I sort of
guys
nailed
are
it. I called the Steelers trading up for Jones, but I had them going to 12, not to 14.
Well, you get points for that.
Yeah, you
get-
How many points
I
for
don't
that?
know. Dan's weird
2?
scoring
Let's see.
system
That
confusing.
could. I
You-
mean,
Was it 2?
You have player and team, so it's 2 points.
That's 2 points.
the trade up doesn't get any points.
This trade up
I
doesn't
mean,
get
that-
any
We
points.
can
In my
we
old
can advance
system,
it.
I think you would. No, I don't know.
I
No.
want
I
to add a point for a trade.
No,
I
I
think we
think I
trade-
needed to
we're
get to the right number.
We're not
So-
altering the
Alright.
scoring system like
Yeah.
mid-contest. That feels
This
a
is
little
tough.
shaky.
That's
This
kind of
is-
something
this
I would
is-
do.
Yeah.
This is tough for the old Sessler. I had the Jets taking Broderick Jones at 15, and they
Right.
traded back 2 picks. And look at this. The Steelers trade up and get Jones. And I love the pick. We just talked about it this week on the podcast, David, that
Yeah.
Pittsburgh's offensive line issues have been documented for a couple of years now.
Yes.
And so they make a big move here and add some stability, hopefully,
Yeah.
at a big spot.
Yeah, I think for a while they were so good in the offensive line, they kind of just ignored it, and then all their guys got older and moved on, and it's like, it will be fine. And not really. You have to keep drafting these guys and developing them. So this is good. It's interesting with these Georgia guys. There's a lot of Georgia guys getting picked. All I heard before the draft was they practice too hard. They have bad knees. That's all I heard about the Georgia guys, and yet they still are going. So
Well, he was a sophomore, right? So that is
Oh, okay.
always impressive to me.
Yeah.
When a guy comes in right away, I think he started as a freshman.
I love that.
I mean, that's just like a freak show if you can come into the SEC and start on Georgia as a freshman,
it-
and then you're getting drafted as a sophomore.
Yeah.
That's next level.
That's like, so obviously Fresno State is very similar to the SEC. So Logan Mankins came in as a true freshman and started there, and ever since he stepped on the field, we
Yeah.
were like, he's a great player. And obviously the same thing with Broderick. So that's good for the Steelers. It's good for Kenny Pickett. It's gonna be good. Help
Slowly
help
turn
run
that
game.
into a strength. I thought their line improved a little bit down the stretch last year. I mean, it was an
Yeah.
overt disaster early on.
Yeah. And I think a lot of that's the quarterback started playing a little bit better, more efficient, so everyone kind of plays better around you.
David, we'd love to have you here for the rest of the show, but we know that you are going to be on our flagship program on NFL Network, Total Access.
That's why I'm overdressed for this event.
In that suit that some would say this one's better than the 2002
I think
suit?
at least it
I
fits.
disagree.
It fits well.
At least it
yeah.
fits.
But
Taylor,
right
start
after
there.
the draft, stay on NFL Network and watch David and company break down everything we saw.
Steve Smith's going to be there. MJ. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Beautiful.
Steve Smith's already fired up, so you guys got to tune into that.
Sure he is.
Yeah.
Send him up here. Just
I
tell
will.
him.
I will
He's
actually.
done.
You guys need to talk to Steve.
Yeah. All right, David, thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thanks,
David.
All right.
David Carr, ladies and gentlemen. That's a good guess. That's a get.
Jessica's
in the
like, give me my
industry.
mic back.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, David.
All right,
David
so,
gives a congratulations on the pre-engagement.
Excellent. All right, so the Jets are on the clock, and I think there's something interesting cooking here. I don't think this fell exactly how maybe that they wanted it to, because I'm trying to think. Is there a tackle prospect out there? I think the Jets keep an eye out on them going after another receiver here.
Wow.
It wouldn't
Interesting.
stun me with Njigba out there, with Flowers out there, if they maybe surprise some people.
And that's telling Aaron Rodgers right away, we're going to do what the Packers did
Well,
not do for you year after year.
It does make some sense because Corey Davis may or may not be on this team. The way that Joe Douglas talked about him at the Aaron Rodgers press conference made me think he might not be on this team.
Right.
And
Either
then,
a big haircut or gone altogether.
And then Smith and Jigba especially is a one-to-one upgrade in replacement for what they thought they were getting with Elijah Moore. You know, they put him in. I think he fits well next to Garrett Wilson, but it could be anything.
And this
Well,
is
they missed
the
out
pick.
on Odell Beckham, which there was some interest
Yes.
in. And so then you have like Mecole Hardman as your third guy right now, and it's like I think you can.
This is the pick they
upgrade there.
got from the Browns for Elijah Moore, I believe. So this is, I think it would not surprise me. I'm trying to think, is there another Gravedigger? Am I missing someone? Is there another tackle prospect that was predicted to go in round one?
There's a couple sleeper guys like Anton Harrison out of Oklahoma. Matthew Bergeron is a guy that some people think could go at the end.
The run happened.
Yeah.
Like DJ had his guys.
Yeah.
15, 16, 17. He had Skoronski a little above that, and
So,
those guys are all gone.
Dan, how do you feel knowing that the Rodgers trade, flipping picks 13 and 15, essentially the Jets couldn't get Broderick Jones because of that?
Well, you're assuming that's who they were going to pick, but yeah. Did you see that press conference yesterday? I'm cool,
Yeah, we
baby.
have
I think
some
the
B-roll
Steelers
at it.
were assuming that's who they were going to pick, if nothing else.
Let's.
I think the Steelers thought we better get the last good
Let's
tackle.
check out Aaron Rodgers quickly from his opening press conference yesterday.
I grew up watching old VHS tapes of the Super Bowls, and so obviously I know about the guarantee and Broadway Joe. Been a while since then. I noticed walking in this morning that Super Bowl III trophy is looking a little lonely.
So there you go. I think they're one piece short on offense. Not that I'm totally writing off Corey Davis as someone that could be contributing. 'Cause now they have a quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, so we'll see. That would not surprise me. One of those tight ends, maybe. Is there someone they struggled turning the ball over? Is there someone on the defense that they have their eye on? This is kind of a wide open pick now to me. After
Wait,
weeks of thinking, it would
did
be
anyone ever
something
take Christian Gonzalez? Am I crazy?
No.
Nope.
So he's still sitting out
Also,
there.
you guys haven't done grades for Skoronski, Gibbs, Lucas Van Ness, or Broderick Jones. We want to get
You
those
know,
in.
when you add a handsome guy like Carr to the mix, it gets very distracting.
Well, I'll give you the Titans. I'm going to give it 9. I like that pick a lot for Tennessee.
Me too.
I'll
I
go
think it's-
8 for that.
Yeah, I'm going to go 8. A little boring.
What else we got?
After all this talk about the Titans, we're going to trade up. We're going to fix our offense. Let's get the, flexible offensive lineman, guard, tackle.
Okay.
Less exciting.
Oh,
Who else?
Lions.
Jahmyr Gibbs for the Lions. 12 overall. Pretty high.
I'm going to give a 7 on that one.
Yeah, because they're the Lions, I'm going to give them an 8. I would have given him a 7 if it was any other team, but they're just fun, and they'll figure out a way to make him fun, so I'll
Here's
give it an 8.
something really weird about the two running backs off the board.
What was your Lions pick?
I'll go 8 because I love the idea that, like, just lean into your offense.
Both
Don't have a fall off.
Both teams that took running backs in the top 12 had pretty good running back rooms and didn't make the playoffs last year. I think that's a huge surprise.
That's a great point. They have put a ton of resources. I got to think DeAndre Swift is no longer on that team. 3 is kind of silly. And I think someone would give up like maybe not, like a 4th for DeAndre Swift. 3rd.
So
I mean, they gave David Montgomery way too much money. It was one of my least favorite.
That's what
free
makes
agent signings.
the draft pick weird, though, that you added Montgomery and then did
right.
this.
So it has to be Montgomery and Gibbs.
Yeah.
And then what's the point of Smith?
Christian Gonzalez and Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed, that is
I mean, they already
spicy.
that
are
would be
deep there.
wild. But they that's not a huge to me area of need
No.
so much as maybe defensive line or safety. But maybe the player's too good for them to pass up if they're stunned that Gonzalez is still there.
So Nolan Smith is still out
Yeah.
there.
Yep,
That's who
Nolan
I was
Smith makes
hoping
some
the
sense.
Patriots would draft at 14. It's who I still hope they draft at 17. I think he'd absolutely fit as sort of the Carl Lawson
Yep.
a year from now replacement. I love me some Nolan Smith.
So this can go in a bunch of different directions.
I'd like to see this
Let's
be
see the score. By the way,
Jackson Smith.
the mock draft is now 13-12.
Whoa.
Whoa, it is wide open, baby.
You want to take this one?
I think we should get ready for Jessica to give some analysis on how this mock draft has gone, if she's proud of Justin. Maybe after the Jets pick, but, I think we need an update because this thing was a one-way traffic. Now it's close.
Yeah, getting Lucas Van Ness and Broderick Jones back-to-back was huge
Wow.
for my score.
That's true. I mean, how many people did that? That's pretty good.
I got waxed on the Will Levis not going to Tennessee. Them going ultra boring.
Now, Nolan Smith still being out there helps you if the Jets pass on him. He's sitting there for New England.
Right.
So keep an eye on that.
Right.
Yep, and that would be
I
a
need
2-point
that.
score for you.
Need that.
You know what? One thing I like is draft Twitter and the common sense of it all in terms of who the quarterbacks were going to go. The NFL was right on board with draft Twitter. It was Will Levis is way below those other three, and that's what happened in the draft. I like it.
What do you have against Will Levis as a man?
Nothing. But why do we get? You don't got to take him in the
Celebrating
in the first round?
that he's having the worst night of his life right now.
I'm not celebrating. I'm saying you don't need to draft he seems like an early 2 pick, which is nice.
Look at this situation.
Wow, got a young Bruce Wayne.
Just
or
an
something.
uppity child here.
Matching green tie with. We don't know his backstory, Mark, so let's just be careful a second here.
That's fair. He's just a child.
He is but a child, Mark. 13-12 in the mock draft. How's draft bingo
Wait, let's
going?
hear what Raj has to say about this young man.
We did get another bingo hit.
Oh, what was it?
What was it? Tremendous upside.
Okay.
All right.
Tremendous upside is off the board.
Best available player.
We had that one, but we got another hit of that one.
So what were you saying, Mark, before about this young man?
I am withholding judgment until I understand more about his.
He is a Make-A-Wish
Jesus.
young man.
Christ.
Here as part of the.
Well, I like his energy.
Can we pull
He's
the
coming out
stream
there
down?
with some Jets attitude.
Remember how we said we're only keeping the
We're
stream
canceled.
up? It's now over. It's now over.
The danger of live streaming. Good job. I love
he's
it.
got
Oh,
great
he's
energy.
bringing some
He's got great
Jets
energy.
confidence. I like it.
Mark backpedaling.
Oh, this kid. You're my boy.
I'm going to pull this for the pod later.
Please. Will
Whoa.
McDonald.
They took old McDonald.
That's fun.
That's early. Cool.
Man, let's see.
He's
Where did
good,
you
though.
have him going, Graver?
He was my guy, Mark. Remember on the Sessler Chaos pod?
You were
we all
right.
picked a guy. This was my
All
guy.
right, why is he your guy? Why do you like him?
I like him because I think he's the best pure pass rusher in the draft. He doesn't have a ton of, he's not super stout in the run game. He may be like a third down rotational rusher coming off, but he is really technically advanced in terms of pass rush arsenal for a guy just entering the league, and he can bend the corner. So,
Well, he's that Carl Lawson replacement. Right pew, wrong church, whatever you want to say. He just, like you said, if you just based on pressure per snap in college, he would have been a top 10 pick. He's just undersized, and so people didn't see him necessarily that way, that he's not going to be like a run stopper. But I'm all about, body diversity here. Let's go, Will McDonald. I like this pick.
Feels like to me like a pivot, and that is.
They wanted someone else.
I think they wanted
Yeah.
a lineman. We don't know that, but that made so much sense. But like I was saying, they do need. Carl Lawson has been in addition to being a very highly paid player, has been, somewhat disappointing. He blew out his Achilles year one with the Jets and then was fine last year, but not a dominant player. This is a team that is still looking for a big-time edge pass rusher.
And that we're continuing to see footage of him jumping, literally leaping over like parked SUVs.
Remember we showed that on the pod that day. We showed him jump in the car.
Right, we did. Right. And the only reason he's not a top 10 pick, and to me, I'd rather have a guy like him than Tyree Wilson or some of the guys who've gone in front of him, is what you saw on the NFL Network crawl, his numbers. I mean, he's shorter. He weighs less than Anthony Richardson. That is a small pass rusher, but
and also it's pretty shocking to see him go ahead of Miles Murphy, Nolan Smith.
That's what I mean, though. I like him. I think I like what I know of him better.
Me too.
Incredibly productive. Like, you don't have to be big. Hassan Reddick's shown
So
that.
7 or 8, Dan.
I'm going to go with 7 just because I don't think this was what they really needed in this spot. It would have been nice for them to give themselves some real insurance with Mekhi Becton and Brown, Dwayne Brown on tackle. So they're going to be playing with fire on that line. And they are, for all the talk about the offensive line being banged up last year, they're basically going to bring back the same line unless they make some picks in this draft now in the second round. It feels like they're now banking on 2 things: that better health on their O-line, and Aaron Rodgers will make the offensive line better, which certainly can happen. But 7, because there are maybe more established, safer players out there at this position. But he's your guy. I'll trust you. You know more about him than me.
I'll go 8. I would have loved to see them maybe even be a little more aggressive when that tackle run was occurring and they needed to get up and get one of those guys. I would have liked, in general, supporting Aaron Rodgers with a wide receiver as a second choice there, maybe Jackson Smith and Jigba. They didn't do that. That said, this defense is ultra nasty, and you've added an edge rusher, which off season from now will be a big need for them.
I like McDonald, but the process, they got banged. I mean,
a little bit.
The Rodgers trade was it. They were at 13. They'd have Broderick Jones. So
but you got Aaron.
Maybe.
Right.
Maybe.
Probably.
We're assuming that, but
yeah,
yes.
that's fair to point out. They probably did, and they couldn't really. Maybe they thought about trading back up, but at this point, you already gave up resources for Rodgers.
Exactly.
They can't be doing that again, and they have one less pick, in this draft coming up that they could have used to take a tackle. But I still like their roster. I like that he fits what they do defensively, and I do like Robert Saleh kind of getting his guys in the building, and they need more of those.
The one thing I want to say about watching that press conference, because we all, as a country, dealt with immense Aaron Rodgers exhaustion, but something about what happened yesterday, and I saw a revived person. I just think that it's one of the better Jets moments.
Where the hell's Gregg's going? Where are you going?
I don't know.
Getting his table back.
Yeah. How is it?
I thought it was great for the Jets, though. I watched the thing and I thought, you know what? A lot of my concerns about how this whole thing could go are alleviated at the moment, because I just think Aaron Rodgers, just the way he spoke, his energy, his enthusiasm for the Jets and the history of the Jets, all came through.
Cannot believe Christian Gonzalez is still on the board.
Pablo Torres of ESPN, to your point, Mark, had a point that's something I've been kind of hitting on with that as well, which he said – the Jets getting Rodgers is a dream for Jets fans, but also people that are expecting the Jets to fail, it's a dream too. There's just this idea that it's either going to really pay off or really blow up, and kind of everyone got what they want with it. Do we want to take a break? Why don't we take a little blow?
If I knew we were taking a break,
I was going to say it, but then no one had been doing that the entire stream so far, and then you just got up.
I think it's fun.
It's fun.
It's really fun. Let's take a break, and we'll be back, and we'll break down the Washington pick and beyond. Stay right there. All right. Oh,
Let's go.
we're back. And since we've been gone, 2 cornerbacks came off the board, including most recently Christian Gonzalez at Oregon, Greg. So with the Patriots now in a division with Josh Allen, with Aaron Rodgers, with the Dolphins, and the way they were flying high when they had Tua on the field, it makes sense to me that you would go get a corner that is highly valued.
Yeah, I don't think there's a player in this draft that more analysts were confident was going high, going in the top 10 potentially, and that it was a big cornerback tier of Witherspoon and Gonzalez, and then everyone else that fell further than Gonzalez. So it's a very rare case of the Patriots taking like the guy that's the highest on the consensus big board for value. It never happens that way. They've been up and down taking cornerbacks. They usually take small cornerbacks. Christian Gonzalez is obviously big dude, extremely smooth. Came from Colorado. Maybe not as productive there, but was insanely productive with interceptions and pick sixes in Oregon.
I mean, he had a really breakout season last year, and I love it for New England because it's a little bit different than the way I feel about the Jets pick, where it's like this guy just fell to New England, and like they develop quarterbacks so well there, and like I never thought Gonzalez would last this far. I mean, they've got to be thrilled.
A little bit of like a Stephon Gilmore mold if it all worked out. I mean, they do. It's not like they only have small cornerbacks. That was the case last year with all the million different Joneses that they have on their team. They've drafted pretty well over the last couple of years. That's why I haven't totally given up on this team being interesting, because their last 2 drafts were pretty good. If they stack one more good draft, it's a good young team.
You were going to mention something about Mac Jones that
we're
not able to track all this stuff as we would normally. But
Tom Curran, our friend, said before the draft, he said Mac Jones is absolutely not getting traded. Mac Jones is going to be on this team, and that they won't be doing anything tonight related to Mac Jones. He said that, an hour before the draft. I trust his reporting.
That was one of my sandwich props, and I would say in general, over the last hour, I'm just taking L's all over the map here.
I give the Patriots an 8 there. I think it's a good, solid pick for where they are, and they traded back to do it. I don't know. What did they get back? What did they get in that trade?
Let's game the system. 10 after that nice trade back. Good process.
All right.
Got a guy that everyone thought the Raiders would take. Similar front office.
I'll go 9, right in between you two.
Cool. Good pick. What was the Washington pick?
Washington took Emmanuel Forbes over Christian Gonzalez.
So that was kind of shocking, but I can't speak out of both sides of my mouth. That was my guy in
Marc,
terms of body diversity, the 165-pound cornerback.
What did you grade Gonzalez, Marc? Sorry, I missed it.
Oh, 9.
Marc graded a 9. Let's go
9.
back. We'll do do Emmanuel Forbes, who was the guy who was the 165-pound cornerback.
Right.
Literally no one in NFL history is his size in terms of height and weight.
I don't like that.
I'll go 7.
He does have the NCAA record for most career pick sixes with 6.
That's who had all the
Okay.
big
College
sixes. It
anymore.
wasn't Gonzalez.
I don't love the Lions draft so far, but that's fine. Who cares?
That was the Commanders. The Commanders.
Oh, that was Commanders.
Commanders with
yeah.
Forbes. Kind of a weird cornerback room. They have Fuller. They have St. Just. He'll probably play on the outside, and then you move Fuller in the slot.
You want to go back and grade Packers drafting Lucas Van Ness?
Sure.
I'll give that a 10. That's my dude, and like I just think I just get a feeling about him that he's going to come in and be like super disruptive right away. And I think Green Bay, after what's happened with Aaron Rodgers and everything, it's like, what direction did they go in? I think this is someone that will produce immediately for them.
I wanted an offensive player here. Van Ness, like, very similar to a Preston Smith type, who probably isn't going to be on the roster after another season, but like maybe more pressures than sacks. Big, strong guy. I do like his shirt, but I'm going to give it a 7.
Yeah, and Marc, like you were talking about with the sandwich prop, like.
That's another L I'm taking.
When are we going to do this?
I've been thinking about Lucas Van Ness for months,
I'm
weeks,
just talking
and months.
about the Packers side of things.
Yeah.
Like, you got the pick of any playmaker on the board, right? Mm-hmm. Outside of the running back room, and we don't want to do it. We don't want to add more wide receivers. By the way, you lost Alan Lazard too. So, and I know they didn't really make an effort to keep Lazard, but I mean he was one of their starters. I know Watson really balled out last year, but I would have taken a wide receiver or a tight end there. So
Shout out to
not a shot against who they pick, but more the process.
Shout out to Betsy Clark, longtime listener, who's asking other people in the chat to like the chat, which I like that. It helps.
I like that.
Get the
Love
likes going. We got to get it over 1,000. We got over 4,400 of you still watching us now, so like it in the chat.
I'm going to type a message to the chat room right now.
I'm going to be watching it. And I also saw the Commanders fan out there, and I want to address this.
Oh,
it's so
we
hot
have this
in
picture
here.
ready.
Somebody get Dan Tito's. I saw that. Let's start the movement.
No, the one you had.
Get Dan Tito's.
We do have the podcast afterwards, too. We do have the podcast.
Well, is it air conditioned in there?
It is, probably.
TBD.
What a mess.
I would assume.
TBD.
It was nice to walk outside where a lot of people work, you know, although no one's there now. It's the NFL draft. It's empty because everyone's in Kansas City or they're down in control rooms, and that there's actually the vacuum is being the carpet's being cleaned.
This is a $14 billion company last time I checked. Where's the air conditioner?
I don't know.
Can I do want to address this Commanders fan who said we went on to break during the Commanders pick because I'm so out on the Commanders. I'm always anti-Commanders. I do want to announce for the live stream people especially, that's over. Dan Snyder's gone.
Dog days are over.
I treating them. I'm going to root for them just to make Dan Snyder look bad. So that's all over. We like Ron Rivera. We're in on the Commanders. It's over. Dan Snyder, bye.
Oh, here's the pick. I wanted to share something, but we have time. We have the gift of time on this live stream. Here comes Rog back to the stage. 18th overall.
Jack Campbell.
A linebacker, first round.
Name.
Whoa.
No one saw that coming. No.
This is such a Dan Campbell pick. Might even be just because it's his last name. So I love that.
Literally the only reason they've taken him.
Is his brother? Who is Jack Campbell? Somebody help me.
Yeah, like an extremely athletic off-ball linebacker. A lot of people's, including I believe DJ's top off-ball linebacker in this draft. The thing was no one thought any off-ball linebackers were going first round, which was a little surprising because this guy was incredibly productive. It's kind of like running backs don't get taken in the first round anymore. Off-ball linebackers get pushed down the draft, and I didn't quite get why he was pushed down so far because he won the award for the best linebacker in the country. He tested off the charts, so he was a combine winner too.
Okay.
PFF, you can see if you're watching the highest linebacker grade. What's not to like in terms of? I don't know. So that's what the Lions thought at least.
You could have gone with one of the tight ends here. Started that off. Joey Porter Jr. still sitting out there. I don't hate it, but I'm not sure this is where I would have gone with the 18th pick in the draft.
Well,
I feel like the Lions did the only thing that could get
7.
All the draft nicks are not going to like this draft. You take a running back and an off-ball linebacker.
It's sort of a strange draft.
They did trade back from the first pick to get that, so at least they picked up some more capital.
We're getting some grief that we're always 7, 8, 9, 10, but I don't care. That's a 7 to me.
That's the lowest graded pick yet, 7 flat.
It's kind of like skating. If you make the Olympics, you're not going to get a 3. These guys aren't bums.
What, they're saying we're not being critical enough. We haven't gone sub 7 in this entire time.
We're not brutalizing them.
The draft is hope season. I hope there's air conditioner in this building.
Right.
That's what's going to end up
There is in this building. There just isn't in this
live stream.
Have we closed the vent? I know we're not sponsored or maybe the top priority, but if we could just get a vent open. So it almost feels like the vent was diverted to one of the other rooms where they're doing something here in the building.
Sure. It doesn't feel like
What's weird is
too big of an ask.
We were setting this up on Tuesday, and they were shooting the thermometer gun around. It was 67 coming out of the vents.
That's confusing. A lot of fist pounds going on.
They're shooting around the thermometer gun. Is that what people do here?
Todd Bowles giving fist bumps.
We should go to
Could
one of
this
those
be Will Levis?
CVS or Rite Aid's fans. The box fans for $14.99.
Hashtag dead.
If anyone's near Inglewood, if you go to CVS or Rite Aid and pick up a $15.99 box fan, I will double you in terms of the payment to you for that. And I'll handle any Uber fees.
Well, the security at the NFL is pretty tight. We need someone to help us with that.
You have to get past security
and an email
at all costs.
Not actually, though. You could pull up to the front of the building.
There's
a circular drive.
That's true.
Give it to
someone else
security.
go out and grab it. Yeah.
Hashtag Get Dan Tito's is really taking off, and I do want to update. Since we asked for more likes,
get Marc
we got
Tito's while you're at it.
400 more likes. We're way over 1,000. Let's keep it going.
Get Marc some Excedrin, please.
Greg, did you want to comment on this picture that we had that we
Oh,
flew
yeah.
it and
I wanted to
nobody
show
talked
this
about it
a
at all?
long time ago.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're still watching, but we got a picture from our good friend Mackie Wesseling watching,
Mackie!
wearing his T. Higgins jersey. Shout out to Phil Wesseling, Mackie's dad. Mackie, a big
Uncle
fantasy
Wes.
football player. He played in a league with my kids. He wiped the floor with my kids in their fantasy football league. Didn't like that, Mackie, but I'm glad he's
I think
watching
he offered
tonight.
some
Shout out,
analysis
Mac.
during the season as well.
Here comes the Bucks. Will they take Will Levis? Nope.
Elijah Cansey.
Ooh.
All right.
They announced him as a defensive end. That's interesting.
That is maybe like a three-man front defensive end.
Yeah.
Like this.
Okay.
Baby Aaron Donald.
They got to get younger. They got to start building a new nucleus on
Well,
the
this is
defensive
why-
side of the ball.
Yeah,
I'm
this
okay
is
with
why
this.
Todd Bowles was freaking out, because this is a Todd Bowlesy pick.
Yeah, people.
The next-gen athleticism score is 98 for Cansey. That'll play.
I'm a little surprised they didn't take Levis, but I guess you got to be in love with him as a player if you're going to take him as a first-round pick. They were the team I was kind of thinking would stop his fall. Cansey, just like a penetrator, Bowles.
He's
Bowles is on. All he wants is defense.
Remember, we
though.
can't use salty language or anything else.
A
that would
one-gap penetrator. That's just one of the terms.
This
they
is a
use.
whole other bingo board.
One of my least favorite.
Oh, we had another one on the bingo board.
Oh, what was it?
Undersized, yeah. When
There you go.
Nice. How
the
many
Jets pick
How many
for Will
slots now?
McDonald? That's 4 now, but is it in a row? That's the question. Let me check the board.
I'm going to check in on the stream myself. Let's see what we got here.
No
Saved
one, people noting Baker Mayfield's happy right now. Kyle Trask is happy right now. The weird thing in this class, too, is Levis is the last quarterback, along with Hooker. I guess actually there's 2 more. And then it falls off a cliff. There's no depth in this class. No one has any intriguing 3rd or 4th round picks. So it's basically Levis or Hooker, or you didn't get a quarterback in this draft.
Let's get the thermo gun in here. See what's going on with it.
Maybe we could just have just people fanning you. How about that?
This does work. This does work pretty well.
This does help?
Yeah.
So you're in trouble, too, now.
I
Yeah.
literally feel like I'm in the middle of a fireplace.
That's very nice of you,
One of
Greg.
the
Thank you.
first things I did when I got to LA, I was an intern at a production company, and we got an invite to a Maxim party.
Well,
And there was
what year was this?
2000 and I think it was 2000.
That's when a Maxim party mattered.
And at the Maxim
2
party,
000s.
there was a large woman.
I'm good, thank you.
And she had other men. The men were scantily clad.
What,
and
like
then
a
there was
Zaptig woman?
A woman on a bed the whole time, and it was these men's job to wave huge fans at her throughout the whole party for 3 hours straight. I was like,
woman?
that's got to be
Was she
hard.
like 10 feet tall or just like a bigger,
plus
heavy-set
size,
woman?
plus-size woman.
And what was she? I'm so tell me more.
It feels like shards of the story are not being told here, but
No.
Because I was a
Did you interact with her?
20-year-old college student in 2000.
Yeah.
That's not typically how Maxim operated. in
Well, there
terms
was
of-
all sorts of
yeah.
Maxim type things you would expect all elsewhere in the party. It was some sort of theme, but this was something where she was like a queen of Sheba or something, and they were fanning her. I was just thinking that's a tough
Fascinating.
job to be fanning this woman for 3 hours.
did you
straight.
attempt to interact with the largesse?
No, they were on a big.
individual?
They were on a big stage. They were like protected by bodyguards. And
Have
stuff
you
like
ever,
that.
entered into a relationship, Greg, with a woman that was significantly bigger than you?
Well, we've talked. One
we
that was
talked about
taller.
this.
She was kind of.
I'm talking about height and just bulk, just like a big girl, like you and you.
I
just
mean,
walking down the street.
almost
with her.
any human is bigger than me. My
Speaking
wife
of, we
Emeka
have
is
we
not,
have a
but-
shot of Greg from his early days when he was very active. By the way, that's one part of the Greg history we hear about how well he did in high school. And,
Romantically.
and here's a shot of Greg that he posted himself on
Yeah.
Instagram, holding a generic cola, and there's that part right down the middle, splitting the uprights like Justin Tucker.
It's funny because I don't think I had this haircut for that long, but I swear I have so many pictures from this 6 to 9 month period. or so.
Bring some real some spicy attitude to your high school hallways.
This was freshman year, I believe.
Can I tell
Freshman
you
in high
something?
school.
Keep the photo up for a second here because this is something I wanted to mention to Marc. We have that theory that Greg was born age 32,
Yes.
standing up.
Yes.
And this is going to seem like a compliment, Greg, because it is. That looks like you, just with like like the longer hair and a generic cola. This does not change anything about our theory that you were born looking
What are you
exactly
talking
the same
about?
as you are now.
Yeah, it does not
That's
alter
me
our
at
theory.
14.
But Greg, I'll give
neck
you.
muscles
No, that's
are
you with
much
a different
better than
haircut.
you.
Yeah, I'll give you a compliment, Greg, from another angle that you haven't. You're in your 40s. You don't appear to have aged that much from that
Well,
photo
he's
right there.
32 in this photo.
Right. That's a compliment.
Well, I was the same height at
Okay.
that point. I was about this height at about 13 years old. I
But
would
get
say.
back to the tall woman that you
Just stuck
dated.
right
How
there.
what were her? How tall was she? What was happening there?
I'm like 5'6" if
Is
you
this,
round up.
wait,
She
is
was
this when
5'8".
Delaware
She
was a
5'8".
thing? Is this Delaware
Yeah,
era,
this is
Rosenthal?
Peak, this is peak Delaware.
And the fact that you posted this on your own social, does that mean that maybe some Delaware?
There was a lot of release the tapes comments responding to this. No, it just I'm as you guys know, I just moved, and so I'm like,
But
photos
remember,
are popping up out of nowhere. That
Your
you had
heart is
never
still in
seen.
Hawaii, remember?
Yeah.
Is the new Gregg kind of like, yeah, of course we'll release the tapes. Why not?
Why not exactly?
Chill, brah. Like that whole thing. Hang loose.
Do you guys want to grade the Cansey pick?
Not particularly.
I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it a 9.
Whoa.
I can't see. Oh, yeah, that was good. Solid area of need.
Could have gone Will Levis there, but they're clearly these teams are.
They don't like him.
They're not in love with Will
Don't
Levis.
force it.
We also never graded Broderick Jones, just to keep everything clean on my sheet here. Same grade, alrighty.
8.
Oh, Broderick.
Now I'm feeling pressure to give a real.
Just because they
score.
boned the Jets, I'll give it a 9. They got an extra 2 points there.
Seahawks
you.
take Hendon Hooker here?
Let's see. What do you have in your mock here?
All
I have
right.
Dalton
If
Kincaid.
the Seahawks take Levis now, that'll annoy me. Again, I want Geno Smith to not have to deal with kind of the distraction of it all. I would have been okay because it was Richardson and he was worth it.
I have them taking Keon White.
Let's see what happens
Wait,
here.
wait. You did say you would renounce your Seahawks fandom if they took Will Levis. Still in play.
Well, yeah, I meant more at the last pick. I don't want to be stuck to that because I'm a little afraid that it's actually going to happen.
Oh,
here.
wait a second.
Just right, don't you think? Now it's like a luxury pick.
I think
It's
it's
their
very
second
it's a possibility.
pick. He's stuck around this long. It's a value.
I think it makes so much sense
I
for
hope
them
not.
to. Not that I think Geno's going to be one hit wonder because it really did seem like the light turned on and he's in a really good spot. But shoot, he's not even that old, Geno.
No.
Like if they really do believe in him, he could be their quarterback for 5 more years.
Sam Young asking, wondering if the NFL Plus live stream digital project has AC. I think
I'm
it's
telling
it's
you,
a fair question.
They said we only have X amount of AC. Close the vents on the show without the sponsors.
If you were a
Shift it
top
over.
3 NFL live production network going on right now, we would give it to you. But no, we've got NFL Plus, we've got NFL Fast, and we've got NFL Network, of course.
But we got a top 10 insider here. Doesn't that help us?
They
at
don't
all?
seem to agree with that analysis.
I think you've raised your
I think they're
number
trying
here,
to
Mark.
smoke us out here.
13-12, by the way. You guys have been stuck on these numbers here for a minute.
It's been nice
hard.
for Jessica. She's had to do very little over the last 45 minutes or so.
He's a top 10 football insider.
I could use a drink, I got to say.
I will have to.
Yeah, forget the fan. Bring us alcohol.
Well, this is very nice, and Jessica, you're a wonderful woman.
We could get some cold
But
water.
I'm looking
or
for something clear, but something that is descended from. What is vodka descended from? Is it rice?
The Germans?
Yeah, well,
Let's look that up.
Potatoes.
potatoes. Yeah,
Potato?
potatoes.
Potatoes.
That's
why
why it's very.
gluten-free people can't drink
Oh, yes.
vodka.
I love,
Yeah.
I love potato.
Yeah. All right, let's get some vodka in here.
The
Just
pick
say
is
what
in.
we feel.
The pick is in for Seattle.
Yeah,
we should
Pick
get some,
20, huh?
We should get some questions ready coming up.
The
Yeah.
individual bringing the fan, you bring the second item too.
You could get that at like a CVS as well.
Sure,
or, you
sure,
know,
no
a
problem. Easy to
drugstore.
find.
Get the handle just to be safe.
Oh, Mackie was watching, or at least Phil was still
Hey,
watching.
Maggie.
Phil Wesseling and all the Wesselings out there.
Love them.
We love you all. Miss Chris. This really wasn't one of Chris's favorite days of the year. He kind of wasn't an NFL draft. I mean, he liked the draft, but it was like he kind of got
You're right.
sick of the whole hubbub around the draft. which
He
is very
he was
understandable.
anti-hype, I think.
It's also
in a-
too much
in a
fun stuff for
refreshing
Chris
way.
to do on a Saturday during the football season.
Absolutely.
Day 3
Wow.
of the draft, it's like throw me off
Kind
the
of where
building,
I
please.
come down on it. This is nice.
I might be going to the LA Kings game Saturday night. How about that?
Little ice hockey.
Little ice hockey.
A little bit of ice hockey. I'm going to New York
It'd be
next
cool
week.
there. It'd be cool there. Although I won't be going if it's an afternoon game. They haven't announced the time.
I'm trying to get to a Knicks game next week, but I heard the secondary market. It's going to cost you $1,000 to get a ticket to get in that building.
It's been 20 years since it's Knicks
They're a
fans
hot
have had
ticket.
this.
Wait, you're going to be in New York next week.
I am. A lot of this was framed around the possibility of the Knicks advancing to the second round and trying to get to
Well, what
a
if
game.
you fork over the dough and
Oh
just
my
deal
gosh,
with it later?
I'm so focused on this. I'm such a professional. I haven't even checked the Celtics score this whole night.
How are the C's doing?
The Celtics, they're down a point with 7 to go.
Oh, Greggy.
Jackson Smith and Jigba to the Seahawks.
Jackson Smith
Okay, I like
and
it.
Jigba. Thank you
That is
for bringing us
fantastic for
back
Whoa.
into focus.
Wait a
Love
second.
It. Love
Let me
it.
take a look at this depth
Love
chart.
it. Instead of messing with Gino, you're helping him out. Let's
Giving
go.
This
I
is
like that.
getting this a hot 10.
Yeah,
I
here we
absolutely
go.
love this.
10. Come
Yeah.
on, let's do it.
Well, because you were the thing you did with the Jets or with the lineman, I'm gonna keep it from being a perfect score.
That's too bad. Have we had any perfect?
No.
Yes, Will Anderson Jr. was
Okay.
a perfect 10
Good.
across the
Move.
board.
Yep.
But the
Although-
Texans don't get a perfect 10 because it averages with the C.J. Stroud 9.33.
I'm gonna bury somebody by the end of this draft.
Why would it be by teams?
I
Plus,
promise
once
you.
I saw how much the Texans gave up, I was like a little less excited.
I
about that.
promise you, I'm burying a team by the end of this draft.
But gonna give someone a 1?
Absolutely.
All right.
I
they
had
go.
Jackson
All right.
Smith and Jigba as the 20th pick, but I had the Bills trading up for him.
Yeah,
Too
that
bad.
doesn't. You don't get
No,
anything. for
I
that.
This is a
agree.
great move. I love it. Greg, just like we were just talking about, it's like you like Gino. You don't think he's a flash of the pen. I think he's 32 or 33. So just stand pat then. If you didn't get Anthony Richardson or didn't go all the way in at the top of the draft, why not just build out the offense? And they have DK Metcalf. They got now Smith and Jigba.
Tyler Lockett.
They have Tyler Lockett.
And
Can they pay all these guys? I mean, how long can you keep this group together? But for 1 year at least, probably.
Well,
Look at that.
DK Metcalf, I think, is going to get paid. He hasn't gotten paid yet.
Could
has
Baldwin
he?
be on the move potentially?
Tyler Lockett's on a nice little contract. DK Metcalf did get paid. That's right. So that has almost nothing to do with it. Jackson Smith and Jigba is nice cost control. Lockett's probably not going to be there forever because he gets hurt a lot and he's getting up there in years. Smaller guy. But if you think of for right now, they complement each other
great.
so well. Lockett and Metcalf on the outside. Lockett as that deep threat. Smith and Jigba over the middle. He gets open, man. And it's not good for his fantasy stock if you were into that because I just think they're still going to run the ball a lot and a lot of mouths to feed. Some teams could have given him the ball 100
all
times.
right.
There it is.
Yeah, this gets a 10.
Dude.
Because I can't justify a reason other than smiting Greg. Why?
Remember, everyone gets 111, and Greg already
Integral.
used his.
I won't do that. I don't believe in that.
A lot of integrity.
I don't believe in that. I have respect for the numbers.
Wow.
Great route runner.
All right, I'm officially picking the Seahawks to win the NFC West. I don't need to mess around. Right now, it's time. It's like, why change your takes? Down with the Niners.
Sure. They got to beat the Niners.
I'm going to pick what I want to root for, and that's
Yeah.
what I want to root for.
They got the Niners have some uncertainty. There's no doubt about it. At the game's most important position.
I do
Mark.
wonder if they would have taken Anthony Richardson, but you have to say that, like, there's something very genuine about their faith in Geno Smith. I mean, they're building around him. They paid him, and they bypassed anything else at quarterback.
Let's see. Let me see this draft here.
Smith and Jigba just has like a skill set in terms of how he gets open that just seems like it's so obviously going to translate. It was kind of like watching Olave's tape last year when you watched them do those like 11-yard stop routes. You're like, that's going to work. Smith and Jigba gets so open with the way he runs his routes. Like, woo!
And
maybe the best top 3 receiver core in the league now.
It should be noted that Smith and Jigba is seen by many people as the best wide receiver in this class. This was not seen as an especially great wide receiver group, so he might not hit the ground running in a profound way. But also, I don't know, who did we have on the show where we talked about that very thing? And the idea was he could, though. If he's in the right setup, he's a guy that could be an immediate difference maker, and he's in a great setup. As long as Geno stays healthy and continues to be the guy he was, this team's going to score a lot of points.
I'm with Greg. I think you'd have to look at this as the best wide receiver trio out there if he clicks. And, I mean, they talk about his route running is simply uncoachable. And it's just like that's the kind of stuff
Right.
that he's going to produce right away.
He was someone like he's not going to break big plays, but you have Metcalf and Lockett to do that in terms of like long speed. But his vision, he's such a good runner with the ball that to me, like he can see how he's going to make people miss to get to the second level. A lot of 20-yard type of games. Oh my, Geno's.
I wonder if there is an alternate reality where Richardson lasted one more pick and they went Richardson, Smith and Jigba, 1-2.
Maybe.
But
I think it's
we
possible.
don't know. They ended up going, as we know now, with a cornerback, Devin Witherspoon. So balance. They had a big-time potential playmaker on each side of the ball. You got to be happy if you're a Seattle fan.
We've got to think the Chargers are going wide receiver here, right?
We've got some. Yes.
In your
Some
mock.
people
In my
saying in
mock?
your mock, Graver, and right now we're getting a nut cutting time here, 13 to 12. Some people are saying in the chat you should get some sort of credit for having Smith and Jigba at the right spot, but I disagree.
I think the whole point is
You can't
team
make
player
up rules
match.
as you go.
Yeah.
And I didn't get the team player match.
I
so
don't know.
won't
I
even
don't know
fight
why
for
we
that.
keep suggesting that we alter the rules now mid-contest. Let's just
David
because
Carr,
stay the course
David
here.
Carr was into changing the rules. He said
It's
that's
not so
something he
much
would do.
altering the rules as it was. There was a bit of a disconnect early on before between Gregg having some rules that didn't seem to get through to the producer.
That's
He got them, but then he got yours and just assumed, okay.
well.
I'm gonna go
Also,
with those.
but Dan's came through on the chat client, and I think I backed it up and said these look really good. They make a lot of sense, and it
well,
wasn't.
mine did too because Dan texted me and said send Justin some
It's
rules.
not a,
so
it's
that's
not a
what I did.
negative towards you, Greg, but you were just lost in the tide here.
When I sent that to you, said, hey, let's send
Justin
some rules.
So I did.
Yeah.
I didn't-
Spice things up, and
Yeah.
then I sent to the chat group so you could see mine.
Well, I
and
wasn't
then you
paying
could,
attention to the chat
if
group. Yeah.
that was supposed to be us working together,
Yeah.
I just assumed you didn't send it.
Yeah, but you work through that before the draft starts. If we're not now suddenly midstream going to a different set of rules. I'd leave the room. I'll just leave.
Okay.
Oh, the pick.
Quentin Johnston to the Chargers.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Okay.
I didn't even have him in the first round, baby.
Okay.
Big freak. The Sidney Rice
That's not
comparison.
nice,
Haven't heard that comparison or that name for a while.
Sidney Rice.
Had a moment for the Vikings. Didn't last too long. But like a long, rangy receiver who's really good after the catch. Like if you can get the ball in Quentin Johnston's hands, it's gonna be nice. Not good hands, and a little thin. but
Wide
nice.
receiver with bad hands. That's good.
I mean, sometimes you overcome it. T.O. is one of the, he's a Hall of Famer. He never had good hands, but there's only one T.O.
I'll give it an 8. It's definitely a position of need. I mean, you're right about what you're saying about his reliability, but he was the draft's big-bodied receiver, and I kind of think they absolutely need this.
Well, it's kind of putting a clock
Don't
on.
they need speed?
on
They needed-
Mike Williams.
I thought they were
he's
gonna
got
go.
that. He's got speed. He's got the measurables. Like if he could catch, he would be a top 5 pick.
He doesn't run the full route. He didn't run the full route tree at TCU. I kind of compared him to Cordero Patterson like a couple weeks ago, which I think maybe it's the hair, but in terms of his ability to make people miss with the ball in his hands, but not the best at like the receiver
Right.
aspects of being a receiver.
Well, they want more out of him than that.
Oh,
than
yeah.
what Patterson gave as a receiver,
Oh, yeah.
at least. It kind of puts a ticking clock on Mike Williams because he's a similar type of player. Williams in the last year of a 2-year deal. He's played. I mean, Mike Williams to me is. He's not going to displace Mike Williams. There's almost no chance he'll be better than Mike Williams this year. Anything that helps Justin Herbert, though, is a good thing.
Agreed.
They're going to get that deal done with Herbert? I don't know. I don't trust the Chargers. I don't know what's going on with
I
them.
think they will.
Let's see. What's going on in Kansas City? It looks like they got some type of fireball atop a structure there.
Are you
saw
happy
that
to
shot?
be here, or would you rather be in Kansas City?
Who are you asking?
I want to be anywhere where you guys are.
Aw.
That's my answer.
On this day 1 year ago was our great friend Ricky Hollywood's last first round with us. I guess we did do the wrap-up draft with her from home, but that was kind of the last hurrah.
The
down
last
in Las
hurrah
Vegas.
with Ricky Hollywood, who has gone on to success with the Los Angeles Rams football club, and
Oh yeah, she had a little bird dropping here. I think we could pass it along. Just that she was like,
bird
okay,
dropping.
a little whisper that she was like, keep an eye on the Rams getting into this first round potential.
But isn't bird dropping like bird poop?
Yeah, it's just
Yeah, I don't think that's.
it's just move
Like a little
past
tweet,
that.
like a little
Yeah.
toot, 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 like a
a
chirp,
little,
a chirp.
little whisper,
They can't whisper.
little bird
They got
dropping.
beaks. A little cuckoo, chicka. One of those. Little cheep.
I wonder where she heard that from. She was at a Rams draft party, so there could be
what did
all
she
sorts
say
of
exactly?
little birdies
She
talking.
just hinted. She was like, that they could be trading back into the back end. We're not quite there yet. She said more like around this portion of the draft and on that there's a chance they would trade back in and actually give Rams fans something to pay attention to in the first round for the first time in a long time.
All right, Gravedigger, this is where I had Joey Porter going to the Ravens as a big FU to the Steelers.
Yeah, let's check
see.
in
We
now
need a little bit
on
of
the mock draft
mock draft's gone to sleep. Both sides.
because it would be a shame if it ends 13-12. I'd
It
like
wouldn't
to see
be the worst.
something here.
Yeah.
Why do I feel like the room is sort of
No, I don't
slowly
need you to
rooting
lose.
for Gravedigger all of a
Well,
sudden?
we wanted a competition, so that the comeback I
Well,
was
you got
all
it,
for. Now I just want to see somebody score one more time.
So picks 16 through 20 were all misses for Mark. They were all misses for me, but if the Chiefs somehow end up with Zay Flowers, I'll still grab a couple points.
No, what do you mean a couple?
Well, we both have the Chiefs taking Zay Flowers.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you could pick up 1 point, right?
If 2 points for team player, wrong spot.
Oh, where are the Chiefs picking right now?
They're at 31.
Now you nailed how many
right.
picks overall? 10 last year.
Got it.
Yeah.
So right now you're not going to get the 10.
No,
most
I'm not.
likely.
So
You're
Mark
gonna get
has you
5.
blocked. Mark has you blocked on Zay.
He
right?
does.
On Zay.
Okay.
Um,
Where else?
if
Do you have a path to victory?
Oh,
Justin?
sure. This
Oh,
pick right
sure.
here. A lot of picks.
I mean,
but
any of
Addison
the
versus
20s,
Porter.
really.
Yeah.
Either of us could run away with this still if we get lucky into the 20s here.
Addison v. Porter in Baltimore is a huge storyline here.
Now, Dan,
Yeah.
how happy are you right now with the Dolphins? Not only that they hemorrhaged their first-round pick
For the stupidest reason
for
possible.
going after Tom Brady, but now we have one less pick to cover tonight. We can get
Oh.
into the air conditioning.
God bless them. God bless the Miami Dolphins.
Great job, Stephen Ross.
God bless them. I think the Dolphins are, they'll be back in the first round next year.
Yes, unless they continue to tamper away
Right,
and
they
do
do
things that are
another-
naughty.
Wolf of Wall Street, yacht adventure.
I feel like they've gotten remarkably little grief for completely blowing their first-round pick for trying to match up Sean Payton and Tom Brady. Like that couldn't. I guess because they got McDaniel.
Did you guys
and
happen
it
to
all
see
worked out.
Yeah.
a certain Sean Payton video out
Yes,
there?
I did.
Yes, I was gonna mention that when David
When he-
Carr was talking
yeah,
about
when
Sean
Carr
Payton, but
mentioned
I
a
didn't want to
recent
put I
video?
didn't want to put him in a tough spot.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What was on in the background of the TV? That will tell you if there's maybe a sporting event.
I mean, he is in
sure the
Colorado.
internet sleuths have
Everything
already
that he was
figured it
doing
out.
was fully acceptable, legal, and you know.
I'm sure like at Walmart or whatever, like they're totally cool with that
Well,
scenario.
What, the Walmart family?
Oh yeah.
Who owns Denver
I
now?
mean, if he was in Colorado, it was
another
perfectly-
showy draft board in Baltimore.
Ooh, let's take a picture.
No, I think
let's
that's
go
a
straight up the
picture.
wall.
Oh my God.
Oh,
that's
we
all the
can't reach
rounds.
it, but we're
you can't do
cool.
that.
Look at this.
I
look at
mean,
this.
someone could take a picture of this and blow it up. There, am I crazy?
No, you think that's what I was thinking with the
Dang
the
it.
other draft room. But also look
They've
at this
been dinged 1
terrible,
point, at
terrible
least.
boom mic scenario here, right in the camera.
We've kind of not addressed the whole Lamar Jackson of it all. But my God, if they can add the top, let's say. I would love Jordan Addison. Whose pick was that?
That's
That
who
was
I
yours,
have.
Graver. I'm rooting for Mark though, so I'd have mixed feelings. But that's who I said earlier. He was my favorite receiver in this draft, and I think would be a nice compliment. And suddenly, if you add Jordan Addison right here, that's a fun offense. It's a new offensive coach in Todd Monken. That'd be good.
I have some updates, Greg.
Yeah.
Good news. The Yankees won 4-2 today.
Okay.
Good news for you, Mark, in your
Yes.
sports locks. The Dodgers lose a series in Pittsburgh.
I
earlier
mean, I
today.
feel very confident that they're not postseason material.
And the Celtics look like they're about to close out the Hawks. Up
I have
8
been
with a minute and a
tracking it.
half
I
to
didn't
go.
want to be obnoxious about it. We're doing the draft here.
I would do the same thing.
But I spaced until just now. If they can close it out, I don't count on anything. They were up 12 with 2.5 minutes to go and somehow got to a game 6.
That boom mic operator in Baltimore is hammered. Have you been watching this?
No.
It's all I don't know what. It's not a heavy boom mic necessarily,
Boom
nor is
operator.
it being stretched across the
Buried
entire
in
room.
a big spot.
So you're saying, Justin, they have a thermometer that they check what's coming out, and they came in here and they said, it's A-okay.
Yes. In fact, they were concerned that it was too cold.
Too
Today?
Oh,
Not today. This
people
was
are
Tuesday.
mentioning the draft board is scrambled with some like strange filter.
okay, I was
or
gonna
whatever.
see
This could be it right here.
Yep.
This could be the competition
Lot
to
of-
mock.
Here we go. Raj,
They could use a cornerback.
Raven select. Zay Flowers.
We both miss it.
All right, right church,
Ouch.
wrong pew. I gotta stop saying that sentence.
Yeah, nice day for the Ravens.
I love this for them.
Nice day for the Ravens to get the guy that everyone thought the Chiefs were going after on the same day that they end the Lamar Jackson madness, and then they say, not only did we get you Odell Beckham, and we'll see how that works out, you now have another young playmaker here in Zay Flowers. Yes, very good pick. I like it. I almost love it.
Yep, I'm giving this a 10. They call him the best separator in the class. I really thought that the Chiefs were going to come after him. The Chiefs are the team that had him work out with Patrick Mahomes days before the draft and seemed like there was a real target. And Baltimore, who's been one of the worst wide receiver drafting teams of our lifetime, suddenly has a really
unless
intriguing...
they just made another bad pick at wide receiver.
All right, if this works out. But, I mean, they've really flopped on that front, and they haven't done a lot to support like Lamar Jackson
All right,
that way.
that's what I'm going to do.
Going 10.
I'm going to ding them for being too braggy with their wall writing, and I'm also going to ding them for past
but they
performance.
fussed it out.
Performance on their wide receiver drafting. So 7.
That's rude. Zay Flowers strikes
you're lucky
me
I
as
didn't go
B.
lower.
John Robinson. Just the way he looked into that camera there. I'm just like, okay, I maybe ranked this
You're
guy
wish-casting,
too
bro.
low. Look, they've done. I know it's different coaches. None of this really matters, but I think of Anquan Bolden there. I think of Steve Smith Sr. there. Steve Smith said how much he loves Zay Flowers. Guy who's going to make plays after the catch, make people miss.
We tried to book Steve on the show today.
Well, he's busy.
You have to imagine he was approached, right?
I believe he was, but
We do have
he's doing other stuff.
Another guest ready if we wanted to.
Yeah, let's.
Jessica?
Well, first,
You wanna take a break and then.
no. If you have him, bring him on.
We have him. Let's bring him on.
Whoa, we have a surprise
We
guest.
have
I
a
don't
guest.
even know who this is going to be.
There he is, the man,
What?
the myth, the legend. I had a surprise
Well,
up
well,
my
well.
sleeve, and it is none other. Speaking of men that are aging wonderfully, Dave Damashek joins us.
I don't need that.
What?
I don't
Aging
show
wonderfully.
up for that kind of slight. I don't passive
He said
aggressive.
aging wonderfully.
Listen,
Dave, you
I
look
want to
great.
say something to you. Thank you. Listen, I'm listening to you guys for the last 20 minutes.
Ooh, I'm sorry.
Grand stuff. No. Listen, there's a lot to get
That
to.
are 20
but first
best
and
minutes.
foremost, you guys have a camera pointed at you, and I love that Dan Hanzus says, am I going to sit with a wide stance? Yeah, and I don't care who's watching. Look at that. Look at how he's sitting. That's how a man handles himself. Is this inappropriate? Wait, before you answer, I don't care.
That's it. When men were men.
Look at that. Look at that spot he's in.
Whatever happened to Gary Cooper? One of those things.
Yeah, exactly.
We had on your
Congressman when he took a wide berth. Either way.
we had on your friend David Carr here earlier, and we brought up how uncomfortable you would try to make him with his handsomeness.
Well, listen, what is. I'm not going to deny it. I heard it too many times that from coworkers, like, I can't look him straight in the eye. I lose my train of thought. All right.
I always get stuck sitting next to the 6'4" super handsome quarterbacks on this show.
Not this time. Got great news for you, Sessler. Look to your immediate right.
It's fair.
That guy, the guy to your immediate right makes Zay Flowers look big.
Shaq, before we get into, we want to talk a little Pittsburgh. We'll talk a little AFC North. But first, I want to reach out to you, and you're kind enough to join us because it was 9 years ago that one of the most famous, I think the most famous moment in the history of around the NFL and the NFL draft occurred at Radio City Music Hall in New York. Let's play a little of that right now.
1 second. We're pulling it up. Here we go, and here we go.
With the 22nd pick in the 2014 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Johnny Manziel, quarterback, Texas A&M. How does it feel? Will you be sad if Ryan Shazier kills him in week 1? No. No, it was worth it anyway?
It's a boy on Christmas. Father Christmas.
Has easily, I mean, beyond debate, exceeded the professional deeds of Johnny Manziel times 1,000 over the last 9 years. How often do you get to see that? You know,
that was those are great times at Radio City Music Hall.
A tear in his eye, a little bit. A little emotional.
Our great friend now back in the UK dominating there, Henry Hotch and Handsome Hank sitting next to Marc. Sheck talking it up, me celebrating on the camera there. That was, Marc, it didn't work out. But I'll never forget walking back from Radio City that night after that draft and us talking about how the Browns just got so exciting and fun. And at least for one night, again, hope season, it did feel that way.
It was literally one night because if you remember what happened within 24 hours before round 2 started, Josh Gordon had one of his 18 or 19 suspensions dropped on him, and it was like, wait a minute, this thing's already gone slightly sideways. And but that I think was the height of my Browns fandom here at NFL, because there was just this magical feeling that Johnny Manziel could come in and be the most exciting thing on the planet. And I always wondered if Sheck was maybe I don't know, but I thought you were maybe trolling me a little bit because there was such a potential for this to go so sideways. And as a Steelers fan, it's like the Browns might have stepped in it all over again. And within you know,
I picked up on that from Sheck
within
in
3
real
or 4
time.
calendar. Well, I mean, because if anyone is a true Steelers fan I've ever met in my life, it's Dave. And I think that the Browns were ripe territory. And ripe fodder for ridicule back then. It went so terribly south. That's really the only night that I felt any enjoyment over that entire situation.
Oh.
No, you can't rewrite history, because I do think that Hanzus just touched on it. For real. I mean, it is, of course, running through my head in the moment was like, it's the Cleveland Browns. What are the chances that this works out to great success? The last 40 years argue against its chances of working out. But it is fascinating, isn't it, as part of the human condition, especially in the 21st century, with all the vapid cynicism that exists. Everybody has to announce something pessimistic about their team, about a player, but not when it comes to the draft. Isn't it funny? Mm-hmm. I'm listening to you guys. You guys are all snarky fellas in a good way, in a funny way. But, you know, you guys are all struggling to find something negative. Wow, that's a great pick by Zay Flowers. I mean, he's 5'9" and 160 pounds. Like, well, I don't know if he's gonna. John Ross didn't work out. Taven Austin didn't work out. I guess Hollywood Brown kind of, sorta did a little bit until he forced his way out.
How dare you, Dave? How dare you?
I'm just saying that. I'm saying it's funny that
just keeping it real.
That it's positioned like that you're in the sweet spot for the next 5 months, 6 months, where you're allowed and encouraged to have nothing but pie-eyed optimism, and all 32 fan bases are going to have that now because there's no evidence to contradict it now.
Right, like your Steelers, we were giving Dan some grief because they traded up, they take Broderick Jones, and we're like, oh, they stuck it to him, they got this, and we're just assuming, of course, Broderick Jones is going to be the next Joe Thomas. Like, it might be a terrible move that they traded up in front of him. Do you like sticking it to the Jets a little more,
I mean, I assumed when they jumped directly ahead of the Jets that was going to be the pick. Up until till that moment, though, listen, I love the day they hired Andy Weidel away from Philly to bring him back to his roots on the banks of the Three Rivers. I announced and have repeatedly said that if you are getting sideways about what the intent of bringing him there is, that clearly, the Eagles for a decade, if you've paid any attention at all and were reminded this past season, they remain playoff relevant perennially because they load up at the line of scrimmage, both sides. And so you knew that was the intent there, that the Steelers had kind of lost their spiritual way. in that they were drafting fancy, shiny new keys to run on the outside. And it really wasn't, I'm not an old
Who's
Yinzer.
Andy Weidel? He's in the front office? He's
came out. Yeah, he's their personnel guy, and
he's not their GM though. Gotcha.
No,
check. Pause
Omar
right there.
Khan,
We got the Vikings pick coming in right now.
Ooh, is this Hendon
23
Hooker?
overall.
Is this Will Levis?
Poor Will Levis.
Jordan Addison.
Wow.
Ooh, another wide receiver comes off.
Wow.
That's fun.
And of course, they move on from Adam Thielen after a great run. He leaves. They have a void there across from Justin Jefferson, and here comes Jordan Addison.
Look at this guy's suit. Hello.
I like that. I'm going to give it a 10 just to prove Dave's point. It's hope season. He was my top receiver in the draft. I think when you just look at the way he moves on the field, he's much smaller than Stephon Diggs, but he moves like a Stephon Diggs. You see someone move like that, you're like, that's going to work.
I don't understand Gregg's logic that just Dave reminding us that it's hope season gives him a 10, so I'm going to balance it out with a 5.
I just said he's my top receiver in the draft. And
I
he was
know,
like the
but
fourth one
I
taken.
thought you built this on soggy foundation. Your logic here.
That's rude.
So
I'll go
gotta
8.
bang.
I mean, if this works, their wide receiver group is insane. I had to ask Dave a question, though. Was there a part of you that's concerned about the Steelers passing on Joey Porter? It reminds me of when the Browns didn't take the son of Clay Matthews, which just made way too much sense, and he goes somewhere else and destroys for half a decade. I just thought Joey Porter to Pittsburgh would have made an absolutely poetic, perfect move for them.
Well, I agree with that, and but glass half full for you and Cleveland Browns fans. You did hold on to local kid Charlie Fry. So
well, that's true.
Kind of worked.
Charlie Fry will go down in NFL history. This will never happen again. A Week 1 starter at quarterback. Week 1 starter, first snap.
Right.
Traded before Week 2.
Oof.
That'll never happen again.
You had Pro Bowler Derek Anderson sitting behind him, so you couldn't hold
Right,
him
and
back.
it was a great move, but
Yeah.
that is
So-
unprecedented.
We have a trade.
Cycling back to Minnesota. Before this,
Yeah, we have a trade.
we kind of should have seen this coming if
Giants
we
just
didn't
swapped.
pick Minnesota as a wide receiver. They had Justin Jefferson, Jalen Naylor, KJ Osborne, Jalen Rager. They had a massive need, I think, at wide receiver. And, it's very much Shaq with Kirk Cousins there, and they made the decision not to rework his contract, and it left some opening that they might be aggressive today and go get a quarterback. And yet some of these quarterbacks that we heard about for weeks and weeks, Hooker, of course, Levis still out there, and they instead go and get a wide receiver.
2022 is the anomaly when it comes to quarterbacks in this century, which is to say that the Kenny Pickett, Malik Willis, and Des Ridder draft was the one that wasn't rich with QBs. Every other draft is going to have QBs. You don't have to fall all over yourself to draft the replacement for your current guy if you consider your team ripe and ready to go deep into the playoffs. I agree what the boss said about specifically Seattle. Why would they – the notion that they were going to entertain Anthony Richardson or otherwise, why? Isn't the NFC in play for them right now?
Ooh.
Of course they shouldn't be.
I like
they shouldn't
that.
be backing up Geno Smith. They should be going for right now. So I like Jordan. The thing that's surprising me so far, and I'll defer to the boss, of course. See, with the preponderance though of 2 tight end formations, are you surprised that not a tight end has come up?
I thought one would have gone by now.
Michael Myers, who I won. Let's get that guy. Put him on
People
the other
don't
side.
take
Fryer
Dan's been on this corner that people are just afraid of taking tight ends. They got to show us something after all the tight end. And I think the fact that it's so deep that DJ keeps saying it's 7, 8, 9 players deep that people are just thinking, all right, we'll get our guy in round 2.
I would guess maybe we'll get one
Daniel
here.
Jeremiah, who, by the way, had Addison as his number one wide receiver. Do you think the NFL is sticking their nose in DJ's rankings that, did he go 4th or 5th at receiver now? That's a shot at DJ.
He was looking
That's
pretty
one way to
good
look at it. I
there.
like it.
When that Houston Texans trade at 3 happened, he was looking pretty smooth, eh?
Oh,
was
true.
our
He did
pal
call
DJ.
that was pretty good.
Yeah,
Are you happy, though, the boss, with Christian Gonzalez? Because were I in the Steelers' war room, to me, I think they really did a good job of being in a position to take best player available. I just thought that I was hoping the best player available would happen to be a cornerback.
Ooh, so you're saying you wanted Christian Gonzalez.
Were getting.
What did the Patriots get? What did the Patriots get? I never even found
fourth.
out.
A
To
fourth
move down.
round pick in return.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not too exciting.
No, Bill Belichick's excited by it. He loves that stuff.
Well, what's he going to take? Like
I'm
another.
not as excited as I am about Hanzus' wide berth. Look at that.
Listen, I got
he actually,
the corner.
I think, has covered it up with his suit jacket since then, just to.
I got
his
the
table
I got
lodged
the
between
corner here.
between the legs.
I got the table here,
Okay.
and you know what? I make no apologies, Dave. I'm comfortable.
I don't want you to apologize.
Check.
I
can't even begin to tell you, Dave. $14 billion company, how hot it is in here right now. I don't understand how this happened.
It's quite warm. You know what? As the problem with you guys missing all your mock draft picks is we haven't had Jessica on the show in a while. Have you ever met Jessica, Justin's paramour?
I don't think Dave even knows who Justin is.
That'd be slightly suspicious if they
the
had met.
Gravedigger is our producer. We've got her right here, Jessica. What? It's just been too long since you've been on the show. Let's bring her out.
This is really set up.
I'm
for
with it.
Gold.
She's
Let's
been
see.
sitting there in a
All right.
corner for
Hey,
so
just
long.
a wave
here's
high.
Dave.
Just a wave
Let me
high.
set you up on this. It was announced today in the live stream, and it was a surprise that the wonderful Jessica, who's been a real asset and is a great person, they announced that they're pre-engaged today.
On the show.
And
what is that?
What is your
Pre-engaged.
theory on pre-engaged? Do you think this is something to celebrate or actually something to scoff at?
I don't want to get up on Mount Pius. It might be a little bit weird to turn your nuptials into a podcast bit, but that's me. But you know me and the sanctity of marriage. I fear though that for Gravedigger's sake, as I just touched on, like I don't want Jessica to meet Dave Damashek. Not now. This isn't the right time for that poor kid. Gravedigger's got a bright future, it would appear, and everything, and it could all come undone with one
Jessica.
delay. What
Jessica,
I say,
Dave,
right?
Dave, Jessica.
Hi, Jessica. How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
Well, I'm doing all right. Medusa. What happens when men make eye contact with her? They turn into stone. You know what happens when women make eye contact with Damashek, right? They turn into mush.
What are your initial vibes on Damashek?
Not looking
Jess?
at you.
Shaq, is there anything else you want to share with the audience? It was very kind of you to come on with us, and the platform is yours.
I just think it's great. I think the young men that have been drafted, it's across the board. They can all be as great as they want to be. Better not be afraid to come in and work though, because that's what that staff's going to do. But I think they're going to, if they're willing to come in and get better each and every day and grind, then the sky's
All right, we've got a pick here.
But great culture fit where I'm really happy with.
Hit the
where
bingo
Raj
board.
is up.
This
Raj
is for the
is
bingo
up.
board.
Well, let's see.
The Giants select Deonte Banks, cornerback.
I don't like that. That's who I was kind of holding out for.
Was there anyone?
Any mock
fellas.
draft implications on that?
Someone had
No,
Banks going.
I had him going to the Vikings one pick
Ooh,
before.
yeah.
Ooh, it's getting late, Gravedigger.
We've hit the skids here.
Hey, Dave.
There are a bunch of tight end picks up
Dave,
coming up.
we'll let you go, Dave. Thank you for jumping on.
Somebody get Hanzus a fan, would you please?
That's what I said,
I've
a
been
Bucs
trying
fan.
to. I've been trying to.
It's a tough
Get him a big
situation.
palm leaf to do
Or
like this,
a Tito's with plenty of ice.
One or the other. Well, we do have someone apparently bringing a fan to us from an Inglewood citizen, in theory.
Tough situation,
Hey,
Shaq.
you know what, though? I hope I pulled off some decent football talk. I don't know if you heard, since my Pittsburgh Penguins didn't even make the playoffs, I converted into being a baseball guy, and I
The
couldn't
Buccos.
be happier about it now. Yeah, let's go Buccos.
Just took
First
2 or
place
3 from the
Pirates.
Dodgers. Congratulations.
Here's what I
Dave.
will say to you, and
Yes.
I'm serious as a heart attack, and then I go. And
Yes.
that's the last thing I say. I'm pretty accurate with where the Steelers finish perennially.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of win-loss record.
Is that still a thing,
No
though?
fewer. I haven't been off by more than a game.
Okay.
I
thought there was a
think
miss
11 years.
recently, but go on.
No, well, when they start getting into ties and all that jive,
Yeah.
I check out. I don't acknowledge ties, but nevertheless, I've been pretty close. Hear me now. Believe me, in late December, early January, the Pittsburgh Steelers will win no fewer than 11 games. 11.
Whoa,
games.
11, no
All right.
fewer.
In
All
a
right.
loaded AFC.
Loaded AFC.
With
Don't
Lamar
forget
Jackson
the
back in
conference is
Baltimore.
large.
You believe in Kenny Pickett.
That's right. I mean, what a nasty division that's going to be if you assume that Deshaun Watson is even a tick better than he was last year. I mean,
we've got
Lamar
a trade.
Jackson's going to be enthused. What do we got?
We got the Bills.
All right, I'll let
moving
you
up to
guys go.
25.
You guys do
First
your
the
numbers.
Jags-
And
One second. Everybody calm down. Check. Just want to say thank you for coming on. Everybody, we have so many long-time listeners on the stream. Can you hit them with a thin slice before we say goodbye? Can you give them the sign off?
You know what? Times 3, it's a thin slice of heaven stacked up 3 times. It's a regular slice of heaven to be with you 3 gentlemen.
Thank you,
and
Dave.
to meet
We love you, Dave.
Jessica,
Love you,
Muzzle
Shaq.
Dove, Gravedigger. All the best.
Shaq. There he goes. The legend Dave Damashek himself. Nice enough to stop by on the stream. He's still on the stream. Once we do the goodbye, it gets awkward when he's still there.
What do you mean? Oh, he's going to watch it?
Oh, he's off the stream. We're good. All right.
Gone.
I have to take a bad beat there. I looked down.
Yeah.
And he was on my screen.
There's a delay here.
There's a delay.
Yeah, there's a heavy delay.
And can I just say, now that I've made an ass of myself there, thank you to everyone behind, in front of us, the whole crew, for what's been an incredible showing of technical might. I just want to say that.
Yeah, they've done a great job. I'm not surprised at all. But
we're coming in for a landing here, We're getting close, and it's been very cool. I'm very happy we did that. I'm not happy about the air conditioning, but everything else has been great.
I'd even say the temperature has lowered a little bit in the last half an hour or so. It's gotten a little bit more temperate. Dan, maybe you're not feeling that.
Plus, we know that you guys, we're not given all the resources of the NFL's number 1, 2, or 3 live streaming things that are on, and yet look what's happening. We got all these people. We got the likes over 1.4K. Let's get it higher, people. If you're still in here sticking with us and you're waiting for that Deonte Banks analysis, I don't know if it's going to come.
All right.
What about a grade?
They needed a cornerback. I think they got banged by all the wide receivers. I think they were set to take a wide. There was such a wide receiver run. Was that four straight picks? 4 out of 5 picks? Four straight. That is wild.
I had them taking Quentin Johnson. That was a non-entity ages ago.
I like Deonte Banks, but just because there hasn't been much diversity, and Dan likes to say I'm a hater, let's just give him a 4.
Going 7.
That's for fun.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
You're right, Giants fans.
We have a new lowest graded player pick.
Wait, did you just give the Giants a 4?
It was a bit.
I'm going to help out the Giants. I'll jump it up to 9.
That was a bit.
Just to balance it out.
All right.
Still the lowest graded pick.
All right.
As far as the mock draft update goes.
Yeah, where are we here?
So, Mark, if the Cowboys select Darnell Washington and or the Jaguars select Brian Branch, those are Mark's last 2 opportunities for points.
That's it? What about the Bills?
Bills, he had Jordan Addison off the board.
What do you have?
What are your
chances? Had Jackson Smith and Jigba to the Bills off the board.
Okay.
Wait, so what are your opportunities?
So my opportunities are Cowboys could take – I have 4. Actually, wait. No, I have 3. Cowboys could take Osiris Torrance, Bengals, Brian Branch, Jaguars, Miles Murphy. Those are my only hope.
I'm not going to be able to remember all
Can
that.
it-
The
is there
4
any
was
way-
a joke, by the way. Deonte Banks will be great. It'll be fine.
I wish I could see that. Is there some way I could get a look at so I can get really hyped up for these final picks?
Yeah, just
for
show
the
us.
mock?
Let's go
show us
pick by
their
pick
picks.
here.
Yeah,
Just,
you
you
can
know.
show the picks
Yes.
that you guys
All right, the
made.
Bills are shaking hands. They're very under control.
Now, what do we think the Bills are doing to trade up? Like, what are they desperate for?
I think they're wide receiver.
Dalton Kincaid or Michael Meyer.
I think that might. And maybe
They
Nolan.
jumped the Cowboys.
If I had to guess, actually, it'd be a pass rusher, and if I had to guess, it'd be either Miles Murphy or Nolan Smith.
I think you're onto something. I think this is the first tight end coming off the board right
So
now.
the Jags were up, and then the Giants and the Jags flipped. And then the Jags slid back and flipped with Buffalo, who jumped the Cowboys.
Okay. So the Cowboys, people think we're going to take a tight end, so if you wanted a tight end, you'd have to move in front of him. But I don't know if – do they see that as some screaming need?
They also were connected to trading up for offensive linemen, and the Cowboys could take a lineman too, so maybe they're jumping him for that.
The chat is begging Mark to drink some water. I don't know why, but they just keep bringing it up that you refuse to drink any water, apparently.
No,
there.
go the whole – oh,
Make
you were
the
so
sound
close.
effects.
What?
Can we get Mark a big glass of milk? How about that?
Mark loves milk.
I know what I want a glass of, and it's coming in about
Brandon Wilson
2
asked,
hours
what's
from now.
the score, Mark versus Graver? We haven't actually shown the score in a little while, so let's
show that.
Maybe do a little update there.
Here's the Bills pick. I think they're taking a tight end. And then go get DeAndre Hopkins, and away we go.
Dalton
There it
is. Oh, is that a Graver pick?
No.
No, he's just cheering.
There it is. I love it.
Good job.
All right.
Nice leather couch.
So that makes a lot of sense. We've talked about it. The Bills need to kind of take that next step. They were a little stagnant, I thought, on offense last year. They needed to do something. Now they've added a very high-level, high-octane tight end prospect. We know there hasn't been a lot of tight end success in the first round, but with Josh Allen, with Stephon Diggs, yes. And like I said, go get DeAndre Hopkins next, and all of a sudden, all that talk about it's time to give Josh Allen more weapons. Woo. You've done it.
Well, I mean, because I think wide receiver, had things happen differently, would have been a big target for them. They can still trade for DeAndre. I like that a lot. And this is not a guy you get necessarily for his blocking ability, but just for watching NFL Network. I mean, he is a route runner. You can center an offense around him, and it makes too much sense just to lean into this offense and everything around Josh Allen. I'm going to give it a 9.
I'm giving this a perfect 10. I mean, he was the most exciting pass catcher in this draft. I totally like DJ, our lead analyst, had him in his top 10 overall players.
Actually, Eric Edholm is the lead draft analyst.
That's right. On
So
NFL.
it's actually
He's the lead draft writer.
I totally got it. Kincaid is an insane receiving talent, insane hands, insane plays down the field, great on the move. I think it's just the whole catch-only tight end thing. People don't get drafted that high, but to me, he's like a way better prospect than T.J. Hawkinson ever was coming out. And he goes this deep, and they're making Josh Allen happy. I love it. By the way, a lot of pop of you drinking the water, Mark.
Okay, if that's all I need to do.
But conspiracy theories was did you fake it? And I'm looking, and there's not a lot of water, not much difference.
Did I fake drinking the water?
Yeah.
No, I literally took an actual sip of the water.
Okay.
That's what happens
It's
on the
out
internet.
there.
That's a conspiracy theory. That's an
It's
odd
out
one.
there.
It's an odd one.
I think we might be able to get a replay of that, maybe a tight shot to see if the water level did dissipate.
We do not have that capability. But anyone
Right.
back on YouTube, just rewind 30 seconds and check it out.
You can do that. You guys, again, are doing a lot with a little. I feel bad for all of you.
There's some weird stuff happening in this chat room. I can confirm that.
Right. They were like, we wanted to be on the NFL's third most important stream, or second even, but we got on this
Internally, that's how they viewed it. We are the most important amongst the people. We're the people's champion stream. That's the way I look at it.
I need this to
Plus,
be Darnell
we got the people
Washington
watching.
here.
We've had a great group. You guys have smashed that like. We've had a lot of people watching. A few have ducked out, but not that many. We still got a lot of people watching.
That's how I know you have young children and they watch YouTube sometimes, because you just said smash the like button.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, Cowboys are on the clock.
All right, we
What
need
are
this
the
to be Darnell Washington,
All right,
tight end.
give me a little mock stuff here. What's
Darnell
going on?
Washington for Mark.
That would clinch it. It's over
You've lost
if you
Dalton
hit it.
Schultz. You need a tight end. Darnell Washington's been one of my favorite guys through this whole process. 6'7", 270 pounds. Feels like it could be a spicy Dallas Cowboy.
And what do you, are you in play
So
for
it
the
won't happen.
Cowboys?
I have the Cowboys taking Osiris Torrance,
This
guard
could be
out
it,
of
guys.
Florida.
Hey, everybody on the stream, this could be it. This could be the moment that decides the mock draft showdown.
I think it's going to be Michael Meyer.
The Rebel
It
Alliance.
totally will
I don't
be
like
Michael
that he's
Meyer.
sitting
Michael
here
Mayer.
still.
He, who's his comp? And it's like the obvious one, but it was the right one. It was Jason Witten. Like that, he's just a carbon copy of Jason Witten at the catch point. Eventually, maybe he'll be a decent blocker. That's not necessarily his thing, but
No, he's a two-way player.
that's what everyone said. And then I watched a little of him. He's like 255. I mean, he's not making a difference as a blocker, but more than Kincaid.
Yo, Will Levis, man, still sitting in that room.
Anyone trading up to these last few picks to snag that fifth-year option?
That's
a good point. That's
Yeah.
what they did for Lamar.
do
Remember,
that.
as much credit as the Ravens got for Lamar, they also took Hayden Hurst 23rd before
Right.
trading back up. But they did trade back up, and they said it was because of the fifth-year option. And now you look at it all these years later, it actually did save them.
Teddy
Michael
Bridgewater
Meyer.
was the last pick in the first round.
Who
Once
do you
upon a
think? Who
time.
would actually be a candidate to go do that? Let's see.
This is going to be
Tampa if they liked him,
Tampa,
but
the
wouldn't they have taken him at
Vikings.
19?
Right.
I guess, but Baltimore did that like 5
Nolan
years ago.
Smith is still there. That's interesting.
People thought the Patriots liked Will Levis. I never bought it, and like we said, Tom Curran was thinking it's Mac or die. But
Right.
I think this is Meyer.
I think it's
Meyer. I think it's got Cowboys written all over it.
Yeah. You can just see him. He was on Notre Dame.
Wholesome Notre Dame kid. Jera loves that. You know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but maybe they'll go guard, you know?
Who do you got again? Osiris?
Osiris Torrance.
Osiris Torrance definitely sounds like the most like
Made
a
up.
Wu-Tang Clan member.
Sounds
of
like
any
that old
player.
Key and Peele sketch where
That'd
they
be a
just had the
wild way
made-up
for you to
names.
win this mock, by the way.
All right, here we
Wait,
go.
Osiris really was one of their
The
nicknames.
pick is in.
Who was
They
Osiris?
seem, as always, the Dallas Cowboys are extremely pleased with themselves in their draft room. Mark, you have the Giant tight end. His name again?
Darnell Washington.
Yep.
Darnell Washington. All
I'm
right.
not feeling good about that. In my mock, I had 3 other tight ends like off the board at this point.
All right, let's see if it's going to be back-to-back tight ends. Would be saucy.
For the 17th straight year, Jerry Jones has received a vigorous handshake right as he made this pick.
Boss, you've done it again. Unbelievable. 35 straight years of greatness.
Yeah, they have drafted pretty well. He moved up on the old GM rankings this year. I had to give them some credit.
I think it's because he's got help around him.
Yeah.
And I like Jera's the quote this past week where he he said, "Listen, drafting's never the problem here. It's the coaching."
Yeah, with Mike McCarthy sitting right next to him.
Just cucked. Just sitting there taking it.
By the way, old
Don't do that to Zaddy.
Old Mackie Wesleyan was staying up late watching this draft.
I love
he
it.
did
Good
see
for
him, and
him.
he's gonna
How
tell
old's
all his
Mackie?
friends at school tomorrow. I think he's. If I had to guess, he's probably 11 or 12.
That is the sweet spot when you really fall in love with sports, and an event like this it's great. So thanks for
Give me a
watching
Jet.
along,
Do
Mackie.
you have like a Jets or Browns draft memory as a kid that was memorable? You were excited about?
I'll never forget when they drafted Eric Metcalf. And, back then it was a lot harder to couldn't find clips of players ahead of time as readily. And when they started showing what he did in college and the fact that his father had been a pro, it just I fell in love with him right away. And you could tell 2 weeks into the NFL season that he was completely different.
Yeah, I would say the memory that stands out for me is when the Jets took tight ends 2 years in a row, Johnny Mitchell and Kyle Brady in the mid-'90s. And that kind of really did in earnest kickstart the famous ESPN cut to the mezzanine level of Radio City to show Jets fans absolutely furious.
Losing
with
their
life.
minds. Yeah.
I don't have a lot of happy draft memories.
Parcells went on a run when he joined the Patriots. The Bledsoe,
All right,
McGinnis,
Cowboys are up.
Ty Law. Here goes Cowboys.
This could decide it.
Mozzie Smith.
Wow.
The old shortstop? Mozzie Smith. I was going to say that was a bad value. Defensive tackle, Mozzie.
I mean, he's a large man.
All right.
323, and by all accounts could be bigger. His combine numbers were just stupid for like a 330-pound guy, but kind of like a, run stopper. A little surprising, but a huge, huge, huge area of need, even bigger than tight end for them. They have absolutely no one at defensive tackle, so it's a need.
Meyer's still out there.
The fact that I had a tape ready to play about Mozzie Smith,
that is surprising.
That's very impressive.
He did a good job.
If only you would have taken it.
He was not expected to go in the first round necessarily.
I had tapes for about 60 players ready to
Wow.
go.
Again,
Nice
what
job.
an unbelievable Justin leading the way with Eric and Josh and Albert behind the scenes.
Kendall, too.
And, Kendall,
Kendall's
obscured
hiding.
Kendall, but shout out to Kendall, of course, as well.
Sorry for all this. And Jessica, too, who...
Did you say sorry for all this?
Well, just it's hot in here.
Yeah.
That's all. Just for listening to us for so long.
Oh, yeah. Apologies for that.
I have some draft trivia questions if you guys wanted to get into that.
Sure. Let's do one right now.
Why not?
Draft trivia.
All right. Jessica's up first. No, go ahead.
Jessica, I just feel like she thought and she was promised more. We haven't been using her enough. That's all.
A lot of work out of the gate, and then it's been very quiet.
Seems bored.
And let's get some
It's not
people
her
on
fault.
the stream to send your answers in via chat. See if you can get it right, and also like the more chat,
No
the
looking,
better
Greg.
algorithm. All right, before
Well,
this
we're ahead of
year,
them.
in the ATN era, the last 10 years, how many number 1 overall picks has Alabama produced?
How many number 1 overall?
Number 1 overall.
Zero.
Not first rounders.
0,
No.
I would
Overall.
say. Well, 1 now if Bryce Young comes.
Not
counts.
before
Slow
this
down,
year.
Greg.
0, I'm going to say.
Before this year.
Yes.
I'll say 1.
Well, I guess I'll say 2.
0 is correct.
All right.
Yeah.
But Greg also said 1.
No, I didn't.
You're just,
I
like,
said
throwing
Bryce
out all
Young.
these numbers,
no,
yelling.
I said Bryce Young. There's no Alabama. That was it. I'm trying to think who was even close. Darius, Marcel Darius was close.
You want another one?
Where'd Trent
Maybe.
Richardson go down?
Trent Richardson was 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jim Brown was like, no.
That was the
No,
Brandon
bro.
Weeden and
All
Trent
right, let's get
Richardson.
another
Yeah.
trivia question.
All right. In that 2014 infamous draft with Johnny Manziel, how many total quarterbacks were picked in the first round?
5.
Wow.
I don't know.
I don't think so. 3?
I'm going to go 4.
It's 3.
Good job. there, Mark. Okay,
Nice.
who were they?
They were Blake.
Wait.
Manziel went
Blake
22nd.
Bortles.
All right.
John, 14, Manziel, Bortles, and
When did Teddy Bridgewater go? It's Teddy Bridgewater.
Bridgewater.
Yeah.
I think he went 32, right?
Yeah, they came up to get him, I think,
It
right?
was the best of the bunch. Although, you
He's
know,
still unemployed,
30,
isn't he?
32.
Did he get a job?
Teddy Bridgewater does not have a job right now. Little surprise.
But clearly the best of the bunch.
Right. He's
I'd-
had a
I'd
good.
say
He's
for
had
sure.
a good career. You know, you guys always try to dog him. I try to. You know, when I.
running back.
Well, I
No,
think we
you
I think we
bumped
try
him up a
support
little
him.
too much.
Greg, I think we try to like kind of simmer you down a little on
Right.
him because he's
And
strictly
when you
an
say I
average
support
quarterback.
him, it's like you're not actually supporting. It's like he doesn't know who you are.
Well, that's true of literally every.
I'm just saying we don't hate Teddy Bridgewater,
Right, but
you,
the Jets don't know who you are. Who you support them.
I'm just saying for years, like you were saying, he was kind of an above average type guy, and
Yeah.
we were always kind of like, well, let's tap the brakes a little bit.
Well, just compare him to Bortles and
Oh,
Manziel. That's
people
the other
mentioned that
routes you could go
Derek
down.
Carr was in that draft too, but in the
Second
round,
round.
yeah.
Oh.
But I'd say I'd take Derek
Ah.
Carr over Teddy
Well, and
Bridgewater.
so was Kaepernick, and so was Andy Dalton. So that was
Yeah.
they were much better in the second round. I don't know if that was all the same draft, but it feels like it was.
Blake Bortles, man.
All right, here's a tough one. How many running backs have been drafted in the first round in the ATN era? So including that 2014 draft,
that's
not
really
counting
hard.
this
I mean,
one.
that's a pointless question.
Oh, come on.
Ouch.
I'll say
You're right though.
14.
That's
First
really close.
round. First round in the. Oh, you said pretty close, but not right. So I will say 12.
16.
12 is correct.
Bang! Give me the points,
I mean,
baby.
that's just a sheer guessing game. That's absurd.
Don't
Todd
take it
Gurley,
away. Don't take it
Melvin
away.
Gordon, Ezekiel Elliott, Leonard
Melvin
Fournette,
Gordon.
Christian McCaffrey,
Maroon.
Saquon Barkley, Rashad Penny, Sony Michel, Josh Jacobs, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Najee
Clyde
Harris,
Edwards-Helaire.
Travis Etienne.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire will go down for me and many others as an all-time bad fantasy pick. Those of us that took him, I took him on the swing at the top of the second round of my draft when he was a rookie.
He was so overhyped
Oh
as
my
a fantasy guy.
I
But
remember-
most of those picks worked out.
I
The vast
remember
majority
one-
of those became
At least
players.
initially.
Big-time guys, yeah.
One very like serious, takes himself serious. You know, ESPN analyst like went to their camp and was like, a lot of people aren't going to say this, but
I know
I would
exactly
take
who
him
you're
number
talking
one
about.
overall in my fantasy.
exactly
draft.
who
you're
People
talking
were
about.
like,
This-
"Oh, you're a genius, bro!" And it was
Wait,
That
can we
caught fire.
before we do another one? Or
Yeah, no, this pick has major mock draft
Let's
implications.
hear it. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
I need Miles Murphy. Mark needs Brian Branch.
okay.
Or Mark just needs not Miles Murphy, actually, because if I don't get another one right,
How many
He
do you have
wins.
left, though?
2, this and the Bengals.
Okay, so Mark has his magic number is 2. I actually kind of think it's going to be Brian Branch. I think he's the best player left. He fits totally what
That's
they
who I
need.
picked.
I know.
Yeah.
I think Mark's going to put him away and dig Justin's grave right here. Let's
We'll
go.
see.
The grave digger's grave. Doug.
Come on, Miles Murphy.
I don't know why, but,
But-
I saw him branch to the Jags in some other mock, and it really makes sense.
Help Jessica get her steps in here. She's had no human movement in the last
Now, let's
45
say-
minutes or so.
Let's just say it is Miles Murphy. You would get 3 points there, right?
Yep.
I'd be largely
Oh, no, not 3 points. I'd get 2 points because they moved
But
around.
that gives you the lead.
It
Yeah.
would give me
All right,
it
here
would
it
be
is.
enough for the lead.
Look at Justin.
Say Branch. Oh.
Oh.
Ouch. Nobody wants your random
Boring.
tackle. Ouch.
Oh, do we have to grade this?
Inconsistent pad level is one of
Oh,
his
that's
3
good. That's
bullet
what you
points.
wanted your first round pick. It's time, baby. I promised it. Bang! Take you 2 and take a walk. Take a walk over to Rite Aid and
I
get me a
love it.
box fan and some Tito's.
Well,
I
was
don't
gonna-
mean- I
I'll
don't
help
mean
Dan
this.
out there with I'm going to go 1. 1, because I'm annoyed.
At this point, I feel bad.
That was my
Give him a
chance.
10. Oh,
Doesn't even
I
add
mean,
up
there's
to 10.
nothing
Hey,
personal.
hey, Jaguars
I'm annoyed
fans.
now.
It's been a long day.
It's just because we wanted something fun for our game, and you know.
And I know your tackle just is getting
Wait,
suspended.
what did you give him?
I gave him a 6.
6.
Did
Gotta
you guys
record
grade
it.
Mozzie Smith?
The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, I can give that a 7, I think, for the
I
Cowboys.
think,
I don't mind that.
Oh
too
yeah,
much.
didn't whatever. No, I don't like it. I wanted Meyer. Let's go 5. 5 for.
Yeah.
We're just
6.
we're getting
We're
ornery
holding
here
them
at
up,
the end.
even though.
That's an upside down 9. but
It's
that
fine.
works.
Well, you can't use those numbers.
Don't need
again.
it. Don't need it because I could just use the other one. I got the 9. I got versatility, baby.
What
That's
the
what you
hell?
look for in a number.
What the hell's
And a
going on
draft
out
pick.
there? So Cam Robinson,
Ugh.
their left tackle, got suspended. Whoopsie! Shouldn't have taken those PEDs. Bad job.
Wow.
Bad job.
Wow.
Is that a panic
Innocent
pick then?
until proven guilty? I guess not with
Well,
Gregg
he was
Rosenthal.
suspended. He was suspended.
Yeah, we don't. Has he appealed?
I mean, PED suspension. I think that was it, right?
I think
Yes,
Cincinnati
yes.
goes tight end here.
That was Mark's last chance for a pick. My last chance is right now, and I have Brian Branch.
So it's over.
Oh.
If
Well,
Roger
no,
Goodell does not say Brian Branch, Mark is the winner.
Correct.
If he says Brian Branch, Graver is
In
the
like
winner.
in what
Correct.
feels like a 1998 NBA playoffs game where the final score was like 68 to 64.
Right.
That's how this feels right now.
Well, how many
I
total
don't
picks
love
have you
this.
gotten right? 6 to 7 or 5
I
to
got.
6?
I have 5 so far.
And Mark is 6. Right.
So the scoring
I mean,
system is spot on, Greggy. Got to give it pop.
It's gone
there's-
well.
and no chance for a tie here
competitive.
either.
It would have been
which
the
is
same,
beautiful.
just slightly
It's
different.
been competitive. All right, go get your
Celtics got that W, though.
They got the. I was
Get your
almost
tight
going to
end
be.
here.
I was going to try to pull a little fast one on you, Greggy, and say
No, I
they
was
blew it.
watching it.
But
I
I
was
knew you
watching
were
it.
all locked in on it.
I was, yeah, only the last 5 minutes. That's good. We could have a little Knicks Celtics.
Oh, is there a?
ECF.
Here's the other thing. At the old NFL Network studios,
Yeah.
tremendous nightlife options all around the facility.
Right.
I have not. How about the crew on the table? Is there a good place to go?
Afterwards. But we do have a
for a
podcast
drink?
first.
What's that? We're not going to do the podcast. We're just going to use this.
Yeah, we're just using this.
What is it? Cork and batter on Century.
Okay.
Oh, it's good information.
I mean, you live very close by, relatively.
Not close enough.
Okay.
All right, what's the pick here?
All right, so it all comes down to what again now?
Brian Branch or bust.
What is that? The stupid movie, the draft day movie? It's Brian Branch or
No matter what.
no matter what. Here we
Brian
go.
Branch.
It has
All
to
right.
be the
Let's see
Bengals
this.
pick.
Yes.
This is it.
Mark is on the edge of his seat.
He is.
Miles
Oh!
Mark gets it done! Mark gets it done! They said he couldn't do it, but he did it.
The edge, Miles Murphy.
Love it.
He's a top 10 football insider.
That's right.
Good win, Mark.
What a battle, though, Justin.
That
Was there
fun.
any points
is
in the
that-
last hour? 90 minutes?
We haven't had a
The last correct pick was Broderick Jones to the Steelers.
Wait, what about that
14.
website that tracks things? Who's doing the best nationally?
I don't know. I don't know. If,
I don't think they
I know
live.
Norris
I don't think
does.
they live
Oh, they don't
update
do it?
I don't
Yeah.
think they live.
They do
update.
everything.
Oh, what are
now,
they
like-
doing? They're taking
Exactly.
the night off.
If you have
huh?
if you have a website that tracks stuff like that, how are you not doing it in real time? Clean it up.
Slackers. But they're
Maybe-
probably in a nice air-conditioned room with beverages of plenty.
I know,
Mark,
I-
we're
I
gonna
could
turn
use
it
a
over to
snack.
you.
I would drink a little more, but
After a
got to use the
what
bathroom
was
here.
obviously a frustrating 2022 in Vegas.
Yeah.
You bounced back and taken back the mock strap. How does it feel?
So I thought last year Justin came in with you kind of caught me off guard. I wasn't even aware we were really in a competition, and I kind of skated through my process. So I had to do a lot of reorganizing and rethinking on how I want to approach this. I think this set the tone for what would be a huge essentially third game in the series next year.
Right. It's like people that know the Rocky film franchise, when the beginning of that film where Rocky is in with Thunder Lips, the Hulk Hogan character.
Yeah.
And he thinks it's just a fun thing, and all of a sudden Thunder Lips is throwing him into the crowd and slamming him. And then once he got his bearings, Balboa, he took care of business, and that's kind of what happened here.
Absolutely. That's an excellent parallel. Sort of a pre-announced Hulk Hogan-esque figure last year was what I dealt with. Come back around, though. I feel extremely confident about the process going forward, and I needed this win.
And Jessica, your feelings on how things have played out now with Justin going home empty-handed.
Get her on that fourth mic here. It is quite disappointing. Miles Murphy is a very Bengals pick, by the way, straight out of Trey Hendrickson and
There
Sam
were some
Hubbard school.
issues with this headset, but we can explore where we are now.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Sounds like it works. How you doing?
Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
your thoughts
that
on what's obviously a dark moment for your pre-fiance, I guess it would be.
Have you guys told anyone else, or are we the first people to know that?
This is the first time it's been labeled anything.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about that?
I mean, we talked about it,
Okay.
so yeah.
Okay.
Who broached it?
Right, but there's like thousands of people in the chat, knowing that. Betsy
Who
Clark
broached the
knows
pre-engagement?
Well, I'd like to think he did, but
It was just sort of a I mean, do you want to? You're there. You want to?
Well, you can talk too.
It was just sort of a conversation, like one day we're gonna get married, right? Yeah.
that.
well, that's
It's nice
That's
to know.
Well,
How about the
let me-
fact that Marc just took him down?
Yeah, let me ask
he
the
spent
question.
so
Yeah.
much time on his mock draft, hours and hours. Yeah. Marc just did it in an hour. Beat him.
No, Mark did it in 32 minutes. How long was it?
An
no, it
hour
was 60.
10.
Okay.
60
Took him down.
Does this change anything about the pre-engagement?
It does not.
Okay, good.
Well, that says a lot. Happy for you.
And that's a test. That's a test of Tanaga right there. Unbelievable. All right, where are we at?
Where's Justin at? How are you? Like,
Saints
where?
are on the
I'm just
clock.
wondering, are you doing okay? You took this very seriously.
Wait, the Saints are on the clock.
Saints moved in.
Justin not answering that question.
I'm doing absolutely grand. I'm excited that there's only 3 picks of this left, and then we can leave this.
Well, he literally just found
extremely
out
hot
he's
room.
still getting married eventually, so he wins.
That's a big
ultimately.
boon to the
Yeah.
senses.
It could have really went off the rails. All right.
Of course, this was the trade chip they picked up. That I'm a space kid.
Yeah, the Niners.
The Niners.
Yeah. Nolan Smith still on the board.
Yeah, who are the guys out there that people were not expecting to still be out there? Let's take.
I
a
mean,
look
Will
at
Levis to start.
that. Levis, of course.
So as of, I think it was about 5 or 6 Eastern time, Will Levis was minus 400, which means it was 4 times as likely than not that he was going to be specifically the number 4 pick in the draft. Not just like in the top 4 or whatever. It was minus 400 that he was the 4th pick in the draft, which just goes to show these numbers don't necessarily mean something. It just means all the bettors got one thing in their mind and started putting all the money on him, and it went crazy. And they were wrong. It was Richardson, and now he's still on
It is
the board.
ponderous because there were voices out there saying that those things are very predictive of what's going to happen. Like how or why?
Michael Mayer's still not been
I don't know
picked?
why I'd lean on Vegas's take on anything.
I mean, the Stroud thing, people who put their money on that, it worked out. That thing moved so fast, and it was like an avalanche. I don't know where that came from exactly either. That ended up being right, and then the opposite happened.
But the
with
Levis thing came from zero credible
Yes.
information.
Yep.
So we have 3 picks left in this round. Does someone come up and draft a quarterback like we were talking about to get that 5th-year option? Would it be Levis? Would it be Hooker? Those are 2 big storylines as we get into the final picks in this draft. And then tight end Michael Mayer, who's I think seen as maybe the number 1 tight end prospect.
Consensus board, he was number 1 by the end.
So he's
this
still
is the
out
Sean
there.
Payton
That's
pick,
an upset.
right?
And the Saints could use a tight end, too. That could be Meyer. It could be Keon White, who's in the green room. I think he's the last guy that was invited to the draft, unless Meyer was invited, too.
So this pick was the one. It moved all around, but it was the Bradley Chubb trade from Miami to Denver. Denver had gotten it from the 49ers. My brain is hurting. Why? And then now it's in the Saints because of Sean Payton. They traded it for Sean
Joey
Payton.
Porter Jr. is also still on the board.
Ooh, I'd love to see him go
And
to New
so
Orleans.
is Brian Branch, for that matter.
It's funny because I would have guessed the Saints would have taken Miles Murphy. They like big, physical defensive ends that annoy their fans. So who else could that be?
Felix Inu,
No.
don't even get me started on his name.
All right, here comes Roger.
Keon White's a big guy.
That's interesting, being at this event for the whole time. People standing there. It's pretty wild. I mean, think
It's
about it.
cooler there. Oh, Brian Brzee. For like a second, I thought it was Brian Branch.
I know.
Like, that was a great pick.
Do you find this television program compelling, Jessica?
Yeah, it's pretty. What is going on here or going
No,
on
I mean
there?
this. What we're watching. I
Both.
know that you
Let's
find
hear-
them-
let's
this
hear your
room.
thoughts.
Yeah, what do you
Ball.
think about what's going on in this room? Do you think this is entertaining?
It's really hot. I'll have to agree with.
And you're not in a jacket, so
No, it's like really, really hot.
Has there ever been a-
Especially in that corner over there was pretty.
Has there ever been a production at this with this many people done in here? So we're
Maybe that's
this-
part of it.
Some learning lessons here.
Brian, this is such a Saints pick. Brian Brzee was like the #1 overall recruit in his high school class and was supposed to be this like all-world player because he looks like he should be an all-world player and just was like never productive at Clemson. There's sort of a Clemson curse of guys who look like they're going to be great, don't have very good careers. I'm not
Why is
excited.
it? Why is
Saints
well,
like the traits guys. I'm going to give him a 5.
Okay, I got a 7 on this one. I don't want to be mean.
Going 1.
Oof.
Oh, jeez.
What? Mark's done with this.
No, I'm not done with it. I just like it's. I was thinking
Whoa, that
Brian
girl
Branch
just-
and it's Brian
The
Brzee.
blonde next to Brzee here just yelled at somebody from the living room. Somebody got in trouble. I love when people get in
That was
trouble.
strong.
It seems like a mom figure, maybe.
Did we grade the?
He's gonna be there with Derek
Bengals
Carr,
pick?
David Carr, Derek Carr. all the
Definitely a
Carrs.
potential mom figure. You're right.
I believe that was a mother of someone.
Didn't
You guys
play.
want to grade Bengals Miles Murphy?
Yeah, I'll
happen?
give that a 7.
I'm running out of numbers because I've thrown several.
Yeah, that feels like a 6 to me.
I'll give an 8.
I think the key is like if you draft higher, you get higher scores. At the end, the players aren't as good, you get a lower score.
We're getting yeah. The cracks are showing.
Now, who else is available for the Eagles from Georgia? They just take someone
Nolan
from Georgia.
Smith,
Ooh.
who they
Oh, are you
loved at
kidding me?
10.
Ooh. Or they could take Brian Branch from Alabama, who would fill a major need. To me, both of their safety spots are a little wacky. I know they have Avonte Maddox as their slot corner. Some people think Branch will be kind of a slot guy, but
He would
Man,
be a good
either-
Chauncey Gardner-Johnson replacement.
either way, I feel like that is a nice pick.
Are
Oh,
we-
we're on the little scroll on NFL Network right now, around
Saw
the
that.
NFL, live on YouTube.
It's very nice. Are we
What took
certain
you
there-
so long?
there's no other
Yeah, I mean,
path?
they're letting people know with a roughly
think it's
4.5
been on there.
minutes
It's
left.
probably
in time.
been there
Okay.
all
It's
day.
Yes.
been regularly
Yeah,
scrolling.
we submitted that yesterday.
We're 100% certain there's no path for either of you to get more points? Just
Correct.
double-checking.
No,
Okay.
he had Jameer
No.
Gibbs to the Eagles here.
I mean,
It's
after
the only
we
thing
just,
Dan was interested in left.
I agree. I
Right.
do have more trivia.
You give me something.
I mean, we got the Super Bowl champs here coming
No, we
up.
don't.
And
Oh, coming up,
31.
yes.
Yeah, coming up.
We got the Chiefs coming up.
Let's take some questions. How about that?
Oh, from the
yeah, that's good.
from the
Sure.
streamers.
Yeah.
Jessica will get picked before Levis, says Pistol Clear.
Tough day for Will.
Send some questions out there, although there's a delay, and so that was really
Saints take a QB question, Mark?
Well, they have
question to
Jameis.
me or a question mark?
They have Jameis and Derek Carr, right?
Their pick was like 5 minutes ago, Graver.
So no.
Yeah, they wouldn't get that. Didn't make, yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Would have been crazy.
Jessica will never let Graver live this down. I don't think she's having the best time of her life right now.
Yeah, that seems.
Just
Hey,
an
You don't have to
entire
mention-
lifetime of
yeah,
this.
if any are taking us down, don't.
Hey, do you want to come to my office for 6 hours and we're going to turn off the air conditioning and give you nothing to do the whole time? For literally the thing that is the most boring to me to watch? Yes.
I know my
Sure,
kids
I'll be
like
there.
love football, and especially Ellis, my daughter. Like they cannot get into the draft. Granted, the Rams never make a pick, so that's part of her problem. But they're just like, why is that
One
fun
day.
to watch? Football is fun to watch.
I mean, they're
They don't
asking
quite get it
for a
yet.
child. It's a
What time?
question, I think.
What time are we starting the round 2 live stream? Asks West family.
Oh my God.
Julian Saliani wants to know, what are the heroes' favorite pick of the draft so far?
Ooh. Oh, Richardson to the Colts. Just because, for some reason, no one was thinking that was going to happen, and to me, that's going to change that division. I love
Josh
that.
Norris had it.
Okay.
I kind of love what the Texans did in general. Just have Will Anderson fall to you as well. Just the way they operated through that was like they're a completely different team now.
I think the Ravens had a good day.
Yeah.
And I liked them adding another player there in their wide receiver room, and of course the Lamar move, which really sets them up.
Smith and Jigba, too, just because it's helping out Geno. But truly, that was a terrible position for them. They drafted D. Eskridge a couple years ago way too high, and they really only had 2 receivers last year. They had no depth. That's exciting. 4 straight receivers there. That was something.
How about you, Justin?
My favorite pick of the draft?
Non-Titans related.
How about the Titans take like a tackle guard?
I did a little like 7-round mock for my Titans podcast with Justin Mello, Music City Audible, and
there you go.
We did it through the Draft Network simulator, so it wasn't like I could just pick whoever I wanted. But I picked Peter Skoronski in that simulation. So how about that? Nailed it.
That's
but
gonna
you
be a
didn't
good
do
pick,
it for the mock draft.
No.
Yes.
Right.
And if you had done it for the mock draft, you would have won.
Yeah, you would have.
That's true.
You would have been the victor.
Yeah.
It's hard to celebrate that.
You would have. I think Jessica would have seen your evening differently.
It's bittersweet. That is for sure.
I'm sorry, Justin. You're like the kid that you're a little extra hard on because they can take it.
My body is in this room. My mind is at cork and batter. That's where I'm at. Right?
Someone asked if we can hear odds and ends, please.
Sure.
Play it.
Sure, I can play odds and ends.
Oh, does that mean somebody has to sing it?
No.
Oh yeah, we'll just play it.
We can play it.
Yeah, we'll take any drop requests. Yeah.
The Eagles.
Odds and ends, odds and ends. Everybody, tell your friends it's odds and ends.
Jesus Christ. Does not get less.
So sinister.
Someone else asked to hear the Gravedigger drop.
Really?
Wow.
That is a classic of the genre.
That was Realty with Alexis.
I think Gravedigger is going to be at this facility.
Super Eagles fan with the Mohawk showed up to Kansas City, all for this moment.
Yes,
I feel like the
at
Eagles
the
have been on the
Jam.
clock for 4.5 days.
This is, by the
going
way,
on here?
at SoFi Stadium at this facility, we have Gravedigger, Justin Graver, and the real Gravedigger monster truck at the Monster Jam at SoFi Stadium.
That's
pinch yourself.
Synchronicity.
I know. I'd like to go. I mean, that's such a kids event, but it starts at 7. It's going to be 7 to 10. Like,
Tell your daughter she's not allowed to go because she doesn't watch the draft.
Well, yeah, my son's more of the Monster Jam.
This was another request.
Not into that.
Football is completely different than basketball.
Why are we listening? I like it though.
Oh, somebody asked for this one. Okay, I guess this is where the stream is at this point.
We still got over 3,000 people. So we started at 5.
I'm sorry, everybody.
And we're at 3. We've kept a decent amount.
I'm really sorry.
Somebody said it's just Graver and Justin, or Gregg and Justin at this point.
Yeah. The Kelseys.
Dude, perfect. Those guys.
That's Mrs. Kelsey's.
Some
Oh,
other dudes.
I interviewed her for that Mother's Day piece that I told you about in the past.
You've mentioned that Mother's
Yeah,
Day piece.
she was great.
Wait, that's
maybe
Dude
7,000 times.
What's the website for the Mother's Day piece?
Somebody read it.
You could look it up. Marc Sessler, Mother's Day, Mrs. Kelsey. Or
I know,
would say
but
Mrs.,
I wanted
but
the vanity URL.
Yeah, I don't think I got a vanity. In fact, it almost was
You
not
know
put
what?
on the website.
My kids like Dude Perfect. They seemed like very nice guys. They built an empire, but kind of feel like a day 2 on the stage group.
Right.
Day 1, night 1. I don't know.
It's funny. I was texting. They had like a Dude Perfect stream on Amazon.
Yeah,
and I was texting with a friend, and we were like, "We're not letting our kids watch. I'm not gonna let them watch Dude Perfect because I don't want. It's like a drug that I don't want them to get on."
I mean, it's not. It's wholesome. It's not
Sure.
bad. I mean, there were way worse things on YouTube than Dude Perfect.
What were they doing there? Flipping a fake coin?
I don't know what's going on.
Through a Mother's Eyes by Marc Sessler. What makes larger-than-life NFL stars like Ndamukong Suh, Travis and Jason Kelsey, and Brandon Marshall tick? Their mothers know best.
Well,
By
there's
Marc
this,
Sessler,
there's this
May 11th, 2017.
It almost sounds like a joke, but there's this little anecdote about Ndamukong Suh like being
Nolan Smith.
Sorry.
Wow, being obsessed with Legos as a child. Like he was.
Wait,
like,
did they draft
really cute little
Jalen
boy.
Carter and Nolan Smith?
They did.
Look at this.
Let's go. We got 4 starters now from
Look at
Georgia.
this.
Let's go 10s across the board. The Eagles.
You can't have enough depth along your line.
I love it. I love it.
Best player
What a draft.
available.
I mean, they're going to get all the A's on everyone's
Absolutely.
scores, and they're getting a 10. The perfect 10.
I'll give him a 9. I
Yeah,
like
I'll
it a
go-
lot.
Done with Greg on this one. 10,
I'm trying to think what they
if I can find it.
was there a bigger need?
No, like that's the
Offensive
thing.
line?
Like they,
Maybe.
you could
Why?
restock the line, but like
Because they do that.
Also, when Nolan Smith falls to you this way, it's kind of like the football gods are just giggling.
His most common comparison was Hassan Reddick. He's going to be on the team with Hassan Reddick, and Reddick's free agent contract will run out in a couple years, and he'll help replace him. Man, he's the other guy, other than Jalen Carter I was mentioning, and DJ's one word that he used to describe Nolan Smith was juice. He was the one other guy in this draft, to me, that just, if you're a dummy like me watching some tape.
Oh, Greg, don't say that.
I'm just saying he pops out there where you're just like, this guy's a star. And I know he's 238 pounds, much like Will McDonald. They're similar sized guys that,
Right.
they'd be like top 5 or 10 guys if they weren't that size. But I like this.
Didn't he run like a 4.4 or something
His
crazy?
his combine numbers were just crazy.
People say that Jessica is bringing Princess Leia vibes to the set
geez.
based on
we got to
the,
get Mark separated
No,
now.
just
No
on the
wonder.
headset.
Oh,
over
God,
the,
Mark.
But the headset looks like her little hair bun. So
Oh, my God, Mark.
Do you know how many
God.
nights Mark has thought about old Princess Leia? I don't know.
Old Princess Leia.
420, bro. Ow!
I'm just passing along what's being mentioned.
That was
here.
live, everyone.
Yeah, that was someone asked for it, so there we go.
Oh, my God. Oh, that was live? I thought that was funny. All right, we have one more pick.
Oh,
It
here we
is the
go.
defending
Only 4 minutes left on the clock.
Kansas
Oh, I
City
love it.
Chiefs, the defending Super Bowl champions. What do we got here? And yes, people should know that we will be doing our round 1 recap podcast, going downstairs
We'll reset a little bit.
and
get some air
taping in the
conditioning.
Chris Wessling podcast studio, and you will have that when you wake up in the morning or if you don't go to sleep tonight. And actually, there are people in Germany, for example. What time is it in the UK now?
Like 4, maybe.
Four
Could
in
be
the
wrong.
morning,
4:47 in the morning. 5:47.
If you guys are still up, my goodness, you guys are incredible.
But you have issues.
Yeah, go to sleep. Well, watch TA on NFL Network.
You
Definitely.
don't feel awkward though, do you, Jessica? I think like the little chat people are worried about that.
I
like,
think
what's
people are
awkward
being
for you.
dramatic.
Yeah, I don't think
Yes.
so. We're all friends here. I think it's comfortable.
I wish you wouldn't have set Greg's mind at ease. I wish you would have said a little bit.
I feel very uncomfortable with Greg right now. I want to go home.
Well, that's a fair request.
Well, wait. You have to wait for Justin
No.
to. You
No, I have my
your
own
car.
car.
right.
I can drive
the car
myself.
is idling.
2 hours from
Okay,
now.
good job.
She paid
I
somebody
just thought you came
$100 to
together.
start
I
the
thought-
car and have the door
I
open.
thought you came together.
She will not be stopping at any traffic lights as she leaves this facility. Trust me.
We forgot to have Eric come up with that Bills shirt. I think it's such a good shirt. We should still have you come up even though they made their pick. We forgot. I'm just saying, where can you buy this shirt? Is this at NFLshop.com? It's two-toned. It really pops.
It's great looking.
I just,
Let's do it.
oh, look at that! Look at this.
I'm just saying,
Eric Roberts.
Great looking.
if I had an NFL shirt, and frankly, if I was in as good shape as Eric, I would wear that shirt.
Yeah, that really pops on the pecs in a big spot.
Okay,
That's
this
nice.
Mom got it. It's got to be an NFL shop. I like the stash. It's
This
all
is really
working.
delayed because he's not even sat down on the screen yet.
See, I got dinged with that earlier with Damashek, and I learned my lesson. There
I
it
like
is.
the red collar is really what sets it apart. Yep.
Two-tone, very nice, very clean.
This is like season 11 of this sitcom that is this live stream. We just got to keep adding characters to
Can we
give us life because we're bringing nothing.
yes,
new.
can you give Eric
Yes.
the headset? Because I
Can
want to
I-
ask about the Buffalo Bills.
Can I get
All right,
up?
we're getting some comments. That is a cool shirt, actually.
Actually, I love the actually.
Thank you.
All right, the Bills they added Kincaid, right? The
Yes.
tight end. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, they don't need a slot receiver now. I mean,
He's
you got
your guy.
you got Kincaid and you got Dawson Knox. I mean, it's going to be interesting if Dawson Knox falls to like a $15 million tight end too. But
Wait, how much money are they paying him? He's not paid.
I think he just got paid. I don't have his contract up, but I want to say he just got a decent little
On
paycheck.
it.
Dawson Knox a little bit more of a blocker, but I think
Yeah.
the idea is like
But
you
yeah,
need weapons
4 year,
regardless.
$52 million.
Okay, good
Average
point.
salary,
Yeah.
$13
Man,
million
So-
per year.
That's
But yeah, I
okay.
mean,
Can use
Eric
them both.
Roberts nailed it.
Beasley got brought back late last year because he was the security blanket in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So now you got Kincaid, you got Dawson Knox. I would still like D-Hop along the outside. You know, some
I'm not
flash.
saying they're like worried about keeping Josh Allen happy, but I do think they
Zumwalt's
realize
in the
like where
stream.
their bread is buttered, and they need to help this dude out and not ask him to do everything for him.
I mean, I have nightmares about those bloody elbows at his end of the year press conferences and stuff.
Gross.
It was just, it was.
Zumwalt says, feel like maybe one more person wearing the exact same color as the background would make this thing sing, baby.
Got any blue back there? No.
All right, the pick
true.
is in, the final pick of the night.
So
in,
nobody
but
traded into the spot to take a quarterback.
Absolutely
The
not.
Kansas City Chiefs are not taking a quarterback here. So that is I do really feel, Greg, I know you have your issues with him. I feel bad for Will Levis. This is really
I don't have
a tough
issues
sit.
with
it's a
him.
bad night.
Someone mocked
feel for
actually
him.
Hendon Hooker to the Chiefs and then was scorned for it, and they should be.
Jairus Byard. Jairus Byard.
That is a classic of the genre.
This is like one of the first ever drops on this show, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's got to be the largest crowd for a final pick of the first round in a long time, right?
That's pretty
I
good.
think it's the I mean,
Pretty
I
good.
guess Tennessee was crazy, Nashville, but this
Nashville
seems
was
like
cool.
it's the biggest.
I mean, if we're
crowd
digging
ever.
through the crate, do we have you want to make flowers? Do you have that by any chance?
Who was that? That was
This is our version of the truck that NFL Network does on day 3.
Stop the truck. That was for
We don't have that?
That was
It's
for
on my
Brandon
hard drive
Flowers,
over
by
there.
the way. Chiefs.
Someone asked for Big Ben
Cornerback.
laugh. Let's see if I have that.
Oh, I love Big Ben laugh.
The chat was typing out drops earlier in the stream, really early on. Like
I
they
don't
were
have it.
Okay.
inserting their own drops by typing
I have them
out.
all somewhere, but they're on a hard drive over there.
I think
I'm
it's
lonely.
one of the better.
Oh, if you have Wes's, lock it up. That's a good.
Some of these
that's a good
comments
one
are
there.
amazing.
Yeah, I've been enjoying the comments all night, so thank you for keeping us.
Absolutely.
Employed and
The
entertained.
people that have been on this the whole time, it's unbelievable. The Shadowy League figures, I hope they're paying attention to this. But you know what? I actually don't care. We get to
Yeah.
do our own thing in here. We got a huge audience watching us, commenting. We got no air conditioning, but otherwise everything else has been great about tonight as we wrap up our first ever live stream.
The whole buzz was they were going to trade up for Zay Flowers. That didn't happen, by the way.
We'll be back for day 3 in its entirety.
There it is.
Oh, Chris. Oh, man. That was a special day.
Mm.
What did he lock up? Do we remember?
I don't even remember what team it was, but
The only thing I remember is I said something right before. I was like, a 9-2 team on a 7-game winning streak or something like that. And then he locked it up.
Yep.
People telling me to plug the throwback pod. I will not. I refuse to. Because that would make Bob happy. Do you have
They're dragging this thing out here.
Do you have
Yeah, what
Tom
is going on
Savage?
here with
Do
this?
you have Tom Savage on the board?
I've heard that one.
That's another classic.
Someone is pointing out I'm sitting on both couches. Yeah, well, that Dan's man spreading, and we've got 5 across now, so you gotta adjust.
I don't have it.
We don't have it. We gotta get the archive really shored up for next year, or Saturday.
What's this? This one's called Baby Boy News.
Could be anything.
Because
All right.
we're having a baby boy!
Maybe the
never-
best news drop ever.
Yep.
Yeah.
When Link was coming to us. All right, here we go.
Oh, yeah.
Is that Veach?
Clark Hunt.
Oh, that's Hunt. That's right.
Marc pointed out It's a very traditional haircut.
He has a very 1988 Midwestern man haircut.
It's a very disciplined part.
Is this a new thing? If you win the Super Bowl, you get to announce your own pick?
I mean, he can do whatever he wants. He owns
It
the
doesn't
team.
line up typically with this.
Oh, it's Enrique Uzama!
Oh my God! There's fireworks shooting out.
I called it.
You called?
Well,
Come on, Grave Digger.
Sitting over here, I pointed. I was like, it's gonna be him, so he could get his graphic
So
ready.
you don't get any points.
No.
for that.
Okay. But
Mark,
I'm
still the
proud
winner.
of myself. So.
Oh, absolutely.
Eric,
that ship has
give us
sailed.
some Enrique Uzama.
He's from Kansas State, hometown guy. You
Plays
know,
edge.
loyal to the soil.
You know what?
Keep the fans going. You know, that's why they're here.
I gotta say that's good analysis because I was
There you
like,
go.
I'm a little surprised that Enrique Uzama was getting so much pop from the crowd there.
Yeah.
But that kind of explains it. That explains
They're like,
it.
these guys need to recognize. They hung out for 4+ hours. They need to recognize somebody
Mark,
right now.
It's as it's
Comp
being
to Matthew
pointed out
Judon.
by Patrick Bertelson. If they were going to roll out a hologram, you would think it was going to be night one. Feels like a night one thing.
Oh no! I think that's going to be more of when
No.
they are searching for
Yes.
anything to do that's exciting on day 3.
I agree with Mark. I think AI round 7. There's a chance.
Yeah, I think there's a real. In fact, I mean, new ideas could happen all the time, but maybe even our suggesting it could create it, make it a
Just
reality.
to get it out there.
Yeah.
I think it sparks someone's imagination, and they get to work on it.
They need a pass rusher. I like the picture of
First round's over, by the way, guys.
Felix.
We
Oh,
can
yeah,
sign
we're
off
done.
now. Yeah.
People are saying
Try to
Greg
give
said
the Chiefs some pop here.
Greg, you said Clark Hunt very quickly and made some people's heads turn.
Yeah, that's what he does.
I'm giving that a 10.
Oh yeah, like it. He's loyal to the soil, baby. 8.
I think we got to give it a 10. It's the last pick. It's getting us out of
Absolutely.
here.
Yep.
Good job by the Chiefs.
I'll give it an 81 or an 18.
All right. I think that's a fair thing.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching and commenting. We love you. Thank you again to Eric, Justin, Josh, Albert, Kendall. Of course, yes. Oh my God, yes, Yeska, we owe you a hamburger or something. And yes, especially again, you guys watching along, amazing. We will have the audio podcast coming up later tonight, and then we'll be back Saturday with a recap of the whole thing. Let's say goodbye now. Heed the call, everybody. Peace.
See ya.